Yeah, that's what it was.
Rust is awesome. She's a hoot.
Well, winning a debate doesn't really prove it, right? I mean, it almost or effectively, but it's won the debate.
I don't know how we figured out that McToon won the debate. Okay.
It's entertaining.
I didn't watch this.
All we need to say it is, right?
Good evidence for it.
Well, QOP, like, let me ask you this. Would you agree that if he did go, and if none of it was faked, meaning it was all, their footage and everything, would you, like, from that position, would you consider, if that is the truth, that he did win with his rebuttals? If that is what the truth is?
No, his rebuttals suck. So his rebuttals will still be bad. Almost every time I said anything, I showed anything, he just said, "This is the 3C. Show me his 360 camera." It's like, you don't know how to use it. That's all he said.
Well, it's true, right? Like, I have that very camera in my possession here, and you've never touched one before.
Oh boy, that makes you special.
So that means, never mind, I was gonna say it. I was gonna make an insult to you back, but I won't do.
All right. Well,
This feels.
yeah. I'll
I mean, QOP, do you consider that, like, the actual psyop would be to have there be a 24-hour sun there, and then have people still defending that there's not one, as like kind of an agenda to kind of kill flat Earth? Like, are you considering that your position might actually be in that kind of category, where they want people to deny it, even though it is a real thing, so that they can try to just, make all flat Earth be irrelevant? QOP.
You're saying so the motive is to cause people to say things that the Globe claims doesn't exist, which we're already doing.
No, I'm saying that the idea that there is a 24-hour sun there. What I'm saying is that, have you considered that you're falling into the position that they want, which is that they push this theme of flat Earth along with no 24-hour sun? I mean, the Earth is planar and stationary, but the model they sold of the no 24-hour sun, so they want all flat Earthers to think that it's fake, or to still claim that there isn't one, because there is one there. So it just locks it in that they'll always win that. And if they get flat Earthers to, like, go down with the ship, that there's no 24-hour sun, I'm saying, have you considered that you would be actually, like, that your position is playing that role of what, quote unquote, they would actually want, which is to still claim that there isn't one there, say it's all fake when it's real. And then just in the future, that's just like, they're always going to win because people can always just go and check that it's there. And then and then trying to destroy all of, like, planar stationary Earth with that flat Earth is debunked with 24-hour sun. I'm saying your position that's fake, have you considered that you're actually playing into, potentially that, what they're trying to create, like that kind of thing to then destroy, quote unquote, flat Earth?
I guess it's possible, but it's also, from my standpoint, like, you, like, having to make a model with, like, Pac-Man Earth or Pac-Man model, that discourages people from becoming flat earthers. So it works in both ways. The psyop could be either way.
Well, I never said there was a Pac-Man anything. If you talk about the two poles, I mean, that's a discussion, but I've never claimed there's a Pac-Man. But wait, what is your point, though? You're saying that you're claiming that if there is no 24-hour sun there, that you're saying the psyop could be to get people trying to solve it when it doesn't need to be solved, basically, and then trying to think of other ways to look at it other than that AE map?
Well, yeah,
what you're saying?
Other ways to look at it would be like globe or concave, or like, strange Pac-Man Earth, but that's they're claiming they got a lot of flat earthers to go globe, so if it's a psyop for that reason, it worked.
They got, like, I mean, I think McToon, remember we talked about it, maybe you agree with me, like maybe 2 or 3% flipped, would you say?
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think you agreed it was somewhere under 5%, like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I didn't expect large numbers of existing flat earthers. They're too committed. It's but doesn't make it easy for new ones, because everybody, all the flat earthers still are like, here, it's the pizza, everybody, right? Just a couple outliers on Discord and a couple YouTube channels don't claim the pizza, so doesn't
those aren't the ones.
Yeah, because they sold us the pizza. That's what I'm saying to QOP. They sold us the pizza, which is false, and the no 24-hour sun, which is also false. It's like Globe 2.0. It's just another false model. And they got everyone to then attach to it, and the whole 24-hour sun psyop of it. And I'm just bringing it back because I was kind of playfully trying to say that you beat him in the debate and all that stuff, and I was like making that commentary. But I'm also just saying that in reality, it's just important to know what is true and what is not true. I don't think the sky is an electric field, and electric fields have 2 poles. So it's not really surprising to me, whatever the planar Earth is, that there's a 2-pole sky above us. Like, there's so many things that are 2-pole in nature. Like,
sky is not an electric field. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it has two poles in the straight line at the equator. It's the exact shape of an electric field. We went through that when you were on here before. It's the shape of an electric field. So the sky and the sun move in the shape of an electric field. Whatever the sky is, or whatever the whole realm is what it is. But to have that happening over a planar surface it's just an electric field above a planar surface with two poles.
You're just saying that because Witsit said it. There's no evidence of that.
No, I'm not saying anything about what Witsit says at all. Actually,
you're only
It's a
claiming
concept.
of that because somebody said it, and I think Witsit said it, and you believe it. But there's no evidence of what you're saying.
no, it's the exact shape of an electric field. It has nothing to do with Witsit at all. It's not even about Witsit whatsoever.
Okay.
The two poles,
I don't care.
the two poles and the straight line at the equator. Like, if you know what a ferrocell is, it's the shape of a ferrocell.
No, it's not.
That's what the sky is above
No,
a planar surface.
No, it's not. You're just saying that's just an assertion without evidence. You need evidence, right? Don't you get that?
Evidence too.
Yeah, it's the exact shape. If you look at the shape of an electric field, you have the circle around the one pole. The lines get straighter as they get to the equator, and then the lines start to arc the other way to the other pole. It's basically just exactly what an electric field is. So I'm just saying that the sky, you have the northern pole, that rotation, you have the center line at the equator, then you have the southern pole, the southern rotation. So I'm just saying that matches precisely the field lines of a very basic electric field.
But electric fields don't have rotations, unless there's
Yeah,
something
they do.
causing. No, they don't. What in the world?
Magnetic, electromagnetic fields absolutely do.
No, they don't.
Is a vortex a rotation or?
No, none of this is true. Where are you getting this from? This is incredible.
Lots of experiments.
Just made up stuff.
Nope, it's not made up at all. I'll put an image in the chat that shows at least partly. I'm not at my regular computer, but that shows
motion. That's not showing motion.
Shows an electric field. So that's what the sky essentially looks like when you have the straight line at the equator. That's not the best image. I just grabbed what I could.
There's no rotation implied in that.
Is there a rotation in a wire? In a field around a wire?
No.
Is it just electrons marching along? I'm just not trying to catch you.
So what you posted there, none of that. There's no rotation. I don't know why you think there's rotation. Just
those lines are just like toys to tell you what's, give you a picture.
Yeah, they're lines of equipotential. That's all they are. They're arbitrarily drawn, right? You can draw infinitely many of those lines, but the arrows. Go work Maxwell's equations for a little bit, and then you'll know what those arrows means. Again, the arrows are just just for computation. It's not actual movement.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that the actual pattern of the stars is an electric field. They move along those field lines, like the actual stars are like celestial bodies that appear to be moving along the field lines. But if you take a snapshot of the sky, I'm not at my computer right now, so I don't have everything to pull up. That was just one basic of just the electric field lines to show that. But
the stars don't follow those lines. Those lines are curved. Those lines are curved, and the stars do circles, not curves like that, not irregular curves. They just do circles.
Hey, McToon, would you be interested in doing a final experiment?
I don't know what it is that you think it might be.
Like, you should send me to Antarctica, but at night, so I can film Venus doing a circle and never setting. Because the sun blocks all the stars, so you can't really tell anything. But if I went at night, man, that would prove something.
Yeah, you want to overwinter at the South Pole Station? You can apply for a job there. They'll pay you to do it.
But rich and powerful people, can't you make the movers and the shakers shake and move?
No, in fact, I had to crowdfund my own trip.
Okay, well, that's suspicious that,
If you want to go, crowdfund your own trip, just like I crowdfund.
I think if they went at night, it might debunk the Globe. That would be like a real final experiment.
Yeah, you should totally go.
Why don't you think the Globers would fund me like they wanted to fund the 24-hour sun?
Because nobody cares about you. How about you?
Oh, man, I got it. Okay, noted.
Dude, but it obviously does that there because look, you can see where the plane of the ecliptic is, and in Antarctica you can see the sun and the moon both doing their 24-hour effects, and then there's that famous one from 2021, the solar eclipse from Union Glacier. So that's with the sun and the moon, and they're both in the southern sky when the eclipse is happening. We had gone over that one before they even went on the trip, and we couldn't really find anything that seemed outwardly fake about it. And in fact, there was a lot of people there that were all filming it, all independently. They were actually at that same, for that one, I think you guys went out on that other site to where that blue building is. That's where they were too. That whole setup. Yeah, it is the same, right? Same site.
It's a similar location. They didn't say it was the exact same spot, but it's somewhere out from the camp there. It probably is because they've been doing that marathon for a few years. So they go and they use radar to make sure that the area is safe, or radar sonar to make sure there's no gaps in the snow and ice. So they'd want to reuse the same work that they've done, right?
Yeah. But there's that one blue building, which I think is why it is the same. And they're trying to get the angle to see the eclipse. They're trying to get it over the mountain and to have the mountain not be in the way, which is why, you guys went out to that other side. Because there's only like one spot with a blue building out there, right? Like out in the middle.
The blue building
you
moves
know.
every year. It moves every year.
That's not a stable build. That's not a building that stays.
No, it's on skis. In fact, the bathroom, you can see them drag away the bathroom because the bathroom was a little building behind the blue building. In my 24-hour video, you can actually watch them hook up to the big snow whatever pusher thing that they use on ski hills that they have down there. They hook up the bathrooms and they pull it away. It goes off into the distance.
Yeah, I had maybe thought that building did, because I know some of those buildings stay year round. But okay, if that one doesn't, yeah, they take that one out every year.
My guess is that, and based on talking with people, that most of the stuff that they leave there is stuff that they need for the runway when they come back, because they have a bunch of barrels and stuff that they have out there, and a bunch of support stuff for the airplane. So my guess is that's what they leave there, is stuff that they'll need in October, whenever they come back, to set up the runway.
How did they land the first time? Chicken or the egg? Oh, did they fly a helicopter in and get the runway set up first? I mean, they can't just land on a rough runway, right?
I don't think a helicopter would make it from Punta Arenas, but there's a few closer spots. But the runway is mostly kept clear by the wind. So the wind comes down the glaciers and then scours the ice clear of the loose ice. It looks like snow, but it's actually just little ice crystals. So call it snow, but it's really ice crystals. So that it's mostly scoured. So the first time they land, there might be a little more chunks of snow on it, but and I suppose they could fly over it to make sure that it looks good before they just come and land. But they don't leave the plane there. They don't turn it off. They land, they unload, they load, and then it takes off again and goes straight back because there's no gas station.
Hey, it's kind of naive. I'm not trying to catch you, but I'm just thinking about 24-hour recordings and batteries and cameras. Did you use battery? I mean, you have generators? Seems challenging.
We had so they had big solar panels on the blue building on several sides, and you can see that in my 24-hour video. And we used I'll send you a link to the battery that I brought, but I brought 6 batteries, and Will brought 6 of the same batteries. And I have it on I have 6 of these kicking around my house now.
Yeah, I'm not questioning if you had them. I'm just
I'll link the one that I brought here in a second.
Yo, McToon, are you doing the final debate? Is it you or someone else?
It's Will. All right, so there's the Romos power bank that I brought. It's 27,000 milliamp hours, which is the largest that airplanes allow, and I had 6 of them, and they're pretty heavy, and you can't bring them you can't check them, so you have to have it in your carry-on. So I was walking around the airports with 6 of those in my backpack.
God bless you.
Yeah, and Will had the same, and and every time we go through security, they had to look at them.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a bit that it's possible there's questionable about the final experiment and also 24-hour sun could be there anyway, but
well, you would agree with Lady Blunt from 125 years ago.
Wait, who is she?
She was a contemporary of Rowbottom in England.
Okay.
He died, in the late 1800s, and she kind of took up the mantle. And so she wrote for 15 years, probably different things. She wrote a book. She wrote like a semi-monthly publication called The Earth. So this book, I put a screenshot or a picture of the book that I have called Zetetic Astronomy that she wrote, where she says testimony has been given and it's been seen. Oh, no, wait, where it is. Well, it's a big paragraph above there. It talks about the length of the day once you go far enough south, and then of course the midnight sun might be seen. So she's agreeing that there is a 24-hour sun. This is the page of the book that Eric DeBay put up in his video, saying that Lady Blunt gave a model for it. In fact, she did not give a model for it. Eric DeBay just blatantly lied about it. Put it on screen so that hopefully none of his gullible people would go bother to look up or read the words on screen that she did not provide a model for it. Insane that he actually did that.
Was she the one that was up in an airship or something like the same day as a stock market crash? I think maybe I'm in the events wrong, but I was trying to. Are you talking about proving flat Earth or
I'm talking about
Lady Blunt? Yeah.
Yeah. And Dubé posted this picture here that I'll put it in again. Posted the left and right page of the book that you see there on a video saying Lady Blunt had a model, but she didn't have a model. I read the book. I have the book. She didn't have a model. It's insane that he actually claimed, showing the book, that she had a model when she didn't have a model. How, like, nobody in the comment sections of that video are like, hey, I read everything on screen, and nowhere in there does it say that there's a model. Nobody called up Dubé on it. They're just gullible sheep.
You're saying that there's history of like some lady who says she basically saw a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, is what you're saying?
No, it's you can read it there. This Lady Blunt, the Eric Dubé of 1900, who wrote in this book, we agree that people have seen that there is a 24-hour sun. We don't dispute this, and that's it. And we can't explain it. That's the other thing. She says we can't explain it. Whether or not we can explain it's another thing.
Yeah, so we were just talking about like how they faked history, and that time period's not a good time for believing. Well, you can't really believe any history, but that is like when they basically finished off the reset. Probably sounds crazy to you, or maybe it doesn't, because maybe you know about it. But what's interesting, if we're gonna go into history and like and figure out like if there's historical like accounts of like this stuff, what's interesting, I just asked ChatGPT, do the Antikythera mechanism or Prague astronomical clock account for a 24-hour sun in the southern hemisphere? No, neither of them do. Wow, that's strange.
Yeah.
Why would you chat GPT that? Like, what? Why would you not expect a Glober response?
The Antikythera mechanism
that's not a Glober response.
Isn't about the 24 hours on. The Antikythera mechanism uses sorrow cycles to determine the day of the eclipse. That's it.
Like NASA.
I asked also
but
about
NASA uses VSOP 87 and ELP 2000 to determine the eclipses.
Okay.
Yeah, the Prague astronomical clock is not about eclipses. It's just the sun's cycle.
Planets, right? Can't even mute it.
In models, Antikythera mechanism models, sun, moon, planets, but not in the way. Prague clock, date, displays time, zodiac positions, local appearance, solar time.
Yeah.
So it says it's built for local European observers. That's why 24-hour sun is out there.
Yeah, McToon, where were you really when you claimed to be in Antarctica? Where did you guys actually go?
We were at Union Glacier in Antarctica.
Or how are you going to confirm you were there when you claimed to be there?
Well, have you looked at the videos on my channel? There's quite a few.
Yeah, none of them actually tell me that you were where you claimed to be at the time you claimed to be there.
Well, he was there.
So the live stream that I did while I was there, that's not good enough for you?
Hey, what do you have for the?
What about? Hold on.
What do you
I've
have
been
for the
waiting.
plane tracking?
No,
I
Gio,
wanted to ask,
stop it.
like, remember we brought that
Gio.
up, the plane tracking?
Are you really going to steamroll me right now, dude?
No, not at all.
I'm literally waiting. I've been waiting.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Right. So I want to know what you're using to confirm that you were there when you claimed to be there. Besides your, silly videos where you got all the things that don't make sense.
I live streamed from there. I can.
Yeah. Do you have anything like, I don't know? Where's your flight tracking data?
Well, that was published too. Here's the question: what will you accept? You tell me what you will.
Where
accept.
is it?
Tell me first what you will accept.
You just said that there's flight tracking data somewhere. Where is it?
Will you accept it? And if I give it to you, will you say yes?
Can you please give it to me?
No, I won't. I won't be sea lioned. If you will accept it, I'll provide it. If you won't, then I won't provide it. I will only.
Okay, so I'm asking you to provide evidence of where you were, and you're refusing to give it to me.
I will only provide things that you say I will. That you say you will accept. If you won't accept it, then you're just sea lining. So I'm not going to trouble myself.
You have nothing then. All right, he's got nothing.
Hold on, Rob. Your mic's really bad, bro. Hold on. Well, let me just say the reason I brought up the flight tracking is because Jesse and I were talking about it, and we were, discussing it, and I was saying that it was tracked when you guys flew there, because wasn't it like it was like the top or one of the top tracked flights at the time? Because it's not like tons of people are tracking these flights. Maybe people check them out here and there, but because of that event, and it was somewhat larger with people, YouTube channels and all that, it was like on FlightAware or something. I forget the exact thing. Do you remember? It was like it was like either the top one, the one that got the most clicks, like top tracked flight or whatever. And so I was telling him about that it was tracked, and then and then I wanted to ask you, MC2, like, what is left of that tracking that you can offer to someone, to be like, hey, here's the data, now that it's after the fact. So that's why I wanted to know, like, what do you have for that? And then you could give it to him because then he could see it.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not going to give anything to him until he declares that he will accept it, and that he will then say.
What if I
mean,
have a reason
but
to
can-
not
can-
accept it?
can-
I haven't seen the data yet.
Can he review it before he accepts it?
No.
Well, yeah, he's
So you
refusing
have to-
give it up.
Come on,
He
you
doesn't
have to,
actually
come
have
on.
the data. Now I have to presume that he doesn't have anything to present.
That's called pigeonholing McToon.
You got to let him consider it, but I'm just wondering what is left of that because I brought it up to him and because I saw it tracked when you guys were going. I looked at it. We were all watching it. Some of us, we had it. People were posting it, links, all that. So I'm just saying I saw it live, but I haven't looked into like, hey, if I wanted to tell someone this flight was tracked at this time, you know what I mean? I just didn't have an immediate thing, and I'm sure I could have gone and looked it up. But that's why I just wondered,
Okay.
if that's part of their documentation that they say, hey, here's the tracking data.
All right. So I just wanted it to be very clear. McToon is gatekeeping what would actually be providing evidence of his claim. That's stupid. What are you doing?
Dude, it's a publicly tracked thing though, from like the
Go look it up, lazy.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I have looked it up, and I don't consider it to be flight tracking data.
Oh, then why would I ever? A good job for me not bothering.
Well, I'll tell you
find
why.
it.
If you can
Because
provide what you're considering, hold on, dude. If you can provide what you're considering as evidence of your path from Punta Arenas to Union Glacier, then present it, and then I'll determine whether or not I should accept it as evidence of your claim.
You won't accept it. I've been doing this for 8 years.
Well, whenever you want to present your supposed evidence, that would be nice.
There's the time lapse of the flight.
Good.
Here's the non-time lapse landing of the flight.
I mean, Jesse, I'm just saying it is like a publicly, the whole military industrial complex,
Gio,
plane
please.
system, the whole thing.
Are you helping this guy?
It's
Hold
part
on.
of the commercial, airline industry thing. So I mean, it's going to have all the tracking that they offer of any previous flight that's in their system. So it's going to have as much weight to you as whatever that system has to you that it was a real flight.
Well, footage
Hold on.
of Union Glacier in a newspaper.
Yeah, I'm getting steamrolled. It's really annoying, but I'm gonna fight through it.
No, just go
So
ahead.
this video that you posted, McToon. So yeah, I understand that you want to make a claim that you filmed yourself getting off of a plane somewhere, but you guys didn't have access to the internet to actually go live when you claim to have gotten off the plane.
I bet you $100 they did.
This doesn't confirm that you actually got off the plane at the time that you claimed to be getting off the plane. Do you understand?
All right. There's the live stream I did while we were there. Now here's
Yeah, this isn't what I asked for. I asked for GPS data. Did you forget?
Hold on here. This is you can get $100,000 out of me.
Yeah, you could give me $100,000. I already debunked your model. You could do that.
All right.
But he doesn't want $100,000. All he wants is the GPS data, man. That's a lot cheaper, man.
Got it. Here you go. Here's $100,000. Or you just embarrassed the piss out
Everything
of me.
but GPS data. He's literally going all
That's
throughout
so
the
amazing.
but not sending me GPS
yeah.
data.
Don't accept the $100,000. Just embarrass me by taking this challenge here.
No, he
What's wrong
doesn't
with
care about the
providing the
$100,000.
Yeah, Elbow, you see what he's doing?
Yeah,
I asked
that's
a
so.
specific question.
Okay. So now, when I send you the GPS data, what are you going to do?
I'm going to
Don't
look at it.
Review it. Can we not review the GPS data?
I mean, you can if you just go look up ALE Punta Arenas
so
to
Gio, white knighting
Union
from McToon?
Glacier.
I'm in the
What day
Twilight
it was? Hold on, bro. I'm just saying anyone can go Google and look it up. But it's is it December 15th? Punta Arenas to Union Glacier. Is it the 14th or the 15th?
14. We flew
Okay.
back on the 17th. So there's the flight data, the GPS data, the coordinates that he just pretended that he wanted for the flight back.
That's the flight
No,
back.
I wanted the flight there. What's wrong with you? The flight there. Are you listening?
Look up the flight
What
radar
is this
detail on that day.
You give me a CSV extension file, dude. What is this?
Let me ask you one, MC2. Are you interested that now some of the community actually agrees with you that that you guys did go and that there's a 24-hour sun there, and then another part of it, at least some still, let's say it's fake. Like, are you in any way like amused or entertained in the fact that now you have someone like me that's like, oh yeah, MC2 won in the debate, of people saying it's fake, and then I would agree with you that it is real and all that. I guess I'm just asking, like,
Oh yeah, it's
are
funny.
you? Are you that now? There's like, if you want to say
hilarious.
if you want to like, in the discussions, we noticed that if you want to say the term flat earther for now, I'm just saying we noticed that some are obviously going to be like, no, they did go. Others are going to say they did not. And then it's like a split now. We're debating with you guys on this now. And then anyways, it's funny.
Here's what's real telling, of course. The people that blindly just aggressively deny that it happened at all are agreeing that it 100% debunks flat earth. That's why they're so aggressively against it.
Well, it debunked what? Because the AE map? which I was calling it Globe
Yeah.
2.0,
Oh,
the
yeah.
other false model of the realm.
The people that deny that it happened, they are 100% committed to agreeing that the existence of the 24-hour sun destroys flat Earth. That's why they fight it.
What, because
That's
the sun can't make another circuit on the outside of an AE map, you're saying?
There's only one sun. They're agreeing that it destroys flat Earth, and that's why they're fighting it. That's why they claim that it's fake.
You're fighting
Do they-
providing the evidence. The one question I asked you, you're fighting actually presenting that evidence.
I gave you the coordinates. You wanted coordinates?
You gave me a CSV file, which is I don't even know what that is.
Are you agreeing that if he provides you evidence that it does matter?
Can everybody stop trying to white knight for McToon and just let him actually respond to this? Like, when are you going to post the GPS data? Like, where is it?
I just did. It's in the.
No,
CSV
you didn't.
file.
It's right there,
Are you too
bro.
stupid? Are you too stupid to understand a CSV file?
It looks like there's data in the chat, so just check that out. But yeah, I agree with what McToon is saying, because I was listening earlier. I'm not making opinions about people's I'm not trying to claim what other people's opinions are. But when QOP was really fighting it, it was telling me that there's people who have already decided that is impossible on a flat Earth. So they're instead.
No, that is a straw man, dude. I literally said before they went that I didn't care if there was one or not.
Well, no, but you did say earlier that that if they claim the 24-hour sun, then you have to start saying that it's either a globe or a concave Earth or some other kind of magical thing. You said that on the.
I was saying that that was going to make it harder for people that were open, like kind of interested in maybe looking into flat Earth, see like a ridiculous model that they would. It's not as easy to swallow as the AE model with just one sun.
Yeah, a model that doesn't make sense.
It doesn't work with the sky. I mean,
according to what they say is happening.
Well, the stars, the southern stars, are already doing what they're doing, as is, and then the sun follows that same circuit, similar circuit along the latitude lines.
It's possible. I don't think the stars are related to the sun. I think there's a different layer.
So QOps, do you think that it? So you're saying it doesn't destroy flat Earth for you if there is a 24-hour sun there. So then that's going against what MC2 was saying, right? For you?
I think Kosha was saying that.
Yeah, I was trying to make sure that I wasn't speaking for anybody else's opinion, but that was what I was sort of surmising, is that maybe not QOP himself, but people who are sort of fighting the fact that it happened would have to sort of be accepting that it would sort of agree with the globe Earth and not with the flat Earth.
Well, I would agree with either, globe concave or a two-pole planar Earth. Like QOP, would you agree that if there is a 24-hour sun there and it's fully there, the whole thing, all of that, and the Earth is planar, do you agree that it would have to be some kind of a two-pole planar Earth? However, it's working. And I'm not saying anything about Pac-Man. It doesn't necessarily require that. I'm just saying if there is one there and the Earth is stationary and planar, do you agree it would have to be some kind of a two-pole layout if you accept that there is a 24-hour sun there?
It's really hard to even conceptualize the sun doing that with what we think, the northern hemisphere is like. I guess, yeah.
In other words, you won't take a position.
So
No, it's not my position.
I'm looking
it's not my position that it's a fucking thing that happens. So what are you talking about, bro?
So I'm looking at this Icelander 1088, and I can only find one flight in FlightAware, and it's only from Argentina to Punta Arenas.
Yeah, MC2, do you have like the flight number or what? I mean, how would you look that up? Like what, December 14th?
It has a call sign for it, and there's only one flight in FlightAware.
Yeah, you I don't know what call sign you're looking at, but
Well, the one that it says on the CSV file, man. So have you not looked at this flight? Have you not looked at this CSV?
You posted the CSV, right, McToon? You should know what's on it.
Let me finish. Your
right,
flight aware. Is there a reason you can't let me talk? Your FlightAware doesn't go back 9 months. You need a different subscription.
And can you post the FlightAware, a screenshot of it?
I don't have a screenshot of the FlightAware.
Yeah, you don't have anything.
Well, I do have the flight on the 17th, starting in.
I mean, you have this.
Got a live
CSV
video.
I could
Come on,
make
guys.
myself, dude. I don't say that I doubt that you went there, because I mean I was here with.
So I was asked for the data of the flight, and the data of the flight is provided in a CSV file or a KML file. I've posted both of them.
Yeah. Have you ever tracked a flight before?
Have I tracked a flight?
Yeah.
This is what you're going to see when you upload the KML file into Google Earth. All right, it's going to look just like that. That's called a flight.
Hold on, MC2, and you know what it looks like when you look at a flight being tracked, right?
Wait, IC Spin, where did you get that data? Is that from FlightAware? that you just posted?
No,
Or what?
I imported his KML file into Google Earth.
Oh, okay.
Which is already your
Oh, well,
Google
look at
Globe.
that.
That's
Yeah, you think that's
awesome.
the direction you're playing through the whole time? You really think that's what happened, dude?
This is the data. This is the data. It's been imported into Google Earth. Take it or leave it. That's the
It's
data.
what you asked for.
I mean,
Yeah, you think
That is
that's
what you asked for. That's
representing the
hilarious.
path of the plane? Hold
Give
on.
me the
Now-
flight
now
data.
this is what
I
waited
gave you the
for.
flight data. I don't
This is
want
what I was
that
waiting
flight
for.
data. I want different flight data.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't say I would accept this bullshit before you presented it, dude. Look at that perfectly straight line. Take a good look at that path that the plane apparently took. And I want everybody to consider that they're on a globe following a great circle route, and that there's
He doesn't
Coriolis.
understand it.
And,
He
shut up.
doesn't.
And that there's a plane flying in a straight line on a Coriolis globe. That's
What
what the
was
plane
that?
would look like according to this guy.
What was I tracking when I was tracking FTE? Seriously, like what in
Yeah, this
your
is not what
opinion?
telemetry. Okay, so I've seen actual flights get tracked. They don't look like straight lines. Like, have you guys ever actually been?
Yeah,
on
they do.
Yes,
They look straight as
circle
fuck,
route.
all of them.
It completely depends on the perspective of the image, dude.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
Yeah, you can
No,
make
therefore
you
it's
can
not
take a
showing you
path and
the
look at it
actual
in different
position.
directions, and it
It's
can
not
look.
showing you the actual position of the receiver. It's not showing you all the discrepancies. It's just a straight line. Anybody could fake this, dude. Are you serious?
No, it is straight in real life. I've done it myself. It's straight as fuck, all of them.
Oh wow!
I mean, I
Planes
could
flying
get a
perfectly straight
CSV.
lines while heading south, while Earth is rotating.
I could
That's
create
a joke.
CSV. I could create
How
a
many
CSV.
straight lines on a sphere?
Hello?
Idiot.
There's zero straight lines on a sphere on top of all that. That's right.
Like, I could get a, oh my gosh.
My bad.
Like, I could get a piece of paper, I mean, a CSV file, and create this. I mean, this doesn't really. This data doesn't really. I mean, you can make this yourself.
So you
McToon,
ask
I mean,
for the data, you're given the data,
I'm not
and your
saying,
answer is,
dude,
nuh-uh,
McToon, I know you went there, dude. I mean, well, I know that at least when I spoke to Witzel when we were in here. But I mean, giving us this piece of paper, I mean, this could be created so easy. It could not.
but Witzel couldn't.
Welcome to the Nuh-uh world.
I'm not saying that, but could it not be created, McToon? McToon, can you not create this really easily?
Evidence
McToon, a question, a software engineer to another software engineer. Can you not create this data real quick?
Of course, it can be created.
Thank
but
you.
You asked for it, and I gave it. So it
fake as
depends
fuck,
on your
dude.
it depends on your standard of evidence. If you're going to say give me the data, and then you're given the data, then you say, well, the data could be faked. Then don't ask for the data, because before asking for the data, you should realize it could be.
Well, I mean, I thought
your
you would
standard of evidence.
I would have thought you would have put in some telemetry data, not just some GPS coordinates.
What telemetry data?
Like real telemetry, like stuff that actually shows you the position of your receiver.
Where would I have gotten that?
How would
where
your
would I
plane
have
fly in
gotten
a
that?
straight line on a globe anyway, dude?
Where would I have gotten this telemetry data that you think exists?
You don't have it. You just failed to present it.
Where do you think it would have been gotten from? Where
I
would
don't know. Maybe you brought a GPS with you or something, but you didn't, I guess.
Yes, they did. They plotted. You know that little thing that they did where they all wore a GPS and you could watch it on the Final Experiment website. Not so. Yeah, they did. They were wearing GPSs and was like tagging them.
Gio, for the things that we brought with us were active while we were on the ground in Punta Arenas and while we were on the ground in Antarctica. But while we're on the flights, it just takes the flights.
So yeah, but isn't there like, I hear you on that. Isn't there like official foot? I hear you. So they would have just jumped. I remember we tracked it though when it was going. Somebody was posting the links and we were all looking at it. So it was tracked on like FlightAware. But isn't there like official data from the system, as it were, that is just accessible, or do they not save that? Like just the fact that you guys went on December 14th, did they not save it?
So Monkey Cat Pat Pat posted pictures that were taken with the GPS units, and so all of those ones like where you see North America, South America, those are just the flights. So they programmed in to their system the flights that we were all taking, because we all sent them to Will ahead of time. Like he asked me for mine, but he had most of the rest of them already. So he's like, well, what, tell me the flights that you're taking so that I can add it to the system. So I didn't get my GPS unit until I was in Punta Arenas, but you can see there the flights moving around. That's just the flights. That's just saying, oh, well, he's on flight whatever from Miami to Santiago, and here's where it is in real time.
Yeah.
And so you can see
I got you.
The first one, there's me, and then I think underneath my bubble is Will's bubble, because we were both in the air at the same time.
People want to know the Punta. I mean, these guys are kind of more asking for the Punta Arenas to Union Glacier, because anyone who's trying to be skeptical that you guys didn't go, that's the one they want to see. And all I'm saying is, like, is there official searchable? I remember it was tracked live when you guys went. We were posting the link to it. I realize it's just as far as a website is claiming it.
Yeah. So when you go to FlightAware and you say, give me the raw data, the tracking data from the flight, from FlightAware, it'll give you a KML file. I posted the KML file.
Gotcha. All right. So that is from FlightAware.
That's all you get is a KML file, which has data in it. Which if you want to, it's just text. That's a JSON file.
And that's what they give you. Okay, all right, fair enough.
You
Yeah.
get.
I mean,
So what would one person expect? Give me the data. This is the freaking data. That's all you get.
Well, okay, but I figure even in like the whole military industrial, airline industry, I would think maybe there would be some additional thing that they could say, hey, this flight happened. But if they don't offer that, unless there's some other source, like you could get something from ALE or something. But
hey, Toon.
I wanted to ask. Hold on, let me ask real quick. In terms of people's like, what is your read on? Is a question I have from before. Like, how many? Okay, in the community in general, what percentage do you think are on the side that is fake, and what are on the side that it's real, and then what are on the fence maybe? Like from what you're picking, is like 20% think it's fake, 30, 50. Like what are you seeing?
I don't know. I think like Dubé says fake. Dirt says we went, but the sun was a laser pointer. What an idiot!
Or they faked the sun there. Yeah.
For 125 years. I don't know where the lasers were when Lady Blunt was reading all her stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's 50-50. I have no idea.
Is it even as high as 50 though? I would think more like 20 to 30 at most. 20? No, even less. In here, it's like 2%. In here, it's like less than 3. Whatever.
TikTok says it's fake.
Oh, really? They're like the younger.
The Facebook crew, they're just ignorant. They're so ignorant. They don't know that it even happened. Some of them.
Maybe Grok figured it out.
Yeah, that Eddie banjo guy. Yeah,
oh my gosh, he's mentally handicapped for real. Like seriously, like that's why I don't do much on him, because I think he's seriously not right in the head.
Yeah, surprising Dubé. Yeah, that was surprising. He didn't get the read right on. That's kind of a bit of a letdown. He got that wrong.
The other thing about the coordinates is it just takes snapshots. It's not every single second of the flight. So, and then what it does is it just draws straight lines between those individual points. And so, yes, whether or not the plane was flying in a straight line between them or not, don't know. All we know is the exact point that it was recorded.
But they're definitely interested on saving the most amount of gas as possible. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and the closest point between two spots on a globe is going to be a great circle route, which is a straight line when you're looking at it head on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your predicted route. The plane doesn't fly in a perfectly straight line from one point to another. That's impossible if Earth is rotating and there's crosswind. That's why typically flight data reflects all of the different directions that the plane flies in. It's never a perfectly straight line. So what you're calling GPS data is truly not. It's just some weird.
So you're adding a qualifier. You're saying
it's not real telemetry data.
They try to maintain.
Can you stop over talking? I waited for everybody to stop talking.
Shut up. He's committed to.
This is not real telemetry data.
This debunks flat Earth. That's why he's fighting it so hard.
Ideally, it's a perfectly straight line. That's what they would like it to be, but there are deviations due to whatever causes deviations.
Coriolis, crosswinds.
Yeah, we can move on from this. There's not. I mean, that's what FlightAware gives, and unless anyone knows.
Why are you doing this to my argument? Every time I bring this up, you steamroll my argument. Every time.
What's your argument?
Maybe you'd know it if you didn't try to steamroll it every time I brought it up.
I haven't steamrolled anything. I was just saying that that's what FlightAware gives. And unless there's a further source, that's what they give.
And your mic is... I don't know what your mic is doing.
That's me. I mean, that KMZ shows what happened, but with the Coriolis effect, what does that line turn into? I'm with you, Electric.
Here's how navigation works. They set a course. They take the Great Circle, and then along the Great Circle, they get the waypoints, and there's waypoints all over the surface of the Earth. And they then line up the waypoints in short segments. So they go to a waypoint, and then at that waypoint, they check their location, their direction, and then they adjust their heading to the next waypoint. And so wind could skew them, Coriolis could skew them, any number of things could skew them a little bit.
Yeah, apparently nothing skewed them. Absolutely no crosswinds. Look at that.
No, you have no clue what that data is showing. Anyway, so they get to the waypoint, and then they typically they'll do whatever.
It's showing a straight line, McToon.
Yeah, because there isn't data every single second. Are you not aware of this?
Therefore, it's not really telemetry data. So shut up.
It really is telemetry data. You
need to get better data. This doesn't reflect the path that you're.
You have a grossly misunderstood version of what telemetry data is. You don't have a damn clue.
Yeah, I know for a fact it's not a straight line. I know that.
You don't know what telemetry data is. This is just taking.
It's
the
not this.
telemetry
This is
data
not telemetry data.
that
It's just
exists.
not.
This is taking the telemetry data, which is just a series of points.
Does everybody remember Labette Model Builder? Remember him? Remember his job was to track flight paths. When he was presenting his data, it's the squiggliest, most inconsistent path when you're actually tracking a flight. So these straight lines is not representing telemetry data. It's just not.
I'm still waiting for you guys to explain Critical Think's flight that he took. You guys won't.
Oh my God, you are so far behind.
All right, let's maybe move on. He gave the flighting tracking data that FlightAware gives.
There you go.
Hey, you don't like this, Geo?
There's some non-straight flight path there.
It was just plotted on KMZ. That's why it's straightened out.
That is not non-straight, dude. It's straight. You know what straight is?
Oh wow. Are you looking at the golf club that Toon just posted, or are you looking at a different?
I don't think you.
Yeah, I'm not
That's
interested in auto.
I don't think he understands. This is a lost cause.
No, he's not smart enough. That's the problem.
He's just gonna.
I got a whole bunch of arguments for you, but since you're not addressing this properly and you're lying and deflecting, we can definitely talk about something else if you're interested.
There's some more non-straight. Oh, but you'll say that's straight because your eyes are screwy.
Ooh.
No, I know what real telemetry data looks like, and it doesn't look like that.
You have no damn.
I highly fucking doubt that.
You have no.
Yeah, let's ask the Globe kid, the little Globe boy over there. What do you thinks of it? No one cares.
So what exactly is your argument, Electric? Is your argument that this is not from their airplane?
It is not reflecting the actual GPS receiver, the telemetry data. It is just a straight line. The path of the plane cannot be a perfectly straight line if you're on a globe.
Not a straight line.
Simple stuff. It's not a straight line. That's not a straight line, according to wow, dude. Like we would even be interested in what you think a straight line is. You think straight is bending. Look at that straight line, and you say it's bending. Look at that.
I said it's not a straight line, and I posted a photo where it's not a straight line. There you go. I see spin.
Yeah, that is a straight line, McToon.
Not a straight line. Are you blind?
You guys,
are you actually looking at the chat? What the hell is wrong with you?
We already went through this. It's multiple points plotted that are straight lines in between the points, and they all deviate a little bit. He already posted the image of it. We got to move on to something more interesting.
Straight lines are not, though. One real quick point, though. Avionics adjust in real time. The second the plane starts to skew off in any direction, it corrects. I mean, what do you expect to see? Zigzags back and forth?
He doesn't know.
Yes. That is, in fact, what telemetry data typically reflects when you're trying to get that
at the
accurate
small
position.
scale. At the small scale, but if you zoom out to the planet size, you're not going to see that. You're going to see straight fucking lines, dude. Get over it.
There are straight lines in
All right,
those
so
pictures
everybody's
too.
pretending that's what it should look. It should just look like a straight line on a globe. That is so dumb. Anyway, so the other argument is that there was no significant changes to the color of the sky as the sun is changing elevation angles for 25 hours. The sky remained the same pitch of blue for 25 hours straight.
Well, that's not true.
Yeah, it is. You just keep saying things aren't true. That's all you got.
So you're looking at the auto exposure Insta360 that auto adjusts exposure every second.
No, I'm looking at all your footages. All of them reflect the same color sky.
Which ones?
All of them.
Be specific.
That is very specific. Every single shot from the TFE experiment, they all reflect the same color sky, no matter what elevation angle the sun is. Have you thought about that?
Why don't you go grab some screenshots?
Yeah, I'm not asking the auto globers about this. I'm asking
thought
MCT,
about
so
how
please refrain.
auto exposure cameras work. Do you know how they work?
Oh, so you don't think the sky would change colors when the sun gets closer to the horizon? You don't think so?
I'm asking if you know how these cameras work, and you clearly don't.
I'm asking you a question. Are you listening? I asked you something. Try to answer this.
You're not smart enough to understand.
You're answering my question with a question, but I still want to know the answer to my question. Do you think that the elevation angle to the sun, the closer it gets to the horizon, that the sky would change colors? Do you agree?
The sky did change colors.
No, it did not. Oh, so you're just willing to lie. Okay, you're weird. Throughout the entire 25-hour sun footage, the sky does not change colors at all.
Okay, so what? It's fake? You're back to it being fake?
Yeah, so they're all fake. Yeah. TFE was all fake, right?
If that's all you got, if you can't address what I'm saying, and you want to jump to other conclusions, that just proves you don't know how to engage with what I'm saying.
Well, you're not providing evidence. You're just making a blanket statement.
Yeah, you've made an assertion. I don't need to do anything to refute your baseless assertion.
You don't need to do anything.
No,
that's funny.
That which is asserted without evidence is dismissed without evidence.
Oh no, I actually
watched
stupid fake footage. I watched it.
Let me just get it. Just hold on, Electric. Hold on.
Provide the evidence.
Yeah, dude, I'm getting interrupted again.
Yeah, you are. Just hold on for a second, dude. You're kind of steamrolling the whole room at this point. You said your point. You said that the sky didn't change colors. If you have a couple examples, you can show them. I have the one from the skydiving company, the 24-hour sun, and it does show
Wrong footage.
some change in the
That's not TFE.
sky in the southern region. If you want to pull up theirs, but it does seem like the air is very dry, that the sky may stay more consistent. You'd have to like show some examples, or we can move forward. I mean, there's not very many people that deny that they went. It's like you and QOP and like a few others. So I don't know if do we really want to just do this the whole time. It's not really like all of us at all that think this. You're kind of always flipping side stuff. So I don't know. Is this really? We want to just keep rampaging through this while you're telling them it's fake.
Preview is compressed.
All right. Getting some.
I don't know, Gio. You're literally roboting. Like, I don't know what the fuck you just said, dude.
All right, sorry. I was roboting that whole time.
No.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you want to,
the point that I'm making is that
if you want to look
as
at some
the sun
footage,
changes elevation angle in the sky, as it approaches the horizon, over 25 hours, it's changing its apparent elevation angle. Typically, the sky changes colors. It doesn't happen at all in your footage.
Where's your typical evidence? Because you're bringing just assertion that you can't back up.
Oh yeah, so you don't watch sunsets, so you don't know what
Listen,
sunsets
I do watch sunsets, but bring something to the table with the elevation angle that they're showing, and showing your video changes
they brought it to the
dramatically.
Okay, so you guys didn't watch the actual footage.
I watched it all, bro.
I watched it all live.
All right, then
You've provided nothing
then you
though,
should
except
know that the sky doesn't change color throughout the 25-hour sun footage.
What I
You should
watched.
know
Why
that.
would it?
What I watched was perfectly legitimate and looked perfectly logical to me. There was nothing about it that looked fake.
Wow, a glober that thinks that the globe is logical. How interesting.
Let me ask you this: if it was faked, are you asserting that it was done in a studio? What's your assertion?
I'm asserting that that's not what would happen if it really was the sun setting.
Okay, and that's based on what video evidence that you're going to provide and show us.
Literally every other fucking sunset that ever happened.
Show us a 24-hour sun in Antarctic where that looks
Why are
dramatically
you
different
pretending
than
the sky doesn't change color as the sun changes
Because
color?
you're not saying the sky doesn't change color.
You just said to show you another 24 sun in the south.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy what these people are saying.
Bro, Globers are so
It's crazier
funny.
hearing Geo fucking defend this garbage.
Well, why don't you look at the images that Snooze posted? The second one is a good one. Are you saying that there should be something other than the obvious gradient that there is?
Yeah, that never happened. That literally never happened during the
Prove
TFT
it.
footage.
Prove it.
Except for this is from their footage.
Yes.
Wow, looks like
You're talking about the photo that Rince just posted?
Where's the footage from the flat earthers that went to Antarctic that contradict the other footage? Where's any experiment that was
footage?
When was
Look,
Ed, when,
look
where's
the
that?
globers are scurrying. Look at them all.
I want to.
Yeah, we're running away.
1 second. Electric, respond to the one that Snooze. If you look at both of them, I mean, they're both great photos, but they're both from TFE's footage. The second one, you can see the sun, and you can see the gradient of the deep blue in like the top right corner, and it kind of goes to the bottom left of the photograph to where it's almost white in the background. What do you have to say about that?
That is such an insignificant change. What you should see as the sun is actually in the marine layer. Like the atmosphere causes the sunlight to scatter. You're supposed to see reds, yellows. It's just blue the whole time. You pretend like you've never seen a sunset before.
It wasn't that low. The lowest it got was 13 degrees.
Yeah, you should have seen some significant change. There's barely any in the footage.
Again, where is
Snooze
your video
posting.
evidence to show what they should have seen?
Yeah, I know you don't know what sunsets look like. I know, dude. You don't go outside. That's fine.
It's not a sunset. That's not what you're looking at.
It didn't set. So we don't need to compare it to a sunset.
It's
We
at
need to
13
compare it to a
degrees.
sun
That's the
not
marine
setting.
layer. All right, so the light should be scattering more and more the lower it gets.
Okay, and then how does an auto exposure camera deal with it?
So I guess you just don't care to actually take pictures of the sun. You just don't even know what you're doing.
Well, we got multiple 360 camera views of the sun, and you got
Yeah, you
none.
guys totally messed that shit up.
You brought
Welcome to
nothing.
Globe Earth, bud.
Dude, you brought nothing
Leave
but
it to
assertions.
McToon to not actually do an experiment. I mean, that's
Snooze,
about it.
Snooze posted photos showing that they're different, and you're saying they need to be some quantity different, but you can't provide any backing for that. Awesome.
Yeah,
When you
20
say-
degrees
when you
above the
say less-
horizon, there should be significant scattering. You should be
Should be.
seeing
But
when you
reds
say-
and yellows.
And how do you know that? Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro.
No, because that's what
all you
happens
got.
every single time there's a sunset, except for when you were in Antarctica.
But it wasn't. It didn't set. It wasn't close to the horizon. It never got.
Wow,
close.
it is literally right there next to the horizon. Look at that.
So when you say specifically you really messed that shit up, quote unquote, what are you implying?
You could have had cameras on the cameras. I might have just.
Are you implying that he took photos of the sun and they were just bad photos? So he
All right,
messed it
so
up?
am I?
Or are you saying that he faked it?
Are you guys letting MC Toon run away now? So you want me to address Glow Tart now?
No, I think we got to shift it up a little. You have had the mic time for quite a bit. Maybe other people want to.
I got a really good one though.
Go ahead.
I got a really good one. He's gonna love this. So.
Yeah, you already struck out. You're literally 2 for 2 struck out right now.
What were his strikeouts? Because as far as I can tell, you guys are the ones been striking out.
Nice, Globy.
Those guys. Yeah, I mean, I've been involved again.
Yeah, this
Right.
is the thing. It's like not everybody that has a planar stationary, perspective thinks that this was a faked event. And in fact, it seems like in here there's like very few people. That's why I was asking MC2 like out in the world, out there, what he's seeing in terms of what percentage.
All right, so there is so on Will Duffy's channel, The Final Experiment, there's a 3 videos that are more than 24 hours. YouTube only allows you to post a 12-hour video, so it had to be split into 3. And there is the sun there just above the blue shed, and on the right side, and on the left side is when the sun was in the other direction. And look at that, it's a different color. So it completely destroyed your assertion.
But it's not yellow.
Not yellow.
Is this the same camera?
It has to be yellow or red.
Same
Yeah, Tim, I
camera.
know you don't get it.
Why? Because
I have another one. I got back to my computer. I mean, on this point, if we're still actually doing this, but just on this point, this one here also shows this is the one 24-hour sun footage from Union Glacier that existed, as far as I know, the only one before they took the trip, the only actual 24-hour one that I actually found on the skydiving channel that has like very few views. But anyways, I timestamped it, so if you click on it there, I just posted it. Jesse, if you want to watch that one, it shows the sky changing colors as well as it does its whole circuit.
Yeah, probably experiment, Gio.
What about the 24 moon in Antarctica during the winter time? What about that?
I wasn't taking.
So guys, I'd like to hear what you're asserting, though. Are you asserting that it was faked? I'd like to know what it is you're asserting.
Okay, well, let's be clear. Hold on, let's be clear. There are only 2 people so far in this room that are asserting it's fake. So you'd have to ask one of those 2. It's not everybody. There's not like a huge people saying it's fake.
Yeah, there is. There's tons of people that think it's fake. You're lying.
I'm talking about in
if
here.
you believe the Earth is flat, it has to be fake.
Hold on, I'm talking about in this room right now, Jesse. I'm just saying, there's only 2 people. So when he says you guys, you can't expect like any people to.
No,
and only one of them is a real
agree,
earther, and I can't even get into make an argument.
How you treat people that disagree with you. They see the cult mentality and the dogpiling and the useless bullshit. But I don't give a fuck. So either way, this is not from the same camera. All right, I don't know how much the camera is allowing light exposure. So are you saying this is the same camera in this 2 shots, McToon?
I'll send you the links to the videos and you can double check it yourself.
Is it the same camera?
It is the same. It's the same video from the same camera.
Can I?
And you said you looked at all the footage.
Okay,
all
so
the
then
footage was your assertion.
so then therefore,
obviously you didn't look at this footage.
What is the span of time between the 2 shots?
12 hours.
Yeah, exactly 12 hours apart.
All right, Q.
All right, time me in. I want next.
Yeah, go ahead, please. But I was gonna shift it a little bit but unless
right.
we'll keep going. Go ahead.
There you go. There's
Yo,
the 2
McToon.
videos.
McToon. The Union Glacier. How far from the South Pole is Union Glacier?
We're just north of 80 degrees south latitude, so it's about 700 miles.
How many degrees?
10 degrees, 69 miles per degree. So call it.
So okay, so that would mean that south. So this 24-hour shot we got, right? That would mean that to the south, when the sun is to the south, that's when it should look like the sun is the farthest from the Union Glacier area. Do you have any videos of the sun looking like it's farther when it's in the south? Because
Just
pretty much
the footage.
Looking
it all looks like. Yeah, pretty much
How
it
would
just
you-
looks like the sun is the same distance the whole time.
How would you quantify looking farther?
Oh my god.
Parallax, eyes.
They don't really claim that it is on the globe though.
Oh
It's
my
not really
goodness.
far. It's
Okay.
not really farther. It
So
maybe
I'll-
is by like a tiny bit, but it's the angle.
I'll go over this. Okay, the sun is 150 million kilometers away, and
We're gonna start. We gotta grant you that.
And from since we're at 10 degrees north of the South Pole, that's 700 miles. It's about 1,100 kilometers. So that's the total distance. It adds about 2,200 kilometers. So 150 million kilometers plus 22,000 kilometers doesn't make a significant difference in angular size when you apply the angular size formula. So we would not expect a variation that we could measure with an instrument that's not precise. So it should not look farther away.
Well, the angular size doesn't matter as much as like the route basically the I don't know how to word this. The route it's taking in the sky is going to be asymmetrical because when it's in the south, it's farther away, and that would be a drastic change because of perspective and the area where you see it.
Holy crap! It's farther away by a minuscule amount.
Yeah, the sun's going the wrong direction for the
Oh, we got globers, concavers. Like, come on.
we need to find that solution.
All right, thank you, concaver.
These little minute differences in pixel quality on the global model is not the issue. The sun's going the wrong direction for the Gleason.
What are you talking about, dude? It's literally such a fucking red herring, dude.
Remind me what
MC
evidence you
Toon.
brought.
Well,
What
we
makes
already
it
went through it.
fake?
We went through those points. I want to ask MC Toon, like, so I know it's kind of a hypothetical, but it kind of opens the question because we're talking about these different, like, yes, like the 24-hour sun does not match with the AE Gleason's map. It does generally with the globe. It does generally, if you want to say concave as well, similar, and it does on a 2-pole planar. So what I wanted to ask you, McToon, like if the Earth is indeed planar and stationary, and the sky still does what it does, with what you already know about this realm, having gone to the Antarctica, but also obviously having lived in the north where you can see the north as well. My question to you is, do you think that if it is indeed planar and stationary, and the sky still does this, and it isn't a globe, in your mind, would it have to be a 2-pole planar layout?
None of it makes sense because the surface distances still have to make sense, and they don't. And your planar 2-pole one that you put up, Hawaii is north of Alaska.
Would you agree at least Antarctica is way better represented? And just the whole southern hemisphere in general?
The southern hemisphere is a mess on that bipolar one. The 2 points that have the least distortion are actually the North Pole and South Pole in that particular map. So Antarctica doesn't get much distortion, but everything else does.
Okay, so you're saying other things. I mean, Hawaii is not necessarily north of Alaska. Everything would still be south out from the North Pole Center. But then you would just have another. It's like instead of one AE map, you have 2, which is like the 2 hemispheres of what they make the globe. So you have that, like what they claim the globe is the top hemisphere. That's what we call the northern. And then the bottom part of the globe, they claim the southern. But instead of it being 2 sides of a globe or 2 hemispheres of a globe, it could be like 2 AE maps essentially laid in a planar fashion. That general type layout where you have the northern and then the southern, and then at the equator it's straight. It's the only thing that matches with the sky with a planar foundation. That's the thing. So that's why I'm asking, like, if you knew for sure it was planar, like you did, additional tests, or it was like for sure known, and the sky still does what it does, in your mind, would you be like, okay, then it is some type of a 2-pole planar Earth? That's my question. As a hypothetical, I suppose, just asking you. Is that what it would end up having to be?
I don't see where you're going with that. Here. Yeah.
So let's say you had $100 million, got a whole team together. We did a bunch of tests and validating there is no curvature. So, and it is at rest, let's say, and after spending $100 million. So for at this point that it is. Then when the sky still does what it does, would it by default be a 2-pole planar ground to match the 2-pole planar sky?
Well, here you go. You got Jamie Rowe's dual Earth model. Just posted that for you.
Ah, that's pretty cool. Trying to figure out what's going on there. Stars above and below. The
sun is in the middle. The sun is in the middle, and then magic causes you to see the sun in the sky.
Magic.
He doesn't provide an explanation for it.
Or light, but magnetism.
Magnetism.
Real quick on
magnetism
on Alaska. So don't they land in Alaska on emergencies from Hawaii to LA? And they're pretty much equidistant.
No, not at all. Oh my goodness. Holy cow.
No.
How wrong? You don't even get the flat Earth argument even close to right. Oh my goodness.
Well, no, I just stated that they land in Alaska on their way from Hawaii to LA.
No, they don't.
Okay.
They don't go anywhere near Alaska, bro. I've been on that flight 3 times.
It's never happened once.
Yo, I have a question for the concave.
You're getting Banjo's argument wrong. You don't even know Banjo.
Look, I've heard nothing new. I'm just saying I've heard, I'm not born yesterday, so the and the duh is not working. But
kind of sounded like it.
Yeah, well, usually, if you've been somewhere and you can be cocky, so I understand that, but like making fun of people was not a good look from science.
Yo, I have a question for the concaver. The concaver. You want us to pick like between concave and like the 2-pole flat Earth model you got, right, or something like that?
Well, he just knows the AE map doesn't work. So I mean, I'm not trying to speak for him, but he's aware of that. So that's really all that's left. It's 2-pole planar Earth or globe or concave, I guess. Even though
yeah, that's what I'm asking if that's what he wants, right? Because he always yells at me about. Yeah, he always yells at me about like we need to pick one of those. I'm just curious if like once we pick one of those, will he then stop like because then he won't have to complain about we need a model because then we pick the right model that works like as far as like what they say
Don't you
is
feel...
seen. I'm almost done. Now I gotta find out where it was. So it's basically I'm trying to say like his problem is like where we don't have like a model that works, but once we pick one of his like models like concave or dual pole flat Earth, is he gonna start like is then he gonna change what he complains about to be like, oh, how are we gonna fucking deal with Pac-Manning or the fact that gravity doesn't work on concave and we've never proven any kind of model for how gravity could work on concave? Are you gonna do that?
You realize the model's not the problem. You guys can't explain the altitude of your sun. You can't explain the size of your sun. You can't explain how your sun and moon orbit.
Those
you
are
can't
different
explain
problems
the lack of a sunset. It's not about the shape of the Earth. It's about
we
none
know
of your
you lack
mechanics work.
comprehension of anything besides balls in your face. We know, dude.
The description.
You guys can't even explain a freaking sunset.
All right, hold on. This is getting kind of
Oh my God.
a lot of different topics. Just hold on.
You're describing it.
Everyone stop, please, for a second. Close your mics. Okay, Gatebreaker, did you want to respond to Kyov's point?
Nope.
What was the actual question? That if everybody went to 2-pole, or I don't think there's ever going to be a rush to any concave, but
Tupol
It's
is
just
more
about getting to the
problematic than
truth.
A.E. Gleason's.
It's just about getting to what the truth is. In general, like the Earth being a globe is what we're told, our history from any time we were born. We know that the ancients had a planar stationary Earth. The AE model was kind of given. I know that's. I mean, I ran into it back in like 2004. The AE map. I mean, that's kind of in the literature and in all of that. So there's always been the question of if that layout is true or not. So if it's not, it just means that there's more to discover to figure out what the realm is. If people really think it's a globe, if people really think it's a globe, they could move on with their life and think it's a
film
globe.
from
But if they
space.
want to. Hold on, you're interrupting me. My last part is just if people want to think it's a globe and believe that, it's fine. They can do that. But obviously, if they're in these combos and wanting to continue to ask questions and look, then they're on the path to getting to what the actual truth is. So that will be.
You understand, dude?
What
people
is the actual truth, dude?
Well,
Like, if
hold on a
you're
second.
really
People-
sitting here saying,
Yeah,
when
we're
you say
uncovering it.
people want to believe it's a globe, it's everybody knows it's a globe, not believes it's a globe. You guys discount.
That's false. Shut up.
No,
dude.
let me finish.
Stop
You
it.
guys
No.
discount. Hold on, let me finish. You discount pilots. You discount astronauts. You
That's
discount
more lies.
engineers. You
More
discount. Listen. You discount every photo, video, and film images from space. You discount satellites. You discount. I mean, literally, the world is. You live in a world of globe Earth.
None of those things
It's all
require a
around
globe.
you.
Looking at all that, dude, we see it. It's not good.
Yeah, none of those things are.
Yeah,
globe
I love that
evidence, dude.
statement. Also, none of those things require a
Wait,
round Earth.
but you
How can
realize
say
on a
that?
flat you realize on a flat Earth there could be pilots that believe the Earth's a globe, right?
Yeah, there's people that
all
say it
those
looks
pilots
flat.
are
Big
just
deal.
lying. And
Well, he's just
joking.
very narrow-minded. He's not going to be able to think on.
No, go back to
properly.
that. You made a statement there. Why, back it up. So why do you think that? Why do you think that these things that we say kind of show that the Earth is round could be flat, like a satellite? How can a satellite go around in circles?
How?
Wow, you're really having trouble picturing that? That's
How does an
insane.
equatorial mount
tell me
work
how-
on a
tell
flat
me-
Earth?
See how another commonality. I ask you a question, and then you got to repeat it, and then try to make fun. Just answer the question. You don't have to like just.
All you got to
decipher
do
it.
is stop imagining balls in your head for 1 second in your life, and then you're
How
done.
does an orbit take
You
place on
sound
a
like
flat
a
Earth? Hold on.
Ewok, dude.
How does your
Answer is
satellite on the
electric.
underside of clouds?
Third time.
Hold on, let Zanuck repeat it.
One thing like a satellite, which does require the Earth being round and going around it. How does it
That's
happen on a
false.
flat Earth? How does a satellite go around the Earth? What's your theory?
Satellite does not require the Earth to be round, dude. You can make an orbital path above a planar surface. It's not hard.
Okay, last time. Here, you just said it again. This is fourth time now. This is getting kind of tiring. How is it possible? Describe the
answer?
mechanics of it.
So
How can something go
I'll
around in a
answer.
circle
Answered.
above your head?
I'll
Just
answer.
fucking
All right, so
answer,
on
bro.
globe Earth, it's falling around a ball, and you guys have a vacuum and some type of like orbit like mechanics where like it's perfect distance so that it never gets too close or far, blah blah blah. And then you guys claim Coriolis is caused by Earth spin, which is what we see with the storms and the weather patterns. But on a flat Earth, all those things, that vortexual motion that you guys claim is Coriolis from Earth spin, is we believe it's being caused by an actual force, like a real force, not a pseudo force.
Then
Like
how's an
magnetism.
equatorial mount work
What
on a
is
flat
that
Earth?
force?
In the middle of
let's
a
not be
magnetic
technical.
field,
We
there's
talked about that
vortex,
yesterday,
and I'll
dude.
just keep talking. I'll try
We
to
need to
keep my
keep a
concentration
cohesive
while you guys
conversation.
interrupt.
Let's not scattergun everywhere and let him finish first. Go ahead, Q.
I was so close. Every time I'm always so close, dude, when this interruption start.
Well, yeah, the globe is allowed to be scattergun.
No,
and just
hold on.
say-
It's an honest to God's question that I asked because you said that everything could work on a flat Earth, but an equatorial mount cannot work on a flat Earth.
Yeah, that's a lie. I told you yesterday, dude. Did you fall asleep and reset, dude? I told you the whole fucking
always
reason
do.
how, dude.
Yes, and none of it made sense what you said.
It's not my fault that you're too stupid to understand what I said, dude. But that was the answer.
Yeah,
I told you how
right,
it worked.
right.
I told you
How-
why. I told you why it worked and how it worked, and you just like reset, bro. Whatever, dude.
No,
How-
you
how
made
are
up
the-
a
how
bunch
are
of
the-
nonsense that made no sense.
How are the clouds
it
lit
did
up
make
in the
sense to
morning
you?
and evening
All right.
on a flat Earth, guys?
Another
How are the
scattergun.
clouds lit up
Let's
from the
go.
underside on a flat Earth? Please
Oh my
explain.
god, dude. Are you new to this fucking argument? That's been
How are the
debunked long
clouds
enough
lit
ago,
up
bro.
from the underside on a flat Earth?
All right, we got
They
it.
don't realize that they're just saying random stupid things.
Just
Yeah, you
answer
guys-
the question,
stop.
please.
You sound like you came from TikTok or something.
So are you saying you can't answer the question?
We just need to
See,
stop.
it's
Hold on.
that's the way it works, bro.
I think everybody's answered your questions. MC,
Hold on. I'm just gonna do temporary mute, Jack. Just hold on for a second, dude. Let's try to get back to something. You're shooting out things. Multiple people are jumping in. Let's try. If you want to go on one topic, we can do that. We were talking about like the map layout though, like the dual pole, the AE, the globe concave, those kind of four basically. So we were sort of talking about that. Now we've kind of jumped and lily pad, scattergunned off to a bunch of other things. So did we complete that combo on the polls thing or anything further of the layout? And then if we're done with that, we should shift to one thing and have one person go at a time so we can actually keep it cohesive.
I didn't even finish answering Xanix's question. Like he still doesn't know
so
how.
finish your thing then.
Like,
All
what
right,
I
we're
was-
gonna go off on that. Just finish your thing then. At least just one at a time. And finish your whole point.
Yeah, I didn't think I got it answered either. I mean, you said it's a bunch of things, terms like vortexual, and it works just the same. But how does it work? I'm not going to explain it how it works on a round Earth. I'm sure you should be able to, explain it.
He was about to finish, but they didn't let him finish.
He just kind of dismissed it. I'm just curious what your theory.
No, he didn't dismiss. He was actually answering your question.
One answer I've heard, for example, I've heard it. There's a dome, and all these little lights are on the dome.
I guess he wants to answer.
Oh my god! Okay, yeah, I was.
I'm not getting answers 6 times now. Go ahead.
Q up. Just
Trying to
make your
help
full
you out.
point. Go ahead.
He said little lights on the dome.
I was trying to help you out just by giving you an example how I would answer it if I was a flat earther. And I was going to give an answer like a
Oh
steel
my
man.
God.
Bro, you guys are fucking
Now
weird.
you're laughing. It's just making it silly. Come on. So
Guys,
again,
answer
how
or
do
don't answer.
these lights in the sky? How do they? We say it requires a round Earth. You're saying it can work on a flat Earth. How? How does that work?
So we can demonstrate magnetic locking, like it's a thing. You guys
Oh my
can't
God.
demonstrate like with
What
anything
the
with
hell
even.
is
Oh my
magnetic
God!
Isn't it funny how you just
I'm
can't
just
answer
gonna
the
do
question?
temporary mutes. I'm just gonna do temporary mutes. Please don't interrupt at all. Please don't open your mic when someone's speaking. If you want to go next, you can go next. We gotta go one at a time. Q up. Finish your point. Go ahead.
Bro, I can't. I give up.
Yeah, no, you guys, please don't interrupt for real.
I only care to talk to McToon about this. Like all the Globers chiming in, like I don't.
Hold on, dude. Q up. Please go. I'm sitting here with whacking them with muting just to let you go. Just go.
Just let Jesse go.
No, I just temporarily muted him so you could say your point. Come on, dude. We're losing it, guys. Come on.
Bro,
One at a time. Go.
I can't stay concentrated.
Well, Gio, you know how I move, bro. Sorry.
You have triggers Globers just as much as he triggers religious people.
I want to just point out that, when we try to focus on one thing, Globers just want to immediately just ADD into some completely irrelevant topic. Like, what about sunsets? What about the shadow of the moon and blah, 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 things that aren't relevant. Like, you guys can't focus.
You know, that was my point. So let me speak to that. You guys are looking for the shape of your Earth. We are literally in 2025. So we ask you specific mechanical questions about your model. Forget the model or not. You should be able to answer every question. You guys have sat, hold on, let me finish. You guys have sat here tonight and asked McToon questions about the video footage from Antarctica, like it's the Zapruder film. He has gone into detail. He has provided evidence. Your answer is nuh-uh. When we ask a simple question, what shape is your Earth? You don't know. And then your argument is like, well, if we could pick a shape, would that mean you're going to stop asking questions? It's absurd, the difference between your evidence and what we provide. And any globe earther could say the same things I'm saying, not just McToon.
So then why are
So
you here?
you
You're still
provided
gonna
a
insert
shape.
as a
Hold
globe.
on,
You
you
just be
provided
adding
evidence
it.
for the shape of the Earth, bro.
Yeah, like I don't know what you plan on actually
You
contributing.
guys
to
don't
this
accept any
conversation to
evidence
make it
as shape of
fruitful.
the globe.
What evidence have you provided?
What evidence
Any
can I provide?
new
No, what have you
perspectives,
provided,
Jack?
or there's
I don't
something
need to
that you
provide
can actually
evidence
show us?
because you
Oh,
guys
so
haven't
you
asked me
don't
for
need
any
to
evidence.
provide any evidence.
No. I said you haven't asked me for any evidence. I would first
Well,
submit.
you're
We already
making a
know that you don't
claim.
have any.
I would first submit as evidence the first film ever shot that shows curvature of the Earth.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
video.
Oh
It's not a
God.
Can you
picture.
provide this?
And yes, it's from 1948. It's the U.S. Army. It's a V2 rocket with a 35 millimeter film camera attached to it. It shows
Okay, how
clear
high did that go?
curvature. You can look it up anywhere
How
you
high did
want
it go?
to.
Do that again.
I think it
How high
went.
did
I
it
think
go?
it went to 58 miles or 48 miles.
Wow. So
Well, don't say wow. It shows the curvature of the Earth clear as
I
day.
mean, how much of the Earth does it at 58 miles can you see? What
It
percentage?
shows curvature is what I said it shows.
What percentage of the Earth? Well, I guess it's a really, really
So now
tiny
you're
Earth.
not accepting curvature. Now you want a
Well, I
percentage.
mean, the math doesn't even align because at 255 miles, where the ISS is supposed to be.
Why don't you go look at it first
Listen
before you
up,
say
I
what
haven't
it is?
finished. When I haven't finished, at 255 miles, you'll only be able to see 3% of the Earth. You won't even be able to see curvature from the Earth at
Dude, if you were
250
255 miles
I'm not
from the
done,
Earth,
dude.
your eyes
I'm
would
not
see the
done.
full
Are you
Earth.
still going? Are you still going? You'll see
I don't know what you're
fourth.
even saying,
Wow.
dude. It's crazy.
Well, let him finish. You
Paul
guys...
Larson, a planetarian director that was chosen by NASA to be one of the first to go to Mars, mathematician said that it's not even possible from the ISS to see the curvature of the Earth because you'll only see a flat horizon because you only see 3% of it.
Globers hate that.
So my answer to that would be, since that was addressed to me, you can go see live streaming footage of the ISS right this very minute.
He doesn't get
He
it.
Hold on,
addresses that.
let me
He
finish.
addresses that. He
Let me
addresses that.
finish.
And okay.
If you deny you're seeing curvature, then you're lying to everyone here.
Well, he addresses that. He says that you say wide angle lens camera, which automatically warps the horizon. So, what's your point?
Yeah, they're using GoPros on their spacewalks.
This guy believes.
That's going to
This
cause
guy
terrible
believes
noise
in
because of their
nothing.
supposed
So
straight
it only warps the Earth and not everything else in frame.
Oh my God.
Oh, it does that too.
No, within the frame,
I guess you haven't seen it.
ISS
See
is
the
curving
bending
too.
of the
You
solar
guys are
panels, bro.
desperately looking for anything. It's very sad.
You're desperately trying to make your globe come
Very
alive, bro. It's been debunked a long time ago. What you guys
You
always
have a
do,
tiny Earth.
everything you got, every time, dude. All you guys do is you bring up math because it's a mathematical construct, so it makes sense. But everything you have is debunked, has been debunked. It's dead. But you guys, all you guys have is your math.
Right.
If the Earth is
Yeah,
flat,
That's why an
how do you
equatorial mount will only work on a globe, right?
Once again,
you-
dude, you're on reset, bro. Just go somewhere, man. Kick rocks.
Okay, how do you
You're
explain-
because you know you don't have an answer for that.
I already gave you the answer yesterday.
No, you didn't. You said a bunch of stupid shit that made no
Okay,
sense.
okay. Let's let everybody else hear real quick. Let's see if it's stupid shit. Okay, guys. What I told him was that the reason why or how it works, the same way that they want to make it think it works on a globe, is because it's by both concepts. You're just pointing it at an apparent star rotation and you're tracking it. with a single axis. That's it. You're just
No,
tracking
a
it.
single axis of rotation will not track something moving in a circular pattern like we see the stars moving. No, I'm not wrong. It requires the rotation of the Earth to add the second axis of rotation to make it track. You go out, you try it. Just try it with experiment.
Cole, stop. Check it out, bro.
Jeez, how are you that stupid?
Hey, Cole, stop. I know in your world it can't work because it has to be a globe. But here's the reality, all right? All you're doing is tracing something going around. Now, whether that's the globe spinning or the sky spinning, it's still essentially the same thing. That's why when you're saying, well, it has to be a globe, that's just a lie. It's a flat out lie. Because what you're doing by the fundamentals of it, you're just tracking something going around. Now, let's say
with we put axis of rotation.
Now listen carefully, okay? Let's say we put an airplane on a string for you, and it's going to go above your head around and around and around. And then you created a mount to follow that path, right? But then you tilt that plane sideways to where it's going now downwards and then up and over your head, and then downwards and then up and over your head. But guess what? All you have to do is take that same fucking mount that was going, above you, around and around, and tilt it. And it's going to do the same.
I want to respond to this when Junior gets done here. Okay, now here's why this all breaks down for you when you say tilt it on its side and follow a plane going around and around. If it's setting on the ground without the ground moving, you can do that. But that's not what we see in the sky. We see a large arc in the sky that if you try to put something with a single axis of rotation on a non-moving flat plane pointing up at the sky, you cannot make it follow something moving in a circle.
You still don't get it. And you're not going to, by the way. You can't grasp it because you're blocked. You got your globe.
No, it's because it's simple geometry, bud.
I already told you it's very simple.
I know why you don't get it. The same reason you didn't get the idea of why you thought your skateboard going behind a cinder block with the camera below the cinder block, you thought showed the curvature of the Earth or showed blocking of the horizon. You do these things because you don't get reality.
Dude, it works on.
You have no 3D spatial awareness.
That's actually what happened. My argument, by the way. The reason why the problem that you have is that it works on both models, quote unquote. But remember, models are just this mathematical construct that we can take with numbers, plot datums. And matter of fact, there's more than a flat Earth or a globe Earth. There are other models that have been constructed and that work. Now, Globers threw them under the bus. I don't care. Of course they have to. Because when it comes to math, you guys reign supreme. That's your fucking God right there. You have to
have somebody model this out and show why it won't work on a flat Earth. We did model this out.
Well, Cole, there's no issue with an equatorial mount over a plane.
There's a video post.
An equatorial mount won't work on a flat Earth. It has to have a globe Earth that rotates.
No, that's false.
Absolutely not.
Yes, it does. Absolutely,
you just say it. You just say it, but nobody's ever provided it.
Well, you're tracking the axis of rotation of.
It's a blind faith belief that it exists, but there's no flat earther that's ever produced a mechanism showing how it works.
For an equatorial mount,
you don't have to show how it works. It works. It's going around and around and around. It's clocking a rotation. What do you have wrong with that? What's wrong?
An equatorial mount on a flat surface doesn't work. It's geometrically impossible. Nobody's ever shown it. You just said it. And every one of you are just saying it.
No, you just said it. And that's cap. That's totally wrong. All it's doing is getting an apparent star rotation. That's it. And you put it to the center of it and it tracks it. That's it. That's all it's doing. You guys make it to where it has to be done. Go ahead, Gio. Sorry.
That's all. I was just trying to say it's tracking the axis of rotation of the sky. That's it. So it's just tracking the actual rotation of the sky axis, the way that the sky actually moves over the planar surface, kind of like in a planetarium when you have a hemisphere dome of stars, as it were, around you, and you can put an equatorial mount on the flat floor of the planetarium.
And it'll track it.
So you're just tracking the axis of the sky rotation.
It tracks on one axis, and you could do that on a flat Earth with a moving dome, but it would only be on one location where it would work, and it would only be one angle that would match whatever the angle of the dome over the flat Earth is, right? Except what we have is a different angle for every latitude, and it still works on one axis of tracking. There's no way to simulate that with a flat Earth and a dome.
No, you just change its angle, dude. What are you talking about, bro? Are you kidding? What do you think? You think these things are just like set in one position? Like, it's just locked in. I can't move it, but good thing we're on a globe because they'll pick it up. Dude, what's wrong with you, man? You can adjust those things to the angle. Matter of fact, depending on where you're standing on the planet Earth, you do have to adjust them because you're technically trying to point it towards the north of what we call Polaris, bro. That's how you're able to keep it on track. Dude, you guys are so full of it, dude. Just
the sky rotates. It sort of looks like the one I just posted. It looks like that. I'm not saying that you're only in a hemisphere. Like obviously you don't live in a Truman Show, tiny thing, but that just shows like your range of vision.
That's first law.
So that's just the way that the stars and the axis of rotation over a planar surface. You're going to have the rising and setting. So you're just tracking that arc.
You guys have said multiple times tonight, if you don't mind me saying, you've mocked math and claimed that all you have is math. Don't you think math is a good thing to have to support your model?
No.
Hold on, let me finish, please. To support your model or mechanics. And the reason I asked that question is in 223 BC, long before this crap, Somebody worked out the circumference of the Earth based
Oh
on
my
math.
god, here we go.
No, shut up for a second. Let me finish.
Just
And
retarded.
I would ask you this: you guys don't know the shape of your Earth today, your flat Earth. This guy did it 2,000 years ago using math. So when you mock math, you're really mocking the fact that you guys have nothing to offer.
No, I'll tell you what. So if you believe that fake story, but here's the point: if you believe that, right, then welcome to the birth of your fake mathematical construct.
It's
Congratulations.
not a fake story. In fact, you can do that experiment yourself.
Okay, yes, fake shadows. Yeah, remember what Neil said?
If you
That's
think
why you
it's
guys like
fake,
it.
you can prove it to yourself, and you'll know
Remember he said that. You don't remember that it's on a planer as well. You put that on a table and still do the same thing, right?
With
A local
only one
light.
measurement. Only one measurement works.
Only one measurement. Yeah. Again,
So what then
math,
is
back
the
to math.
measurement of your flat Earth? What is
So
the
back to
circumference
math.
of your flat Earth?
So back to math, right?
No. You said we can do it. So what is the circumference of your flat Earth? Please enlighten us.
Think about how stupid that sounds.
Enlighten us. You said
Think
you could
about
do
how
it.
stupid that sounds.
It
How
sounds
about that?
exactly what somebody would need to know if they circumnavigated the planet.
Yeah,
Or if they needed to go from A to
Oh,
B.
yeah, planet, dude, you're all over the place, bro. You have like paradigm
It
all
is a
mixed up,
planet.
bro.
It's hard for me to call it a pizza. So what is the
Who
circumference
says
of
the
your
pizza?
pizza?
Whoever calls it pizza is a fucking
Yeah, but
idiot.
you guys nailed down. You guys
No,
want to nail
they're
down.
doing. No, they're doing. No,
I
they're
don't know
doing.
what rule of left that is, but
Spreading
we
out
won't nail
disinformation.
down.
No, what they're doing
This
is
is what
spreading out
they do.
disinformation.
Third law.
First of all, third law,
They'll deny
the
everything.
laws, bro. The real law is that you guys are fucking just spewing lies, bro, with a mathematical construct. Like you're backing it up with math.
You
which
can
actually
prove this
back it up.
yourself.
Your math debunks your own math. You just lost the debate, bro. Hey,
Let's just get back to the point. What is the how are you
Hey.
what method to drive the circumference? Just
I-
give your actual point.
I do have something to say about the
No, let him
equatorial,
actually. What is the one that's
Alright.
you're claiming deriving the circumference? Let's just complete that. Was that you, Jack?
Yeah, that was me. So basically, in
An observation
223
of the sky.
It was the observation of the sky, but also it was using shadows, of course, at solar noon on the vernal or autumnal equinox. And basically, by using the math, calculate the angles. Again, I hate to say that bad word, math, but the circumference of the Earth was calculated at a surprisingly accurate number for 2,000 years ago. Now, when you guys discount math and say, well, we can do it too, my question to you was, then fine, what's the circumference of the pizza? And then you freaked out.
No,
Because no one called it a pizza. That's why. Nobody
actually
claimed that.
It's actually the math.
I called it a
that
globe and got insulted for that. What do I call it?
It's actually the math that debunks your own fucking paradigm, which is ironic. It's the math
So
of your
show me the
globe.
math.
It's your
Please
math.
illustrate.
It's your math of the globe.
Please
that
illustrate the
debunks
math that
So
debunks
the
my.
observation. So how far should you see on your globe before it cuts off?
No. You said the math debunks
Listen
it.
carefully. Listen carefully, okay?
And there
Listen
you
carefully.
go. Deny, ask questions.
Listen carefully. Why are you such a fucking asshole? Just listen carefully, okay?
He gets.
What is the
I didn't
math?
call you. I
What
didn't
is the-
call you any
Yeah, you
names.
still
Not
can't
even
just
one
shut up,
time. I
can you?
didn't.
You still
All
can't
right, let's
listen.
just stop. Yeah, you're taunting him though, so not just and you're interrupting him. So at least just let him speak.
So
He's
what is
not clear.
what is the math that a distance away from you to where things start to disappear behind that curve? What's that math? What's the formula you use?
I thought you were going to answer his question.
Yeah, I'm not here to answer your questions. I'm here to ask you the.
We don't want to answer
Wait.
questions
You
now?
asked me a question. Let me answer. We
okay.
were talking about one thing, and you've diverted. You said the math is BS. By the way, I never insulted you, not even once. I've listened to everything you said. So you said not only is the math BS, but I can debunk it, and we can also tell what do I call it? Flat Earth circumference is. I've challenged you to do both those things, and you then went to another question. What is the circumference of the
so that
flat
is
Earth?
the answer, though. So what I'm doing?
There's no answer. You're not giving any answer.
Listen carefully, okay? What I'm doing is I'm asking you the question so I can walk you through it so you can see how it debunks itself. But I want you to come to that conclusion because I know the conclusion. I already know it. But you're the one that's still convinced in the lie. So you need to see the conclusion so that way you can see for yourself. Because if I tell you, that's not going to help. Because it's like telling a child that Santa Claus is fake, but he saw the cookies are eaten
Bro,
and the
he's just
milk is
asking
drank.
for measurements.
So let me get this straight.
Can I respond to your
Let me
point?
get this
Jack,
straight.
Jack,
He
I'll
asked me
respond to
direct.
your point.
I'll be quick. He wants me to allow a flat earther to explain to me why I'm wrong.
Okay, so you're talking about shadows of the sun when it's at the equator on the equinox. That's what you're going off of to get the circumference value based on the shadows.
No, not just that. Of course not.
Well, that's what you mentioned. So I mean, with that method, what I would say is that you're using that to then apply it to an assumption that it's actually the surface of a sphere, because to pull that from the actual shadows means it has something to do with the relationship of the sun and the ground. But it requires certain assumptions, such as that the sun is very far away, the light rays are coming parallel, to make the globe assumption. So I would say the issue with that,
it doesn't rely on the distance of the sun at all.
Let me just finish, and then you can respond. What I'm saying is that the math is not the problem, the observation is not the problem. It's the application of that information into a biased and assumptive model, where then there could be a misapplication of it rather than the math itself being wrong. So that's addressing it directly. So it's not that the math and observation are incorrect, from my perspective. It's the application
Translation.
of it. Yeah. I tried to wrap up quickly. You're not going to go? All right. Well, I guess.
No, I don't understand what you can look up Eratosthenes. You can look up the experiment. You can see exactly what was done, and you could do it yourself. Not something a flat earther ever wants to hear, because
Dude, how do you
looked at,
think that
let me
we don't
finish.
know
I didn't interrupt you. You guys looked at all the evidence from the final experiment, and you say, nuh-uh. Not one thing from your side has been presented. Not one video, not one measurement, not one prediction at all. So you guys
Not,
literally
you're not
have-
responding to
let
me.
finish.
I
on a high
responded in
horse that you cannot
specificity.
defend.
I responded in specificity to your claim about the shadows and the angles and the deriving the circumference. So do you have any actual response to that? Because what I'm saying is that it's using that observation to then apply to a certain assumptive model. You didn't really respond to that.
And it's not a single observation.
For example, it assumes the sun is 93 million miles away or far enough away that the light rays come in parallel.
Doesn't
So
assume
do
distance
you
to the
realize
sun at all.
Yes, it does. It assumes the sun is essentially infinitely far away so that the quote unquote light rays hit the assumed globe at a curved rate.
Doesn't even know his own paradigm, bro. Hey, I'm sorry to cut you off, Gio, but just real quick, let me ask him something. How do you think, like, what makes you think, should I say, that we don't know that fucking story, like how he did it, what happened? Like, are you new to this fucking game, dude? Like, this is years we've been talking about. You're not the first fucking person we talked about.
APOC, bro, but I responded to it like this is the first time I've heard it. I mean, I had to, fresh out of this.
You've never heard the name Aristosthenes before in your life, dude. Come on.
You understand though that this wasn't.
You got me. I was lying. You're right. I've never heard of it. My bad.
Hold on. Let's just stop insulting people and just. You understand that it wasn't a single observation at a single spot. It required multiple observations. So when you say it was assumed that would be assuming if there was a single shadow that was measured. That's not what the experiment is. And you can go look it up anytime you want to.
Does it assume that the sun is so far away that the light rays come and hit the Earth parallel?
It looks at how two different shadows, different distances from a known distance apart, at the same time of day, and it measures that and uses that to calculate. It doesn't assume anything. That's the thing you don't seem to understand.
Okay, well, what is the distance of the sun? It's obviously not 2 inches from those shadows. It's not 10 feet. It's not 100
Listen,
feet. So how far is
again,
the
that's
sun?
not what it was designed to measure, the distance of the sun. It's irrelevant.
But it only derives a curved surface. If
Are you familiar with the test?
You're
Tell me what the
interrupting me
test
now.
is then.
Please stop
Tell me what he did. Walk me
you
through
need to
it.
stop interrupting. Dude, you're chronically interrupting. You got to chill. The only way you can derive a curved surface is if you assume the sun is 93 million or very far away. It doesn't have to be 93 so that the light rays hit parallel. So yeah, in terms of those shadows. So do you agree that it assumes that in order for the Earth to be curved, the parallel light? That's at the crux of the whole thing. You have to say yes.
So you can draw a couple hypotheses to start, and then use the same data.
Sure,
But if we both took shadows in two cities far enough away, and we were going to derive some kind of Earth shape from it, we would have to claim something about how far the sun is away. Because if the sun was 6 inches away versus 60 feet or 6 miles, that's going to change.
Yeah, so
Simon
that would be reflective
Danson, something like that.
Yeah, that would be reflective in your hypothesis. So, hypothesis would be one of them would be the sun is far away, the Earth is a globe. Let's use these angles to the sun to determine the radius of the globe. That's one hypothesis. The other hypothesis is Earth is flat and sun is local, and let's use it to determine the elevation of the sun above flat Earth.
You can do that if you want to calculate it.
Yeah, you can use the same data then. Same measurements. It's just an angle is all it is. And you don't need to use a stick. You can use a theodolite. You can use any number of ways to measure that angle. And when you hypothesize flat Earth with local sun, you get drastically different elevations of the sun. We went over this last week with Kazra, and solved those triangles. And we got varying elevations. This was for Polaris, but you get the same thing when you do the sun. And then if you hypothesize the Earth is a globe and the sun is far away, and then you use that to determine the radius of the Earth, you get the same radius of the Earth for every measurement. That confirms your hypothesis. Your flat Earth hypothesis is falsified, and your globe hypothesis is confirmed.
You actually get a different radius depending where you are on the globe. It's going to change with your latitude. And I could easily measure the circumference of a flat surface. Just considering that the angles and the distance to the light source, that this is going to affect the length of the shadows.
Send the math.
So it's basically just a bunch of nonsense. Why don't you actually
Start
measure
with the
Earth?
assumption the Earth is a globe.
Here you go.
Yeah, exactly. First, you have to think Earth is a globe.
So you hypothesize. This is how you do science. You make a hypothesis. Right. Step one. You make a hypothesis. It's got to be up there at the beginning part of your experiment. So the hypothesis.
First, you make an observation.
Earth is flat is one of the hypotheses with the sun local. So there I linked to you the spreadsheet that myself and two other people did on the 2019 December solstice. And we got an elevation of the sun of 3,000 kilometers, 3,100 kilometers, and 4,468 kilometers. Didn't match. We got a radius of the Earth, hypothesizing globe, 6,437, 6,471, 6,498, within a small margin there. So that confirms the globe hypothesis and falsifies the flat Earth hypothesis. Now, you said you could do it on a flat surface, but I did it right there. I hypothesized a flat surface and it didn't work. So I'd love to see you actually do it. Take some measurements, put a light bulb above a flat surface with some sticks, measure the shadows, show me how it works. I know what the result will be.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That's good. So you can measure the circumference of any stupid fucking flat surface. But that isn't even the point. You guys are constantly bringing up things that aren't actually physical measurements of the Earth curving. When are you going to provide evidence of Earth curving? That's the question.
That's what I just gave you. So
then you gave us the length of shadows. You pretended you knew the distance of the sun. You pretended the Earth was a ball, and then you measured the length of shadows. That's not Earth curve, dude. Do you know the difference?
I hypothesized. This is what I did. Science is what I did here, and you're rejecting science because you don't like it. I got it. The hypothesis is.
You made a calculation. That's not science.
You don't get a whole lot of science if you don't do some calculations.
Yeah, but a rejection is not science.
You don't do a lot of science. So can you find me the calculations for term theory? What formula do you use? If you need calculations to get science.
Sweet deflection. So
No, because you say you need calculations. That was just fun. Just that point that you're saying. You need calculations to get science. But can you give me the formula? All the calculations that they did for germ theory.
Yeah, sweet deflection.
None, right? None, right? There's zero, and yet that's scientific.
Hey, why don't you stay on topic? Stay on topic.
I just want to make sure because he just said some ironic thing that it's not. You have no idea what science is, McToon. You have no idea what science is. If you think calculation between two distances is science, then you have no business talking about science.
Conference are you asking? What exists?
I thought we were in agreement at least that the Earth was a flat circle. If now that's going to be questioned, then tell me the shape so I can ask you the next question.
It's infinitely expanding like the universe.
Plane of inertia.
No, nobody knows the shape, dude, or the depths or the heights.
Yeah,
Nobody.
Jack, can you tell me the shape of the universe? What is outside of space?
No, but we can tell you the shape of the Earth.
Oh, so
But
you
I
don't
would
know the
say
shape of
that-
the universe.
The thing is,
That's
Jack,
what
there
we're
does-
discussing, Electric. Stay on topic.
there doesn't appear to be one circle. There's two. That's the thing. There's the northern rotation. So if you're taking the circumference from the North Pole out, you can do that. Or you could take a circumference from the South Pole out, and then they're going to meet at the equator.
So
There's two poles. There's two
it's
circles.
not a okay. So what model is that? So I can look that up, and I want to at least picture that in my brain because when you say two circles, is it two circles that overlap, or is it two circles that are touching on the perimeter, or what?
Well, you would have like an AE map that comes out from the north and an AE map that comes out from Antarctica.
Well, the AE map is a circle. It's a pizza. It's a flat circle. What I mean, but we can't assume that because now you guys are moving the goalpost. You don't like the word
Gio,
circumference. So what's the perimeter? Let's just change the word perimeter.
Gio, have you showed him the two-pole flat Earth model? I don't think that he's familiar with that one. So basically,
you
what
guys have a plumber working in his basement with Tupperware and mirrors that you claimed that was all great until he abandoned that and disappeared. You guys literally will listen to a plumber in his basement who filmed it from the outside with if he could film it from the inside, he would have filmed it from the inside. And you guys just know that as well as we do.
Yeah, we've been filmed.
You're making hold on a second. You're making a lot of hasty generalization fallacies as if everyone in here agrees with whatever like reference you just gave. But let's let Kazra speak for a moment. Go ahead, Kazra.
Yeah, okay, so basically it's not a perfect circle. The words that Gio's telling you, like it's basically two circles, and these circles are not perfect. It's not. In the new model, sun does not go in a circular motion. It's not a perfect circle, basically. So you cannot ask for an exact number, basically. But we can help you with very simple.
Exact. I'm not asking for exact. In fact, we'll drop the circumference. What's the perimeter of your flat Earth?
It's close to the globe. It's not like way off like the globe model, numbers. It's not very different. It has to be
you guys just go right back to known numbers because you can't have any.
I can give you a better explanation. We know the speed of the sun in the sky. It's close to the speed of sound. This is for sure. This is something that we can measure and we can know it. So when we know that the speed of the sun, and when we know that it takes 24 hours to go from 12 noon to 12 noon, so it's very easy by knowing that the time and the speed. All you have to multiply them, and you got to get your circumference. But here's the point. That would be one of the circumference, or one of the perimeters.
There is only one circumference around the perimeter. Call it perimeter from now on. You guys don't like circumference.
Yeah, this is going to be the perimeter which sun will sweep around the Earth. We're not giving you the exact size of the physical round. We're telling you that how much distance sun would have sweep within the course of a year.
I'm not asking your orbit. I'm not asking the orbit path. Say that you can do the math on the flat Earth. That was a statement. I simply said, then tell me what the circumference is. And you said circumference is only for a circle. So I changed the word to perimeter. What is the perimeter of the flat Earth?
Yeah, so you want to know exactly where the boundary is.
Exactly. Give me within 1,000 kilometers.
Using lasers?
That, it's not a very hard thing. Like it's not very different than your globe model.
Great, it's easy to do. So let's do it. What is the perimeter in kilometers? Give or take 1,000 of the flat Earth.
Gonna say like.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna give you very, very rough numbers. It's not gonna be exact, but it's gonna be very rough. Okay. You don't have it.
Where the magnetics run out, the turns up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give a very, very rough number. Okay. It's gonna be 20,000 kilometers times 2 pi. So it's gonna be.
That's pretty.
It's gonna be 125,000 kilometers.
That sounds good.
And where did you get the 20 kilometers to start? Where did you get the 20 kilometers to start from?
I start with 10,000 kilometers from this is from the equator to North Pole. Then I just multiply that to 2 to find the diameter. Then I multiply the 2 pi. As I said, it's not a perfect circle. But if you use this method, right, you're gonna get this number about 100,000 kilometers as circumference. So I did. I'm gonna explain to you that this is from Polaris equator.
You should already know that doesn't work because if you're using 10,000 kilometers as the distance from the North Pole to the equator, then the circumference of the equator on the flat Earth is way too big, and then it doesn't match the speed of a subsolar point.
No, so
something that needs to be measured.
Yeah, you don't understand that when we're talking about the circumference, we're talking about this boundary of this flat Earth. We're not talking about the trajectory of the sun over there. You know what I'm trying to say? So this is kind of in the globe model, in the AE model, this is the same thing. This is that the sun goes around the both model will tell you the circumference of the whole plane or the whole model. But what we're talking here right now is that we're saying these are two different things. One is the size of the whole flat surface, right? That's one thing. And the other thing that we're talking here using the sun is the trajectory of the sun over this or this area. Now you're saying that you cannot use the motion of the sun to find that this is the diameter or the full size of your flat plane, and you're right about it. We cannot use that. And I'm telling you,
I didn't say that. If you assume that the sun orbits exactly over the edge or the perimeter of your flat Earth, then you could use it. But no one's asserting that. But if you'd like to also take a shot at the orbit of your sun, can you give the circumference of the orbit, or if it's not a circle, the shape and the perimeter?
Yes, it's not a perfect circle like like the ones that we have in orbital mechanics, like elliptics or circles. It's more like a have you ever seen a bean, a green bean? If you look at the edge of a green bean or an apple, these are not exact. They don't possess a exact circle, edges. It's like it's curvy, but it's not a perfect circle. So the trajectory that the sun takes along the flat surface, it's not a perfect circle. It's not.
Except for the strange fact, though. Except for the strange.
What force guides that path? What caused it to not be a perfect circle?
The same reason that if you look at like some of the apples, they're not a perfect circle. And here's the thing: you cannot find
an apple's a shape. I'm asking you how your sun orbits in a non-circular. What force makes it orbit in a? If you're going to call it an oval, whatever shape it is, it's not a circle.
It's not exactly. It's not a circle. Yeah.
So what force causes it to orbit in an oblong?
Okay, so what force is causing these objects to move up there? That's a very good question. If you look at the motion of all the celestial bodies, all of them, no matter which one, moon, sun, doesn't matter. If you take a good look at them, and if you draw their trajectory, you will see that they're exactly perpendicular to the magnetic field. So basically, the force that is moving all these let's say these luminuses that we see up there, that force, it is perpendicular to the electromagnetic field. It is.
Here's the problem, Castro. Here's a problem like that doesn't work. On the flat Earth,
before you ask, just one quick thing. Do all the flat earthers agree with what he gave as the mechanics of the flat Earth?
No, there's no flat earthers that ever agree on anything about anything together with one another.
Sorry to interrupt you.
But here's the thing that Castro is missing here. On any flat Earth conception, the sun is always turning, right? So he can't explain why for during the equinox, for all observers on the equator, the sun rises due east, goes straight up in a straight line to their zenith, and then sets in a straight line due west. It never turns anywhere over the course of the day. But there's no flat Earth conception that explains the sun that does that.
Okay, what is a straight line? Nobody has ever claimed any straight line. What do you mean by straight line? Sun does not
You understand
possess
that
a straight
for like
line.
an observer in Quito, Ecuador, on the equinox, the sun rises due east and it goes up straight up to your zenith. You know what the zenith is, right? The highest point possible in the sky. And then it goes in a straight line due west. And if you did a time lapse, that would be a straight line. From the horizon to the horizon, it would be a straight line. The sun would never turn. It would never arc across the sky. It's a straight line.
Okay, your claim, but as far I've been working this for 10 years. I looked at the sun by myself with solar filter. Also, I'm pretty good at the Stellarium software. So I want you to repeat your experiment. Go do that again and make sure that the sun will go on a straight line because it does not go on a straight line.
What experiment are you talking about? This is for all on the equator. That includes 2 continents and
exactly.
Millions of people.
Yeah, 24th of March or 24th of September. These are crucial days. 2 crucial days. I want you to just repeat your experiment on these days and make sure. So I'm telling you,
the observation that humans, the millions of humans that live around the equator, have observed twice a year for forever.
Wait, Kazra, I thought that you would say that the sun does go straight at the equator.
It's just a fact. It's not up for debate. There's no question. There's no experiment needed. This is up for debate. There's no question. There's no experiment needed.
It's not. Look, Gio, we never spoke about this. Like the sun goes in a straight line. Sun never goes in a straight. Look, let me tell you this: the bottom line. The equator does not exist in the nature. I'm going to repeat that for all of you. Equator is a man-made thing that humans have made in order to make things simpler and easier for themselves. It's a part of their coordinate system. It is something that we have made it for ourselves. Nature does not possess any straight line, or sun does not go in a straight equator line.
We understand that it's not a physical line on the Earth.
That's a very important point I want you to understand. And the second thing, as in the second proof, I can tell you, if you look at the star trails, if you look at the star tracks, the ones that are on the equator, like what you say that in the equator, if you look at the stars or the sun, it goes straight to the west. Now, I want you to look at the star trails as well in this experiment. You cannot find a single star trail that goes in a straight line. Not a single line.
All right, Jake, let me try to clarify.
That's just lie. That's not true.
Well, let me try to clarify what I think you might be saying, and then you guys can respond. I think what he's referring to is that even on a globe, like you have like the sun would be, let's say, a tiny bit above the equator, 0.01 degrees, and then it would get to 0 degrees and then go to south 0.1. And that it's technically transitioning from the northern to the southern, and therefore, like, is that what you're talking about, Kazra? Like down to a very
exactly, Gio. Exactly. I'm talking about crucial days. Exactly. You're touching that crucial day. Exactly. It doesn't go straight. Eventually, it will deflect to the south. And this is the point I'm trying to tell these dudes.
Yeah, he's saying like on a globe, it would be going over the equator. Technically, it would never go straight. It would always be
exactly.
It would either be in the northern or the southern hemisphere, and on that equinox day, it would be transitioning over the equator, technically never actually going straight. But for all intents and purposes, it's pretty darn, straight in terms of rising east and setting west. And I think Kazra would agree, right?
Exactly, Gio. And the problem is that the AE model kind of mess up with a lot of flat earthers' mind. AE modelers will still, this is the problem that I'm recently facing with a lot of flat earthers. When we talk about new stuff, they are trying to bring exactly everything from the AE model to this new model and trying to fit it. Exactly, they're doing the same problem, same mistake that the Globers always do. You guys know that when we talk with the Globers, when we try to prove something on a flat Earth, we always experience that they still have their presumptions. They still are trying to understand the things on the flat Earth using the globe presumptions. But now I'm seeing the same exact thing. The equator is a straight line on the AE map. That's cool, but you need to understand that that was just something as a coordinate system to make us do a lot of things. For example, circumnavigation, do a lot of things with a mapping system that will help us. But you need to understand that when we're talking about, when we're saying that equator does not literally exist in the nature, all we're trying
You
to say is
realize you
that
don't need to say this. We don't think there's latitude and longitude lines on the planet. And A. And B, what you said is absolutely wrong. Globe Earthers don't use Globe Earth to try and explain the flat model. You, as flat Earthers, will not, in any way, shape, or form, commit to anything about your model. Size, shape, distance of the sun, size of the sun. And because of that, we just try and show mechanically how it's not possible. So before you ascribe us some kind of ulterior motive, understand it's because your side will not make any claims or write anything down.
And still, like, the equator, does it really matter? I mean, the man-made equator, because there is a position on Earth where the sun will rise directly in the east and set directly in the west.
Yeah, but it's a little bit off. As you know, Geo told you that it's going to be like about very small amount of degree. It's not going to be exactly on the equator.
That's only because the equinox is an instantaneous moment in time, and so
exactly
there's going to be a very, very slight deviation. But we're talking about a fraction of a degree here. The sun is still going to rise due east with a fraction of a degree. It's going to go up in a straight line up to your zenith, and it's going to set due west within a fraction of a degree on the equinox. And there's no flat Earth explanation for that, because on every flat Earth map, the sun is always turning over the course of the day. You can't explain how it travels in a straight line.
That's not true. Cosworth can with the 2 poles.
No, yeah, but that's only for one position. If you observe the sun from several positions and at the equator at the same time, he cannot explain it.
That's for all positions on the equator, on the equinox. The sun will, for people that can see the sun is doing the same thing. And then he said that there's no path of stars that are straight. And I just posted a star trail from the equator, and you can see that the stars that are rising due east do the same thing the sun does on the equinox.
Did you know that
they make a straight line arc across the sky to your zenith?
I understand. So you need to understand, even in your model, you cannot get a straight line because of the Earth's precision. You know,
He's showing a picture of a straight line.
Because of what?
Before you argue that, look at the picture.
It's not a straight line. I'm sorry, it cannot be even a straight line in your model. This is because you don't know your model very well.
What do you mean?
Your model has a tilt axis. That tilt axis would not allow you to have a straight line. Can you understand this?
That's just idiotic. What are you talking about?
Okay.
What does the tilt axis have anything to do with anything?
That tilt axis is why you only have equinox twice a year.
I understand that, but in relation to the stars, it's irrelevant.
Sun. Saying
in relation to the stars, it's irrelevant what the tilt of the Earth is.
Exactly.
You cannot show me a single sun that goes exactly over your equator. You cannot do that.
Stop saying sun. Stop saying sun. This argument has nothing to do with sun.
I'm sorry. You cannot show me a single. You're right. It's not about sun. There's
Look
no
at the
star.
Picture. He pasted a picture. He posted a picture. Look at the star trails and tell me they're not exactly straight.
It cannot be straight line. It cannot.
You're looking at a picture and they're straight in the middle.
Why would it not be straight? What are you talking about? It sounds like you don't even understand. It sounds like you think that the Earth is precessing throughout the year. It's not. The precession of the Earth takes tens of thousands of years to happen.
Here we go with the.
It's a very, very, very tiny amount for any.
Yeah, they were there. You recorded it, right? You saw it, right? Yeah, good fucking idiots, dude.
Yeah, astronomers record it every year because they have precisely.
Just go back to the photo that was pasted of the star trails. You guys look at that photo and tell me there's no straight in the middle, please. Because if you are, then you're just denying what everybody can see with their own eyes. Look at the picture, please, and just tell me where the no straight part is. Or deny
I think actually Geo posted a good diagram too of the exact same phenomenon and agreed for all intents and purposes that it's a straight line. So you guys must be arguing against each other, it sounds like.
It was strange it's very strange to me, some of the things that Kessera says. A guy that claims to have a master's degree in aeronautical engineering, he seems like he doesn't even understand the tilt of the Earth and the fact that it's always tilted towards three-dimensional space. It's always tilted in the same direction throughout the year.
Well, that's why you only have
the very short precession, the precession amount, which, like Kosho said, it's like 1 degree per 72 years. It's a very slow change over time.
Well, that's why you only have 2 equinoxes a year, because of the tilted axis. If the axis was straight to our orbit around the sun, you would have basically an equinox every day on the equator. The sun would rise and set directly across the sky every day.
That's correct.
But it's because of the tilted axis of the Earth that we only have 2 equinoxes and 2 solstices.
Exactly. That's why it doesn't give you a straight line.
But hold on. That is only relevant in relation to the Earth and the sun. As soon as you start talking about stars, the Earth, the way it rotates, there can be a star exactly over the equator that will draw a straight line every day when the Earth rotates, period. Year round, in and out, a straight line. It's not about sun and Earth mechanics we're talking. We're talking about Earth rather, and star mechanics.
Is the sun sort of circling parallel to this flat Earth, or is it change
Okay,
elevation
let me
during
ask
the
you this.
day?
Okay, let me just ask you this question. This might gonna help you. Do you guys agree that every single star in the sky would eventually go around North Pole or South Pole on your globe model? Answer this question.
No.
This will help you.
No. What are you
Not at
talking
all.
Oh,
about?
really? Okay.
What
Okay.
are you talking about?
So you're saying that you guys have some stars in the sky that when you track them in the 24 hours, they would not go neither around North Pole or South Pole. They go all the way exactly over the equator. Not a single degree. Not a single degree off
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
around?
Yes.
You mean around the North Pole?
You have circumpolar stars that draw a little. Like if you
No,
do a
no,
time
leave the
lapse, they'll
pole. No,
draw.
leave the
They'll
pole.
draw. They'll draw over the course of the night. They'll draw a semicircle around the
Yeah,
around the
but the
pole.
question he asked is yes, there are stars in the universe that are lined up. Whether you can see them with the eye or not, you need a telescope. You can absolutely have a star that is perpendicular to the poles of the Earth. And that would always be aligned over the
That wasn't the
equator.
question. That wasn't the question.
That's what you asked.
I asked
No,
you
he
guys. No,
said
no.
he
Here's the
said
question.
he said, are there any stars that won't make a circle around one of the poles or something like that? I think was his question.
That's what he's
And
answering.
in order for that
No,
to
does any
happen,
star can you
you're
find me
talking.
a single star in the sky that doesn't go around north or south?
Yeah,
Do
all
you guys agree?
the
Hold on.
equatorial
Do you
stars.
guys agree that we have northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere in your in your coordinate system, like in your globe model? We do have them, right? We have the north sky and south sky, right? Do you guys agree with
They
that?
all make circles.
But that's what he was saying just a
Yeah,
minute ago. There are some
exactly,
stars that are
exactly,
lined up
exactly.
with the equator. There are some stars that are lined up with the equator that will just
No, no, we don't
go
have
up
stars
straight
lined up with
overhead
Peter.
constantly and not make a circle in the sky. That's what he was
The
I'm
trying to
sorry,
say.
phenomenon, the
no,
phenomenon
no,
of
no,
the
no.
star
Yeah,
trails is due simply to the rotation of the Earth. It has nothing to do with the stars orbiting Earth. I don't know if that's what you're asking.
And there's a star that's part of Orion. It's called Mintaka. It's directly over the equator. And that
yeah,
star,
yeah, exactly.
for observers on the equator, that star never creates a circle on any time lapse. It only creates a straight line that rises on your horizon due east. It rises to your zenith, and it says due west on. And it doesn't
So
do
it
anything
means
other than
that if
that.
you look at the coordinate
It
system,
only ever does a straight line
yeah,
across
yeah.
your time lapse.
Yeah, so are you familiar with coordinate systems? Right. So basically what you're saying is that you're saying that if I track that star, and if I look at the angles, the right ascension and the declination, you're basically saying that one of them wouldn't change, one of them always stays zero. It's not possible.
No, we're
That's how
talking
declination
No,
about
works.
it's not,
Why isn't that
bro.
possible?
Yeah,
Show us a
declination.
star.
That's the declination
Oh my
works.
God.
the stars.
Okay, show us a star that. Hold on. Show us a star that its declination doesn't change.
I can show
Sorry,
you
it's the right
72
ascension.
stars. No, it's the
Okay, go.
declination. We're talking about the declination now.
No, because he's saying that it all it's straight above the equator. So
So
if
are
we
you going
use
to write down the
Declination
answer he
would be
gives you?
zero.
He's going to give you star names. Are you going to write them down and look it
yeah,
up? Because
just give me the star numbers
Hey,
because
look
it's
at
a lot of
look at Mintaka. It's almost directly over the celestial equator. Obviously, it's not exactly zero
almost.
over.
Bro,
Yeah. Yes.
I know it's almost. We were talking about.
First of all, we're limited by what we would consider naked eye stars, and so we're looking at brighter stars. What are the odds that you're going to have one that's that's within 0 arc seconds over your equator, right? The odds of that are very, very low, right? So we have one that's in Orion's belt. It's called Mintaka, and it's within 20 arc seconds of the equator.
is that not accurate enough, flat earthers?
No, it's not even that Mintaka would have changed its position in the
20
course of a
arc
10-year.
seconds is now too far out of your specific exactness. Flat Earth. Who doesn't know the circumference, perimeter, or size of your sun?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mintaka's
so in the
Mintaka's
first place,
17. Its declination is 17 degrees. Or I'm sorry,
yeah, that's
17
only for
arc
now.
minutes. Sorry, 17 arc minutes, which is about
Yeah,
a quarter of a degree.
yeah, but that's for now. If you just let time pass on, right, and if you just chip
What's
that
your
again, you're
point?
gonna
We
see.
understand how these things work. What's
Yes,
your
yes,
point?
because there's precession of the equinoxes. It takes like
That's
20,000
it,
years.
bro. That's it. So as I'm saying, you cannot find a single star that always go on the equator.
But no,
What is
we're
your
talking about
point?
over the course of one day, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking
No,
about on the flat Earth model. On the flat Earth model, the stars are projected in circles over a flat Earth. There's no time.
no, cycle of the stars
There
is
should never
25,000
be
years.
on the flat Earth.
No,
There is no reason why there should be stars traveling in a straight line.
there's no straight line. I mean, you're not getting my point. We don't
How
have a
they close
straight
to
star
straight.
trails.
But
Bro,
hang
look at
on.
the star trail. I have 1,000. Hold on. I have 1,000 images from star trail. You can look at it by yourself right now. There's not a single star trail that goes exactly perfectly straight line. Stop it, bro.
I just
It's not.
posted one.
Star trails in high
No,
school photography class.
it appears to be.
So
It appears to be. It appears to be very straight. But if you look at the end of those star trails, you're gonna see that either going to go to the right or left because
No, they
eventually
went
it has to
in a
go back.
circle.
Oh my god.
So
Unless
No, it's
they're
not.
on the equator.
Kazra,
Okay, so do
quick
you have
question for you.
you have an explanation for those? The 17 arc minute star? Explain. Why does it do that?
So it's 7 arc minutes off the equator. There's a
arc
lot of
seconds,
them that is
excuse me.
Why?
Why? Because it cannot be there's no middle. Everything is either the right side or the left side of the middle. What are you
Explain the
talking about?
motion. Explain the motion. How does it come up from one position and go behind you and go underneath you?
Yeah, why does it do that? That's a good question.
That's what we see in reality.
Another question I would like to ask when he was talking about the sun going in a straight line during the during the day.
No, excuse me. Hold on 1 second. I'd like to hear Kaza's answer to my question. Why does it come up at 17 arc seconds and then suddenly set at negative 17 arc seconds behind you? Why does that happen?
You're talking about that star? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's the right one. Yeah.
No, answer the question, dude.
So you're saying that it rises from the east, positive 70 arc second, and it goes to the west. It just sets with minus. Is that what you're saying right now?
Presumably,
in the same day.
It's going to set
in the same day.
Correct.
In the same
For the
day.
sake of argument, yes.
So which day? The equinox?
Sunday.
No,
the equinox doesn't apply to stars, dude. The equinox doesn't apply to stars.
No, it has to be in that day. What do you I don't understand. So you're saying that basically it moves from the north sky to the south sky? Is that what you're claiming right now? Or not?
You can pick a day, and I'll call it Sunday. Why does it come up 17 arc seconds at the equator and set at the other equator? Where does it go? What's the path? Why does it go underneath the Earth?
Exactly. So you're just seeing half of the equator. You're just seeing the half of the trajectory of that star, not the whole but the whole. But if you track the whole star, the whole track, if you just look at the whole track, you're going to see it's not a straight line. You're going to see eventually at the west coast of the United States, or even more west, that star will eventually would either go around north or south.
No, if you have observers all along the equator,
very
So what
small
you're telling
angle.
me, you're telling me that it changes entire direction when it's coming up at 17 arc seconds. It's not going to set at 17 arc seconds in the west, is what you're saying. You're saying that it's going to do a loop-to-loop and stay in the sky somehow, and we just can't see it.
Yeah, it just starts getting away from you, from the observer, and it goes around north.
But you understand that for people all along its path, right? People that are in South America, people that are in Africa, people that are in Indonesia, all the people that are underneath it, directly underneath it, that live on the equator, they could take turns tracking the star so that it never ever escapes view through the night, right? Where it's always nighttime.
Yeah,
the star never makes any turns. It's just moving in a straight line.
No. According to you, it has to.
What do you mean it has to?
No, he's telling you, the globe model exactly. The globe model doesn't go in a straight line. Eventually, it would go under the equator or above the equator the day after.
No.
Okay, and what do you mean when you say under the equator? Are you saying that it goes under the flat Earth?
No. When you look at your celestial equator, your left, like when you're looking to west, your left is going to be south, your right is going to be north, right?
So where does it go? When it goes under the horizon, as it does, where does it go?
It goes around the north or south pole. It depends on which star you're looking
at. But from every observer, whether they're in Africa or South America or in Indonesia, they never see the star turning ever. It's always traveling in a straight line, meaning it's never diverting to the north or to the south, right? Other than the very tiny amount, because it's not other than the few arc minutes, because it's not directly over the equator, because it's off the equator about a quarter of a degree. They never actually see it turn right or turn left. On a flat Earth, it makes no sense how, for an observer, where it's suddenly set for someone in Africa, someone in Quito, Ecuador, sees it rising to the east, and it's always, you could call that person on the phone. They see it setting from their perspective, and the person in Quito, Ecuador is like, I see it rising in my east, and it's only in a straight line the whole time. And then they could talk to someone in Indonesia, and they'll be like, okay, I see it rising in my east. Well, and then the person in Ecuador is saying, I see it setting in my west, and it's only in a straight line the whole time. They're supposed to be living on a flat Earth, but this star, it seems to be just traveling in a straight line over their sky.
It seems to think that we just guess that Earth is round.
Yeah, so if you're seeing Indonesia, you just said a good point. If you look at the star trails, you're going to see that like most of the stars are going around the north. If you look at the north sky from Indonesia, or from even if you would be above the equator, like let's say you're in the United States above the equator, if you look at the north sky, you can see by yourself that almost every single star that you see in the sky, except the southern sky, it's going around the North Pole. And this is pretty famous. You probably have seen the star trails around the Polaris. So when you can already see that most of the stars in your view are going around Polaris, you need to understand that.
What are you talking about? You don't understand anything about
Jake was
astronomy.
talking about at the equator. Hey, look, Jake was talking about at the equator, and I'm in North America, and Jake is as well. We're going to look at a star that, if I could look at the Big Dipper, for example, and the backpack part of the pan is pointing toward the North Star, that whole entire Big Dipper is going to rotate. All 7 of those stars are going to be rotating around the North Star, whereas at the equator, they're not doing that.
Right.
No, circumpolar stars. How do you know they're not doing that? How do you know that they're not doing that? I do. You're looking at it. If you look at
Listen,
Ecuador.
Yeah,
You're
just
not,
look at
if you're
Orion's
looking at,
belt.
hold on,
Look at Orion's
hold
belt.
on.
Look at the
Bro,
constellation of
listen, let me
Orion. It doesn't go around the
I'll tell
North
you.
Pole.
It does. Half of its stars go around the North Pole. The other half of the you need to understand that those zodiac signs aren't exactly on the celestial equator. It means that they're exactly above the equator, almost above the equator. It means that like half of their stars, half of the like for example Aquarius. Aquarius is made up of 12 stars, right? Now, if you look at the Aquarius constellations, a lot of these stars belong to the north. A lot of these stars belong to the south. So what happened is that when this constellation hits your view from east, and when it goes to west, as it goes to the west, right? Let's say you're standing on the equator and you look at the constellation Orion. What you're gonna see, okay, it's above you. But as it moves to the west, it starts to disappear. You're not be able to see it anymore. But this is what I'm telling you. Eventually, those stars have to decide whether to go around north or south, and that will depend on where they are at. If they're above the equator, they will choose the north. If they're below the equator, they will choose south. And you need
Like
to
we said
understand,
before,
even in your globe model, it looks like that. It
if you take
exactly looks like that.
if you take a star like Mintaka, and for all observers that are live along the equator, the star is just going to rise due east, go up to their zenith, and set due west, and it only will travel in a straight line across their sky. It will never veer to the north or veer to the south, and it will do that. And you could track it nonstop over 24 hours over the phone with 3 observers, one in South America, one in Africa, and one in Indonesia. They can track it over the course of 24 hours, where it'll be nighttime at one of those locations at all times, and they will tell you that they never see that star travel north or south. How does that work on a flat Earth?
Okay, did you know that what is a declination angle in astronomy?
Pazra, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
He's asking you a very specific question. You come out in the morning and you look to one side and you see a star. It goes straight up, straight over your head, and straight down the other side. Now, assuming that can be observed, which it can, assuming somebody could film it for you, if you would have to see it, they could. How do you explain the mechanics of that movement on the flat Earth without
if
changing
you
to
would have
another
looked at,
subject?
I'm not saying I'm just saying that you cannot look at with your simple eye, like with his pure eye, you cannot find those very tiny little deflections that these stars have in the equator. Yeah, they might get to be very apparent when you look at the stars on the poles, right? You can see that how they perfectly go around the poles. But as you move toward the equator, you're gonna see the star trail trying to be more like straight line. Right, and I do understand that some of you guys would have think that the ones that are exactly on the equator that appears to be very straight, they do not go around any of these 2 poles. But you're wrong.
Pazra, hold on. You're confused by one thing. We're not saying it's a straight line going around the pole. We're saying it's
You
a
guys
straight
say that. Come
line.
on.
We're saying it's a straight line. Hold on, let me finish. We're saying it's a straight line from one side, straight up over your head, straight down. We're not saying that when we look horizontally, we see it
Not. Okay,
at a
I'll tell you.
certain elevation.
Let me give you this answer. Okay, you're saying that it's straight up, straight down. It's not. If you use theodolites, if you use sensitive instruments, you're going to see that if you would have, hold on. You're going to see, first of all, let me give you 2 points. First of all, you're not able to track that star 24 hours. You can only see like 12
We're not
hours
talking
and
24
then
hours. We're talking the picture that's posted. A picture is posted. It shows a straight line. If you're standing on the Earth,
look at the quote. Look at the picture in the
please
chat.
look at the picture.
Because if you hit a timeline, this is what you see. Anywhere on the equator, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, Kadra, are you saying the sky splits? Are you saying the sky splits at some point?
Yeah, the sky is not physically split.
He's explaining a horizontal tracking of the star, and we're not talking about that. It's not horizontal. This goes straight up over your head, straight down the other way.
And you can track it over 24 hours with 3 observers at 3 different locations where it's nighttime. Where you could where it's going to be setting in the west for one observer and it'll be rising in the east for the other. If you had an observer in South America, North America, Africa, and Indonesia, you could track it over a 24-hour period where that star will never disappear from view from one of the observers, and they will all report the same thing. The star rose due east, it rose to their zenith, and set due west. There's no explanation on flat Earth how that would work.
No, I don't know why you're bringing the flat Earth up, but you're claiming that there's a single star that its declination is 0. And when I'm talking about declination and ascension, in astronomy we got coordinate system, we got 2 angles that it can give us the GP, right? Like the longitude and latitude that we have in the ground. So basically,
Did you
what you're
honestly
saying,
say you don't know why we're bringing up the flat Earth? Did you
no.
honestly bring
Listen.
that up?
Let me just rephrase what is your claim. You guys are claiming basically that, for example, if we would have a ground track of these stars like this Mintaka, like the star that you mentioned, if we would have its ground track on the ground track would have always stays exactly on the equator without being up a little bit off.
It's going to be within because we know it's about because we know it's a quarter degree off. It's going to be like within 20 miles of the equator at all times.
Exactly.
If we tracked it, it's yes. I guess what we call the substellar point, which is the arc that it carved over its path over the globe. It's going to be within 20 miles of the equator.
What motion are we claiming that it would have? You keep saying equator, and I keep thinking you're picturing a horizontal straight line. When we say if you walked out at midnight and you watch this star, or you track the star, or you did star trails or whatever, what motion are we saying happens? We're not saying that when you look horizontally, you see it at the same elevation. We're saying that it moves from one side straight up over your head and straight down the other side. There's not a star in your model that does that on a flat Earth.
Its elevation goes from 90 to 0 back to 90.
Correct.
So I just checked Montaka right now. Even Montaka, as you mentioned, it kind of it's right ascension. It kind of varies within a day. Very small, very small. It's not about this star. There are a couple of stars that I found right now. They're pretty close to the equator. That their variation is very, very small.
You know what?
Yeah,
we'll give you 10 degrees off. Name
look at
anything on your flat Earth where it behaves that way. One side straight up
there's no
overhead,
zero.
down the other.
You don't have any zero in nature.
I'm sharing my screen of Stellarium that's showing this phenomenon happening. Okay. Just for your
Okay, let me just put my Stellarium as well.
Well, I've got it going right now, and Minnetonka. Or
I'm gonna check it again. But so you're saying that basically one of the angles would not change. So you're claiming that when we track this star in the sky, only one
Kazra,
angle.
go to IC Spins Live. Just click on his name and go to his live real quick, and just we want to make sure you're understanding what we're saying.
Yeah, just look in the chat. He's live right now. It shows a real nice picture of what he's talking about. What we're talking about.
And so this is what happens on the equator. Stars rotate like that's the star right there that just went around. It's Mentaka, and it's shown right here. It's giving you all the coordinates as we track it daily. You're talking about the celestial north and south poles, which are shown. Obviously, this is an azimuthal mount.
Azimuthal coordinate system. Yeah. So read the angles for us and tell us that how does it change? Thank you.
Well, it's doing what it does in reality, right? So we can track it. This is
Oh my
on
gosh,
Quito.
this is crazy.
This is at Quito.
No,
this is at Quito, Ecuador.
you claim that it's not okay. I want for everyone to read the angles how they change. That will help you a lot.
What angle? Which angle are you referring to? What angle are you referring to about how it changes?
There are two coordinate systems. You can use the right ascension and the declination. Which
The right
is
ascension is the right ascension. The right ascension is essentially the longitude would be on the surface of the Earth.
Kazra, you are muddying the waters. Right now, we're asking you to look at the star with your eyes, look at what it does,
No,
and
it's not
explain
about
on a flat. No,
I
let me finish.
numbers.
And tell us
I
on
need
a flat
numbers.
Earth how it would behave the same way.
And the declination is like your latitude, and that number. The only reason why that number ever changes over time is simply due to the Earth's precession, which is very slow, and the proper motion of the star, which is very, very slow.
1 hour. I told you 1 hour before the first I started this conversation. I told you it's because of the tilt axis. Now you went to the software and now you're reading the exact value because you guys were saying that just look at it with your simple eyes. I told you need to look at the numbers.
By 1 degree in like 70 years.
It doesn't matter what the numbers are. Pretend you're a caveman. You're looking
It's
up.
not a zero. It's changing from zero.
It doesn't matter. I said we'll give you 25%.
One night. That's all we're talking about. Not 70 years, not the precessionist. It doesn't be perfectly accurate. We're saying, even if it's 5 or 10 degrees, he's saying off. Tell us how that works on a flat Earth.
And by the way, the data shows that it changes in 10 years by only 0.007 degrees. So it's it's not changing at all in the
Is that exact enough for you, flat earthers? 0.007?
Oh, it's not perfect though. Not absolute. So you're wrong. I mean, come on.
So we'll spot you, Kazra. We'll spot you 10 degrees. Explain how even a 10-degree straight line deviating 10 degrees works on a flat Earth.
Look, we get it. You're an auto glober. You think you're on a ball, but you don't.
No, guys. If you're going to have an argument,
no. You've been saying all this silly globe. Now you
we're simply asking for a defense of it, and you
You're
cannot.
globing it up like a moron.
As usual, you chip in as usual with some derp.
Yep.
You have
You've
nothing
been talking
to
a lot
offer.
of. Yes,
You've been quiet the whole time. Kazra is answering questions, and we like
calm
the fact
down,
that you
Jack.
will
I'm
answer
trying
questions.
to say something to you. Stop
I'm
talking.
perfectly calm, dude. You are crazy.
Okay, stop talking. We heard your stupid globe
He had the
assertions.
stage. We're happy with Kazra. Kazra, if you wouldn't mind.
All right, Jack, stop talking. Thanks a lot. So, you guys can't reference Earth curves. Every single time you think you're making an argument for a
Kazra
globe...
was actually answering questions. Electric offers nothing.
Play good, guys. Kazra?
Yeah, so basically the declination, as you guys seen, is going to change a little bit. But here's the point. If you let time pass on pretty much like enough, you're going to see more variation. So all I'm trying to say is that, as I said, like if you track any single star, like this very strict, perfect line that we have on the globe model, it's not very, very accurate under reality, or it's not visible. But go on, you can ask any other questions if you want.
Would you agree that everyone around the world on the equator would see this star at sometime in the evening between 11 and 2 in the morning at a 90? It's directly above 90 degree above your head. Straight up ahead, like GP of 90.
When you use 90 degrees, this is a very vague statement. You don't know it's 90 degrees. It appears to be 90 degrees, and I do understand that. But you need to understand, when you do your job exactly with a perfect precision, you're going to see that it's not a very perfect thing, or a perfect line, or a perfect equator. As I said, equator,
You're talking so fast, you're not answering the question. would you agree that everyone along the equator will see this particular star at a 90-degree GP?
Not 9.00000. It might be 89.80 or 90.2.
Okay, would everyone see it at 89.2? Would everyone see it at 89.2?
Yeah,
Hold on,
90.2 will eventually lead the star to go around south, and 80.92, which is on the other side of the equator, would eventually lead the star to go around north. So any star, it doesn't matter, that line that it will separate these two phenomena, it's a very, 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 very narrow line. And all the stars,
we're getting somewhere. We're finally speaking the same language. Now, how much more north will it go anywhere on the Earth equator? If we have 20 people around the Earth, everyone on the same on the equator at different longitudes, how far will it deviate, north or south?
on a different longitudes. So
yes,
I think you have to.
How much will it deviate? It's a simple question. I'm saying that. Let's say I'm saying it's perfectly above everyone's head along the equator, and you're gonna say, no, you're wrong, Zanuck. It's not perfect. It's a little bit shifted north or south, whatever. I think you said north for everybody by a point. Is it 0.8 degrees or something? Fine.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? That this particular star will have a variation of a fraction of a degree all the way around the equator.
Yeah.
That star will always be roughly 90 degrees GP.
Not roughly. Yeah, roughly it appears to be like that.
Yeah, plus or minus some percentage, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there we make progress. Now, how does that work on a flat plane?
What's wrong with it? I don't understand. What's wrong with the flat plane right now? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Because it would basically be like saying that this plane that's flying around is always in a turn, but for everyone that sees the plane, it always seems to be flying in a straight line.
Correct.
Yeah, and if at that point, if that straight line is being claimed to still be on the flat plane, but because it's not perfectly straight, it's slightly curved, then you're now describing like an extremely large disk. If it's gonna appear to be that straight over the entire sky, right?
I don't know, I don't know what's wrong. The thing is that when Globers ask these questions, it's very hard to answer them because first of all, we're not an AE flat earth. I'm not an AE flat earth. I know a lot of people here. We have moved on from that model to the two pole, and so I think that you guys need to just take a look at the new flat earth model, and then you can ask questions.
So there is no model though. The two pole doesn't work because you can't make it work for all observers across the whole Earth, right? Anytime you invoke the fact that the surface is flat, and you can arrange the continents and the locations however you want, you can never make the observations match.
Yeah, probably not gonna have the problem on that part, but the two pole is not very concerned about the physical plane. It's more about the sky and the cell shells and basically the movement of the stars and stars. So basically, all I'm trying to say is that, as I said, what force is moving these cell shells above the ground or above the flat Earth? As I said, it would be the force that is related to the electromagnetism. Why I'm saying that is because if you look at the track of any single cell shell body, I don't know, sun, moon, stars, planets, doesn't matter. What you're going to notice is that you're going to see that it is exactly perpendicular to the Earth's magnetic field. And this is exactly...
But here's what you're missing, Castro. If we now move the observer to Barrow, Alaska, right, which is the northernmost city in the United States, or town, and they're tracking Mintaka is going to be on their horizon, and it's going to be making a circle around them on their horizon. It's going to be right over the horizon, like an airplane in the distant horizon, and it's going to be making a circle around them, which gives the illusion that this star is making a circle. But yet, for the people on the equator, we know that it's not making a circle because it's traveling in a straight line. And how do you reconcile those two observations with those people all separated across from one another on a flat Earth, regardless of what the position of the continents and cities are?
If you look at a circle from side, you can see its circleness. But if you just look at it vertically, if you just bring that circle, imagine like a ring. If you bring it exactly, if you look at it horizontally in front of your eyes, you cannot see. You're gonna see like a straight line. You won't be able. It's a circle. It's all perspective.
Real quick,
Did you get the point?
We're talking around the question. We're talking around the question. Look, you're answering questions. I think that's already awesome. So please, I'm not insulting you, and I don't want to insult you. The question of, can you explain a complete left to right or right to left, straight overhead movement on any forget flat Earth, two poles? We're saying the mechanics of anything you're saying that's not a globe don't work. And you can go out and do this for yourself. So we're not trying to nail you down or nitpick. We're simply saying, if you can't explain the mechanics, why are you still so dismissive of what can explain the mechanics?
Yeah. So I don't have much time. I'm going to talk about a couple minutes, and then I have to leave. Probably one day I will come here, and we're going to talk more about this. But the thing about the directions that you asked me, in the new model that we worked on, we have such a thing called westward movement. It means that like things are moving from east to west, and that is on your globe model. That is because of the Earth is spinning. In this model, we're saying that the cosmic water is moving from east to west. This is the bias of the cosmic water above us. And that is something that's observable because we can see that things rise from the east and goes to west. Now, so we have an east and west basically in this model, which is pretty specified because we can see their direction. And perpendicular to this direction, you're going to have north and south, right? It doesn't matter which one is north or south. What it matters is exactly perpendicular to this westward motion, and that would be the north and south, and that would be your magnetic field. So the magnetic field is going to be perpendicular to the ocean field or to the ocean flow above us. So that's why I told you.
Kazra, yes or no? Can you explain the movement I asked you about? I love the fact that you're showing this map. Can you explain on any model you want that's not a globe how a star would go left straight over your head, right, or right straight over your head, left? Either way, can you explain it? If the answer is no, you can say no. A lot of globers will say I can't explain that.
You want to know that what is the mechanism that is moving the star? Like, what is your?
Can you explain how it could work on a flat Earth? Would you see the same thing?
So on a flat Earth, we have two celestial vortexes. We believe that
the same thing. Just answer the question. Can you see a star move from one side straight over your head, straight down? No circle. No, it's not horizontally like an elevation that stays the same. It's over your head, straight line. Can you observe that?
Oh my God. Dude, you've been talking about straight line. It's not a straight
This is
line.
for Kazra, not you, because he's answering questions.
All right, well, let him
When
respond.
I answer this question, I told you for that. Yeah, it would appear to be a straight line, but you cannot cover a lot of sky, and a lot of space in the sky. Like you have a very small.
So you're not going to admit. You're not going to admit no, you can't. You're going to go back to this straight line, not exact. We've given you 10 degrees off. We'll give you a whole 10 degrees, 20 degrees. Can you explain that movement?
Okay, if it's
yes
20 degrees
no?
off, no, it's not a straight line. It's not a straight line.
Okay, it's not straight. It deviates by 5 or 10%. Fine. Can you explain straight over your head, one side to the other, straight over your head, one side of the Earth to the other?
I don't see anything that goes straight from one side to the other side.
Again, I didn't ask if you can see it. I asked if you can explain it.
No, we don't have it. We don't have a straightness.
Okay, so no, it doesn't work on your model. Then is the answer.
Because we don't have it. I told you there's no star that goes in this perfect straight line. I don't know why we're going back again.
Yeah, well, if
you never said yes or no. Now you've said no. Thank you.
I mean, if it was deviating a tiny bit, how big would that circle be for a flat?
Are we done being stuck on stupid with Jack? Like, is the dumb stuck argument over finally?
If a star rises 1 degree below east and it sets 1 degree above west, that's a straight line.
No, even in the globe model, it wouldn't be.
If you follow that GP, yeah. And if you follow the GP of a star like that on a flat Earth, that circle must be gigantic.
I appreciate you answering questions, Kazra, but you've basically said no. Just go with no. I would respect you far more if you said I can't explain it, because you can't. You keep going back to this weird circular water movements and magnetics.
I don't believe any single star that goes straight from east to west. That's why I cannot explain it. Yeah,
there's a picture, right? There's a picture posted multiple times in this thread.
I work with numbers. So you're afraid.
So wait, now you want math, not pictures. First you said math was
numbers. I told you the declination angle. You're claiming the declination angle didn't change in the course
of the day. The guy showed you in Stellarium for an observer in Keel Ecuador. The star is going straight up in the sky.
In the Stellarium, he showed us the declination angle would have changed in the course of the day. And here's the point. The
declination angle changes over. The declination of a star changes over huge periods of time due to things like proper motion of the star and the precession of the Earth.
Have you watched the live video right now that your friend shared with us?
You look right here. Though, this is the declination.
In the course of the day, in the course of a year, it would have changed. Hold on, it would have changed because we have this great year. It takes 25,000 years. We know about it. We know that they will change eventually. But even in small amount of time, like in 1 day or 2 days, if you look at that declination, it's fluctuating. It is fluctuating. Polaris is moving.
So are you agreeing, Kazra? Are you agreeing that it looks to be going straight overhead, and your argument is the math?
Of course, it looks to be straight, but it's not exact straight. That was my whole point. So when I'm saying that there's no equator, the terminology equator is a man-made thing, and that made a lot of problems to flat Earth mind. Not only
you don't have to keep explaining it's not a real line. Now, where on your flat Earth would you see this picture that he's showing right now with Stellarium? Where would you stand on your flat Earth model and see this?
How many times are you going to ask the same question?
Kazra, where would you stand on your flat Earth and see this, even if it's deviating a little bit, where would you see this straight line behavior straight overhead? Just tell us where you would stand on the flat Earth.
Equator, exactly. If you start moving, it's going to be 0 degree latitude 0. Same.
And your
Doesn't matter.
equator is a ring around the circumference.
No, it's
Yes.
not a ring around that eight. Okay, this is the problem. That this is very hard for me. When you think that like in the AE or in the glow, you have the ring. We don't have a ring.
Like a hula hoop.
You cannot show me. Hold on. You cannot show me a ring in the sky. I told you. There's no ring.
Yeah, and
There's
we're
a
talking where you stand on your flat Earth to see this behavior. That's all the question is.
I'll
I'm
tell
not
you. It
asking for
would be.
math. I'm not asking for an explanation.
I'll tell you. It would be in the middle of Africa.
Middle of South America as well. Or
Yeah. Anywhere in the equator, you can see the same thing. But if you go exactly like this position that I told you, whereas like if you
Wait, is
connect
your
the North
equator
Pole,
now the middle of South Africa?
no. If you connect the North Pole to South Pole, you agree that you can do that. You can just draw a line from north to south.
Yeah, there's lines
Right?
that exist
So-
all over the globe Earth that we call
No, I'm
longitude
just
lines.
talking about a very specific line that comes from north to the south. And now I want you to look at where that line intersects the equator. That is your midpoint.
Yeah,
That
I'm
is
not
your
sure
midpoint.
what map you're using, but that doesn't exist on your map.
There's some big problems with that, which is if we look at the speed of Mintaka, how fast, like for example, Mintaka moves over the GP, or the sun during the equinox moves over the GP. We can calculate that speed with two observers with a known distance apart from one another, how long it takes to go from one zenith to the other zenith. That would give us the distance, and we can divide that by the time, and we get roughly the speed that star or the sun is moving. The subsolar or substellar point is moving across the surface of the Earth, and then we know that it comes back around a day later, and so then we can calculate the circumference of that distance.
Yes, you can do that.
And the problem when we do that though is that then gives us the radius of that circle, and that radius is way too small compared to the known radius of the globe.
It's okay. Good question. You're getting closer to the reality. Okay, so if you do this,
And by the
method,
way, you were talking about the variation of declination of Mintaka in 1991. It was 17. Its declination was 17 minutes 56.74 seconds, and by 2000, the year 2000, it was 17 minutes 57 seconds. So it only changed over a decade by a fraction of an arc second.
Okay, 17. Why it's not 0?
Because this is just a star that happens to be bright and part of a.
You know what, Kazra? If you want us to find, hold on,
that's
Kazra,
almost
Kazra.
directly over the celestial. That's almost
Kazra,
directly
if
in
you
the
want us to find a star through a telescope that's exactly 0, we can. So if you make the choice here with your argument. If you're saying it's either true or
that's
not.
one point. There's 2 points. Good point. So there's a 1 point that you guys cannot find me a single star that exactly is in a 0 coordinate, and also you cannot find the same star.
I just said we could.
0. You got all zeros.
If you will
Yes,
listen to
all
what I'm
zeros.
saying.
You can find one star up there. You'll
Yes.
find it. Even looking at deep space, you'll find it's exactly 0, 0.
Absolutely.
Okay, 0. Now here's a second point. Now that star, in the course of a year, you're gonna see it will start to change.
No, why not over a day? Who cares about the course of a year? Why you're conflicting and conflating and just trying to like gish gallop around the whole situation here? We don't care about what happens over a year about this how our Earth spins.
So you need
We're
to
saying that
understand.
if it goes around, this star will be at 0, 0 for everybody on the equator. Do you not agree?
But you're saying that in 1 day will be enough to study the stars. Do you agree that even in your super cosmology, you guys stay millions of years to study what's happening out there? And you're not giving me 1 day or 1 month to study the motion of a
We'll give
star.
you a month. We'll give you a month. Kazra, we'll give you a month. We'll give you a month. Exactly 0, 0. We'll give you a month.
You need to give me years, okay? And that is not the point.
Now
the
you want
point is
7
that
years? Which is it? What do you want? A day, a month, or 7 years?
He
I
wants
need
it
that.
to
Like,
work.
it depends on the cycle. The cycle is 25,000 years, right? This is the cycle of it. Like the sun cycle is 365 days. So you can study the sun within 1 year. That would be good. For a moon, it would be a 1 day. For stars, you would need much more time to study them. You cannot this is very naive if you would have tried to study the star's motion within a couple of days. It's not right. Even a couple of decades.
So now your problem isn't the math and it's not the mechanics or what we see. It's that you're not given enough time to get an observation. You can't walk out. No, let me finish. You can't walk out in the morning or at night and see something happen and admit a straight line. You can't admit that. You're now going to say, well, it's a straight line for night 1, but maybe night 2,522, it's slightly arced. I mean, is that where you're going with this argument?
Exactly. It would have started to transfer.
I thought you were actually
north
going to be too embarrassed to say exactly, but okay.
Yeah. So from north sky to south, some of the stars would have shifted from north to south in the course of a year. For example, I told you Aquarius Alpha, right? Yeah, it's made
You
of
realize nobody here is arguing against the motion in the universe, right? You know, none of us here believe that the universe is stationary. Well,
we don't have
no
motions of the
globe
universe in the flat Earth. Okay, so you're bringing okay. Here's the problem. Again, you're bringing that cosmology.
Kazra, I'll also bet we can find a star at 0, 0 that will stay 0, 0 for well over a year. That's 1 billion light years away. I guarantee we can. So if you want to put a challenge on that, let's right now write down the criteria for what the challenge is, and it will stay at 0, 0 for a full year. I guarantee it because it's so far away.
And as it processes it, there would always be
there's
a
three
star.
stars in the Gaia 3, the Gaia DR3 catalog that are exactly 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 in their declination.
Yeah, and if Midova
Change.
moves away, another star will move in and do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter.
So now
Their
what? Casual? You
magnitude,
even
their
need a star.
magnitude, their magnitude 10 stars, so you need a telescope to see them, but they're exactly 0.0000000.
Yeah, so if you look at the like around the IC spin right now, this what do you call this video chat out right now, we're looking at it. I want you to pay attention. This is a very good thing that he's just showing it to us. If you look at these stars right now, just rotate the sky for us. You're gonna see that all the stars, you can see that they're either going north or south, and probably you guys are saying that the middle ones is not doing that. Now I want you to just focus on the middle stars, the middles in the middle, and then and trying to track those stars within the stellarium. You don't need to go out there. Just use stellarium. And even the stars that you mentioned right now, these couple stars, if you just let these stars to go around, if you look at them very carefully, you're going to see that, like, eventually it's going around one of these two poles. This is like, you can check out for every single star in that stellarium. You're going to see that even the ones in the middle would eventually, they will choose side. Now, it appears some of them to be very straight, but in the course of a couple of years, not only they change, but the point is that they will always go around either these two poles.
Casper, you're really grasping now, my friend. We're all listening to you, and you're just totally grasping. You cannot even admit. Look, just say I don't know. We would have so much more respect. You can't. I mean, you can't explain the motion. So now you're going over a year. It might change, and it won't be exactly 0.0. I mean, are you listening to yourself?
Yeah, of course, because I'm looking at things in a wider timeline. In a very
So
short timeline.
you understand the problem of a star that you could track over a 24-hour period with 3 observers on the Earth, on the flat Earth, and they all see the star that appears to be traveling in a straight line across their sky. In terms of it's not diverting north or south by any amount that they can see visibly with their naked eye. Over the course, over 3 observers over the course of 24 hours, that doesn't make much sense on a flat Earth, right? Because on a flat Earth, the stars would have to be changing direction, would they not?
What's your problem with the flat Earth? But right now, the software that you're working right now, you can change your position and you can choose for example, one star. And by changing your location, you can see that always that star would have possessed in such a way that is either going around north or south.
Where do you stand on the flat globe where you'll see the behavior that's showing in that video? Just tell us where.
That would be equator. The equator, you can see that the distance to the north and south is the same right now in this picture.
Okay, none of your stars show movement from one side straight overhead to the other. They all show elevation, circling
exactly.
a
I'm
specific
telling you,
elevation.
I'm telling you, there's no straight. I'm telling you, there's no straightness. That was my whole point within the last year.
I think you're either denying what we're saying or you're just not. You just don't want to admit. This isn't an elevation and then it circles around the globe. Like it's not, or the flat Earth. It's not like you can just look at 10 degrees and turn around in a circle and watch it not move. It's a straight line. We're saying from one side directly straight overhead down to the other side. There's not a single place on your flat Earth where you can get that behavior.
Especially for 3 different observers on the flat Earth.
Okay, so first of all, the 3 different observers, we cannot have people on the Pacific Ocean. That's the main problem.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about observers who will, where the star will always be inside.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, but so don't say that we can have 3 people all around the Earth and they can track the star.
Why can't they be in the Pacific
Put an
Ocean
armada
on a
of boats
boat
on the equator, and we
why
can
can't,
have them
why can't they be
a
on a
mile
boat
apart
with,
all the way around the Earth?
Yeah, with GPS lock. Why can't they just be on a boat?
Oh my God.
You can. So why can't we do the boat?
Don't go that direction. That we can have boats. We have GPS. Come on.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
GPS.
how is it not good enough?
You said we can't have a person in the Pacific Ocean. That's clearly not true. You could be on a boat. So, given that argument, we've now debunked you can't be in the ocean.
Strong that argument. Yeah, that was a strong argument. But you guys know there's no way we can go Pacific Ocean. We can track these stars. But you guys are assuming that
Why not? Why can't you track the stars from a boat on the ocean? I mean, you're basically talking about
you can do that basically.
celestial navigation that boats use all the time.
Yes, of course. Because if you look at the polarity of the flat Earth, you're going to see that you can do the same circumnavigation, and the stars would always go. Yeah. So basically, what you're asking.
Does it not bother you that on top of this observation, if we measure the speed at which the GP of those, whether it's the sun or those stars, is moving across the flat Earth, that it creates a circumference that doesn't match the known distance to the GP of Polaris? There's a huge mismatch there, especially with the fact that the speed of the subsolar point or of the GP of the star across the surface, it doesn't match a flat Earth.
Yeah. So you would have still think that flat Earth was like an AE map. It's a pizza.
It doesn't matter any map. It's just any flat conception where there's a center point, right, which would be where the North Pole is, and the sun on the flat. No. So you're saying that we live on a flat Earth, and there's no point on the flat Earth where you can be at the center of the shape that's described by the sun.
If you're looking for center, I can give you a line of center, a center line, and that would be equator. Yeah. Yeah. That would be equator is the center line. And forget about Polaris being center. That was an old-fashioned flat Earth model. Yeah, it has
But
its own problem.
Polaris is a real fixed point, right? There is a GP of
No, I
Polaris.
don't have any beef with Polaris. Polaris exists, but it's not the center of this flat Earth cosmology. So, because and this is the reason that why you're asking for that exact circumference of the equator, that it doesn't match with the distance to our Polaris. And I do understand that. Like, if the distance of Polaris is 10,000 kilometers, if you just multiply 2 pi, you get about 60,000 kilometers as a circumference for the flat Earth, which doesn't make sense. Yeah, I do
What
understand
doesn't make sense? Why is it that when we look at the speed of the subsolar point of the sun during the solstice, where it's directly over the Tropic of Cancer, is the same speed at when it's the solstice in the southern hemisphere, when it's directly over the Tropic of Capricorn, those two speeds are the same. But on a flat Earth, that doesn't make any sense. How could they be the same on a flat Earth?
No, that is the old flat Earth that you're referring to, and I'm telling you, just throw it in the garbage. That AE model. Yes, I know you're saying that the Tropic of Capricorn has to move faster than the Tropic of Cancer. I do understand. Those are crazy explanations. Some of the flat Earth are giving that.
That has to be the case on a flat Earth, right? Because the GP of the sun is carving out a path over the flat Earth, is it not?
Where's your flat Earth? Where is it?
It's a flat conception. It doesn't matter where the continents are, or the cities are. It's just the only thing that we say is that it's a flat topography, right? There's mountains and valleys, but there's no curvature.
Right.
So we have a GP, right? Just take a sheet of poster paper and lay it on the floor, and we have a GP that's carving out a path over the flat Earth, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm telling
you. There's no way to make, other than to say that the sun is magic. There's no way to make it so that the speed of the GP when the sun is over the Tropic of Capricorn and over the Tropic of Cancer is the same.
You're not listening. I don't have much time, but you're just referring to that old AE flat Earth model and trying to understand.
Well, there's no AE here. We haven't put any continents on it, so there's no AE map. We just have a flat conception.
Because when you're saying that if it's going around like on those tropics, it has to move faster. You're just assuming that these tropics are circular trajectories. You're just assuming that tropics are circle.
Well, they're not. It doesn't have to be a circle. It could be any shape you want. But we know that it repeats in 24 hours, right?
It doesn't matter. Just because it comes in 24 hours doesn't mean that it's in a circle. I told you it's not a perfect circle. I told Michael in the first place. Yeah, it's not a perfect circle.
What shape of flat Earth will allow for the stars to rotate in opposite directions? That's what we're trying to get at.
It's not about the flat Earth shape. It's about the sky. The thing that is moving the stars in the sky is not about the ground. It's about the sky. It's about the toroidal field that is the top of us.
Kaz,
that is the reason.
Come on, you're now going everywhere.
What do you mean? This out the ground? What has to do with the ground? Ground has nothing to do with the sky. Sky has to do anything with the ground. So if you're seeing that these things are moving up there, it's not because of the ground. Don't try to relate it to the flat Earth.
No one cares what's moving, Kazra. Can you see stars rotating in opposite directions on your flat Earth from anywhere you stand on it? Star trails in opposite directions. Doesn't matter what shape it is. It doesn't matter what it's. Yes or no?
I think that I don't Gio is here. Gio, can you help with them with this? This rotation.
This is a simple question. This is basic 101 mechanics here.
He was saying Jack that you can't explain it.
That's a good explanation for that. For these,
yeah, we're like stuck in a really dumb loop with this Jack guy.
You guys keep assuming that he's talking about an azimuthal equidistant, like singular pole AE map, but he's referring to a two pole, a dual pole, which does incorporate a lot of these factors you guys are saying: the equator, star patterns, the northern-southern rotation, the northern-southern stars, 24-hour sun.
Well, saying that's one thing. That's just not accurate, though. That map. So, what is that map you're showing? Is that a flat plane? What is that? I mean, you draw. It's a bunch of lines on paper. Is it? What is it? A flat plane?
What do you think a map is?
What's the mechanism of the star trails rotating in opposite directions on this circular depiction you have at 3:55 a.m. my time, Gio, 10 minutes ago? What's the mechanism that allows it to rotate in opposite directions?
An electric field.
The electric field?
Yeah, magnetic electric field.
And so on a flat Earth, if you were standing at the South Pole, you should, in theory, be able to see both rotations occurring. You should be able to see the star trails spinning in the northern hemisphere based on the map you've shown, right?
You'll see half and half, yeah, just like you do. You'll see part.
Are there two suns in this model? Out of curiosity, because I can't tell from the.
No, but what I said, Gio, I said at the South Pole. I didn't say at the equator. The South Pole, you'd only see the southern star trails, right?
Yeah. But Kazra, the reason I was jumping in, I mean, I could talk about this, but I was just trying to clarify that a lot of the questions you guys were asking Kazra, I don't know if you know that he's referencing like a two-pole type layout. So you guys just kept seeming to link to like the single pole thing, and and then the way he was describing it. So I don't know, Kazra, if you said you had to go, or I was just jumping in for a second. Unless you said you had to step away, we could shift.
No, let's keep asking the same question for an hour straight. Let's do that.
These are
Thanks,
new
Kazra,
questions.
for taking questions, though, buddy. I appreciate it, bro. If you got to go. Don't let us keep you.
The thing about
Thank
a
you.
two pull. The thing about a two pull. Go ahead.
So we'll see you guys later. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
All right. Take it easy.
Yep. See ya.
All right. Yep. Cheers. No, but I mean the thing is that.
So where do one see a star moving in a straight line on your image? Where you have the two different patterns of stars circling around.
Who are you addressing, Stefan?
Geo posted an image of 955 with star trails, two opposite star trails. So where do you see a star moving in a straight line from east to west?
At the equator.
I'll just where are the suns on this? Just so I can. Are there two suns or one sun?
Just one.
Where does it orbit? If you had to describe the orbit.
It's circuits. Did you see that wild one I posted at 46 minutes after?
46.
I mean, this is basically the shape of an electric field circuit.
Those are two suns, aren't they?
26 months apart. It's just showing them both on the same image. You would get the 24-hour sun in Antarctica for 6 months, and then.
Can you put the sun over the top of the 355 so we can? I mean, the thing is, as soon as you explain star trails, we're just going to hit you up with solar stuff that doesn't work. So I'm not trying to bust anyone's butt or claim that we're going to change the argument. If you want to create something that now suits star trails in counterclockwise or in separate rotations, then we're going to go change the sun again. I mean, you can't have both. You have to pick an argument that works for everything. You would agree with that, I hope.
Not to mention the sun never changes size throughout the day, so that's another issue for flat Earth.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Oh, is it?
Great. Electric has nothing to offer. Let's just ignore him like we've been doing. Same arguments every night. Same derp.
No, you just like to lie.
Geo, can you put the sun over the top of
You
that?
tried to say that the sun's path, the TP of the sun's path is a straight line. That's a lie. You just lie all the time, dude.
Click on my video, and I'll play a video for you. You can explain it.
See, the globe has to lie. You guys just make.
Go ahead.
Stuff up
Hold
to
on.
say
Hold
that
on. Hold on.
The sun travels in a straight line. Hold on, dude. You guys have been talking a lot of bullshit.
Hold your tongue.
We lost any sense of the debate.
Click on my
they're
video.
crying and complaining that I have a rebuttal to their dumb claim. Wow.
You can explain yourself in a moment. Click on my stream. I'm going to show you a video.
You had all
and
the
then you can
time in
explain
the
it.
world to talk about it with Castro. Nobody gave a fuck. It was a dumb
We
argument.
weren't talking about the sun at that time, okay? We're not talking about the
No one
sun.
gave a fuck, dude. No one
Electric,
cares.
why do you come here if you don't want to at least have the back and forth?
I'm waiting for you to stop talking. I'm going to make a point. You keep.
Okay, I'm gonna make a point. You're gonna be quiet for a minute.
thank
So
you.
I'm showing a video of the sun with a solar filter on it that was taken by Red's Rhetoric about 9 years ago in Tampa Bay. What I did is I wrote a script in Python that put a circle, the best circle that it could find, in each frame of this video, which is about 4 minutes long, and it measured the pixel count of the sun through the solar filter. You know how you can tell it's got a solar filter on it? Because you can see sunspots. All right. Throughout the day,
it's
I'll
kind
start
of
it over very
pathetic to
quickly.
me that
Excuse
you
me.
guys
Be
can't
quiet.
reference the surface of the Earth to measure Earth.
7:26 in the morning
You're
was
pointing
when
to
the
all
first frame
directions
was.
away from the surface of the
7:27
Earth.
p.m. Oh, but you made a claim.
Why
You made a
can't you
positive
use
claim.
the Earth? Why can't
Hold on,
you use the
Electric.
Earth
Just
to
like you
prove
did
your point?
earlier,
Is there
you
still
made
a
a
mod
positive
here
claim.
to mute Electric?
I don't know. This is getting messy, and you guys are just jumping onto other things when there was a question that was on the table still about the sun. Wasn't that?
Electric hasn't offered any discussion. It's just yelling at people and basically insulting them.
I'm just trying
I'm happy
to
to get back. Right, I'm happy to get back,
to you.
Gio. I only wanted to address Electric's point that the sun does change. He said that that's a lie, specifically that the sun does change throughout the day. And so I took the opportunity to shut him down again because he contributes nothing. So I wanted to show a video that I did, which is my evidence that he cannot explain once again. It's a
It's not
very
your
similar
video,
thing
it's not
throughout
your
the night.
evidence. You just got done saying it's Red's Rhetoric. Everybody already seen that video.
Oh, but I
It's
drew
not
a circle
perfectly
around
straight
it.
line. It's not a perfectly straight line on the equinox. That would never happen in your globe model in the first place. So what you're saying is a lie. Now my question is, why can't
No, the
you
size
guys
of the sun does
reference
not
the
change
surface
throughout
of
the
the
day
Earth?
is my point.
Hold on, Icy Spin. I was saying something. Do you have ears? Thanks. So why
Electric,
can't you
stop
guys shut up, Jack?
insulting
I was in the middle of
people.
saying
He gave
something
you
and I
the
got
evidence you've
interrupted, and
asked
now I'm
for.
talking over you because you don't realize you shouldn't have been interrupted. Good for you. So anyway, why
Look,
can't
can we
you
just
guys
mute
reference
Electric? I'm
the
sorry, but he
surface of
offers
the Earth?
zero to this
Jack,
argument.
stop complaining. You're
I'm
acting
not
like a
going to stop
baby.
complaining, Electric. You're useless.
You're talking
You're
like a
irrelevant.
baby. Stop
He's that
complaining.
way on every
Irrelevant
server.
in
He
a scientific
literally does
discussion.
this all the time. Get rid of him.
Okay,
And
now
I'm
that
a
everybody's
Glober.
done complaining like children, listen close. I would like you to reference the surface of Earth curving as evidence for the surface of Earth curving. Until then, everything you're doing is just obfuscating from the idea that the surface of Earth is curving.
All right,
You
why are
don't
we
need to be
jumping
here,
off
buddy.
that?
You can
Just
just
hold on,
exit
why-
this stream and you don't need to be here at all.
Why are we derailing?
Yeah, but why
on
are
it?
you
We
here?
were talking about the sun path with this dual pole layout. Why
Exactly.
did we just jump to this other thing? Because that was
That's fine. I can retract it. I was simply
We've been talking about it for like an hour and a half,
what Electric
and these guys
said.
made no
He said that
valid
it's
point.
a lie that the sun changes size throughout the day, or he said that the sun does change size throughout the day. I was simply showing him that he's lying when he says that it doesn't. I'm sorry, that he said when he says that it does.
Yeah, you don't even
That's
got
all
the
I was
story
doing.
straight. You're literally saying it wrong. So
And
that's dumb.
Spin,
I'm saying it
Spin
wrong.
basically
It's
has
4
proof
in the
here.
morning, but yes, you know my
Yeah, it's
point.
2 in the morning, so maybe take a nap.
Spin's not just
right?
saying nuh-uh, Electric. He's actually brought something to the table, which you never do, ever.
Yeah, the sun
You
would
don't have
have
a
to change
single piece
angular
of
size
video
in your
evidence
model. Okay, you
or
want to talk
math.
about the sun? The sun would have to change angular size
Jesus
in your
Christ.
model. Matter of fact, it does change angular size. I know you don't like hearing things that
It
are rebuttals
doesn't
to your dumb
change, and
claims.
we don't
Hey,
predict that
Jack,
it changes.
the sun does change angular
Does
size throughout the
not.
day. Yes, it does. And you keep saying the wrong thing. I know you don't know your model. It's okay.
Oh,
You're
I know
gonna
the
learn.
model very well. You're looking at a picture of You're looking at a picture of a 24-hour sun, and you can't accept the fact
Like I
that
said, the
somebody has
angular size of
programmatically
the
and
sun
mathematically shown
actually
you're wrong.
does change throughout the day. The angular diameter changes with a solar filter. This has already been proven. You guys don't investigate your own stupid claims.
So where's
Okay,
your
how much?
where's your evidence?
Prove
Where's
that.
your
We don't
evidence?
investigate
Electric.
it. Why don't you
No,
actually
this
try
is
to take
change
the measurement
electric.
yourself? You'll find it to be the case.
Electric,
Or you
bring
just
up your
or you
evidence,
just squinting
please.
into the sky and not
Where's your
actually measuring
evidence,
anything.
Electric? Where's your
Yeah,
citation?
the evidence is go test the claim.
I did, and guess what? It
Yeah,
doesn't
lots of
change.
people test it. Well, no, you're
Electric, one
referencing a
person,
Glob's rhetoric video.
is 0.
one
And
person
the two
brought
Globers
stuff
just
to
hold on, stop
show,
trying to
and
talk at
one
the same
person
time.
says nuh-uh.
All right, two Globers talking at the same time is not a good thing. So you guys need to
You brought
learn how to
nothing.
take turns.
You brought nothing. You got
Red's
no
rhetoric
evidence.
video, what he's referencing is not about the angular size of the sun.
Then how come it
He has
doesn't
made
change
it.
size
He has
throughout the day?
made it about the angular size of the sun with his Python program that calculates in pixels. He literally has measured the angular size of the sun for you.
Yeah, that is actually pretty cool, by the way, Icy Spin, that you did that.
It's extremely cool, and Electric brings nothing but nuh-uh.
All right, let's just stop the fighting and bickering. So was this brought up because you were saying if the sun is doing this this two-pole motion over planar surface that it would change angular size, if distance change? Is that why it was brought up?
Well, I guess my concept of a flat Earth or an Earth that is not a sphere, I guess I would say, is that we would notice the sun changing size between 2 to 3 times throughout the day. It would be at its peak size at solar noon, and at sunrise and sunset, it would be at its peak smallest. We're saying sunrise, sunset, obviously liberally in this context because the flat Earth says that the sun just goes out of your visual perspective. I understand that. But with that being said, it would noticeably change size throughout the day. And I think even you would agree with that, Geo, and most other flat earthers. I haven't heard an explanation from my video yet. And that's
All right,
why I
I would
brought
add,
it up.
I'll
I
give
would
you
add one thing to what Spin says real quick. If the flat earthers would tell us the size and distance to their sun, not only could we calculate the exact difference in angular size throughout the day, we could generate it graphically and show, because it's not trivial. It would be like 20, 30, 40% different from morning till noon. That's the problem.
Okay, well, that's assuming that the sun is like a physical object. It
It
could
is,
be.
you're right.
Yeah, so it is assuming that. I wanted to post this real quick. This is if you want to talk about the angular size thing. This is a video that shows a couple different examples of like using collimated lenses, where one of them shows a light going like shining through a lens, and then it's projecting onto a sheet of paper. And as he pulls the paper forward and back, it doesn't change angular size. And then the one where he has his hand, there's like a light source, and he's moving his hand. But then the last one in that animation, which shows like it's like a contraption, it basically has a lens attached to it, and then behind that there's that like kind of orange looking circle, which is displayed on the device. And as he moves that whole thing forward and backward with the lens, it also doesn't change angular size with distance. So I'm not saying this is like 100% proof of anything. What I'm saying is that it can be replicated on the ground, that lenses can actually make it so that when you change something in distance, it doesn't actually change angular size. So if the sun had a lens in front of it, or there's a lens up above, or something involved like that in the sky, then it is conceivable over a planar surface that the sun would not change angular size and would actually remain the same size due to if it had any effect similar to this. So this just shows on a small scale that it can be replicated, an object not changing angular size with a distance change.
So, Gio, with all due honesty, you have no problem accepting all these what ifs or possibly coulds or whatever. But when presented with a model that works for all of this and evidence that shows it is a globe Earth, why is it that you're so quick to dismiss that and choose rather a what if or someone has shown with some weird contraption possibility?
Well, that was a loaded question technically, because I didn't say that I was dismissing anything, and I didn't do those things. It's a loaded question.
I
It's like saying-
apologize
it's like saying-
if you don't believe the Earth is flat. I'm sorry. We're not a
No,
globe.
no, it's fine. I'm just saying it's kind of a semi-straw man loaded question, but I don't think there is valid
Do
evidence.
you believe the Earth is a globe?
No, I don't think there is valid
Okay, then it
evidence.
really wasn't loaded, was it?
So the problem is that, yeah, but you're saying I'm dismissing. I'm not necessarily dismissing. I've considered all the evidences. If I have reasons that they're refuted, that's different than just dismissing, so there's reasons why. But yeah, I mean, the problem with that is that the Earth, we're trying to get to what the truth is. So even if the globe model has already been refined in certain ways that can explain things, if it's not the truth, it really isn't useful. And if the evidence isn't valid, then we have to continue. So I'm not trying to say I'm just instantly accepting that there's some lens. I'm just showing that on a small scale, the effect of not changing angular size can be replicated, which therefore means that it's not exclusive to a globe, meaning like, oh, the sun can't change angular size, therefore it's impossible. So what this shows is that it is possible, therefore, that
It's
explanation
assuming that
fine.
it's not a physical object, though. Don't you think that's a big assumption?
Not necessarily. The sun seems.
Why do you
much
say
more
not
like an
necessarily?
electrical.
Why do you say that? What could it be?
Well, it could be a lot of things, but it seems to be
Oh
like.
no, what can it be specifically? Not a lot of things. What can it be?
Could be a luminescent light of electrostatic nodal. It's like a nodal point of electrostatic emission.
Where does the electricity come from that's powering that? Energy.
I mean, where does it come from? The source of all being. I mean, what is the sun? You're asking. I mean, the sun in terms of like the electromagnetic field. I mean, what's interesting about the dual pole thing is that is how an electric circuit is formulated. So, like the idea, instead of the sun circling, the sun could be circuiting, and it's circuiting in the field lines of that electric field. Because when you have the two poles like that, it replicates like the northern half of a globe and the southern half of a globe when you have those two paths. So, if that's the case, the sun could actually be like a charge on an electric field line, and the sun is actually that charge or that focus point of the charge that is actually emitting along the field line.
Should we be able to measure this electromagnetic field?
Yeah, you can measure things. I mean, in terms of what going all the way up to the sky. Or are you just saying the
Yeah, but it's not. It hasn't been measured this far, though, has it? Another problem that pops up is the electromagnetic spectrum and spectroscopy of the sun. How does that work in your model?
Not to mention the sunspots that can be observed across the land, whatever you want to call it, and they're identical. They might be in different orientations, but we should see different sides. Even in your model, I think, Geo, you should be looking at different sides of whether it's the sun or the moon. You shouldn't be seeing the same face. Am I right?
No, you would still see the same face of it. I mean, because if it's not a physical ball that you're like, it's not a sphere in that case, so you wouldn't really be seeing like two sides of it. You would just be seeing the same luminary, depending on where you are.
And this luminary has spots that can be measured and can be tracked to be completing a rotation once every, 27 days or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, they would just have to be on a cycle.
Yeah, these are just you understand our questions. We're not trying to like. I mean, there's a lot of assumptions that are getting thrown out with the model I think that you're presenting. There's a lot of questions.
So, Geo, do you dismiss at least that? I'm curious. I'm not. Again, this isn't an accusation. When Glob Earth, when people say what the sun is thought to be, and they use they've bounced radar off the sun for the distance, and they've used spectroscopy for what it is, hydrogen, fusing hydrogen, and they show pictures through filters that show sunspots and a calculated rotation of those sunspots. Do you dismiss that, or do you just say that can all be right, but with a different explanation? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I would say the latter. The last part you said. Yeah, I'm not necessarily dismissing sunspots and the way that they cycle through through what we call the surface or the visual circle of the sun. Yeah, I would just say
and the spectroscopy and the distance. Do you at least acknowledge that or not?
That's kind of a whole field we could get into. There are some assumptions baked into like the distances that they claim, and with spectroscopy, so we could get into that. I don't necessarily accept. There are some assumptions behind. Like I don't necessarily refute the results that they're getting, but with that, yeah, it would be like the application of how that's being applied to like astrophysics. That I do think there's some assumptions involved in that put it into that model. Like the medium, for example, the medium of outer space that's claimed as to where.
And none of this shit is news. Like, this is how it would work on a globe. How not interesting. Like, can you guys actually think outside the box?
Why do you even come to these things, dude? You're not interested in anything.
I wonder why you're here. Why are you?
Because I'm interested. Because I am interested. So,
well, you're not presenting anything worth thinking about.
Well, for you, perhaps.
Yeah, you have all these ideas. This only works on a globe. This is the only way.
You have nothing to offer electric. Why do you keep doing this?
No, all you're saying is
your
it must
story
be a
is the
globe.
same
You're just
night in and night out.
That it has to be a globe. That's all you're saying, dude.
No, what we're saying
that's not
is
interesting.
Hey,
who cares that you think it has to be a globe?
Dude, can you
what
stop?
We're saying is,
can you stop? Electric.
Stop interrupting me, Jack.
Well, you're just causing you're trying to create like a shit show, I guess, or like a dumpster fire. Can we just have a normal combo? Like we don't have to interrupt and start like yelling and battering.
I am trying to have a conversation with these guys. I have been.
Well, he was asking fine questions. He's talking about a lot of these things like sunspots and spectroscopy, and if they're not the globe explanation, then what is the deal? Like he's asking, like, are you saying those don't exist, or is there a different explanation? And I'm saying I think there's a different explanation to what actually is going on, and I'm not denying the phenomenon. Like even like the quote unquote moons of Jupiter, they claim that those are balls out there millions of miles away. Well, another perspective on it is that they're luminaries and they're moving in their own cycles, and so the ones that they call moons are actually luminaries that are moving a little faster, a little slower, a little faster than Jupiter to make it go ahead of it and behind it, which is a different explanation than they're actually like balls that are going around each other. So I mean, he is asking about like that's just one example, but I'm saying the phenomenon, versus is it just a different explanation, or are you saying the phenomenon doesn't exist, like for sunspots and So I mean,
I'm just curious, how are these guys going to contribute to new progressive ideas rather than just saying it has to be a globe over and over again? It has to be a globe. Why is it not a globe? I don't care. I'm curious what you think could potentially be an alternative model. Like, can the Globers think outside their globe box for 1 second in their life?
I'll answer if you'll let me.
Hey, go ahead, Globtard.
So we're basically saying, and by the way, I haven't insulted you even once. We're saying that the globe Earth explains everything that you can observe and measure. Before you go off, and we're saying in return, you don't offer the same thing. So when you keep saying, well, why can't we have an alternate model? You could if you can explain the mechanics and the math. You can't. And so we keep asking why you would believe in something that you can't explain. That's an exact answer to your exact question.
Yeah, I can explain it all. What do you want to address?
Well,
my first question would be, well, I'll say somebody else, please go.
Well, I don't think I can. I wouldn't say I could explain everything that exists. I think that we need, a couple $100 million in a decade or two to really put it all together. That's what it would take. So I do think there's a lot of things that are not, fully able to be tested yet. The thing is that in terms of the Earth being a globe, there's just certain things it requires, like the curvature, the motion, and all of the evidence is when put together. So I mean, we could go on a whole discussion of all of those, but you're making it sound like there's just all these like shut in case evidences for the globe, but obviously many don't think that those are shut and closed cases. So,
Electric offered himself to answer questions. If not me, does somebody else want to ask? I've got questions. If it's not me, I'm happy to listen to anybody else.
I'm just saying, like, are you really okay? So if the folks that are saying that it's planar and stationary are correct, do you expect them to have, an entire replacement for every single thing with virtually no budget, with no budget? I'm saying if we're right, if the planar stationary is right in general, would you really expect, without hundreds of millions of dollars in a decade or two of actually research, to have a complete and total replacement to the one that already has had trillions of dollars put into it?
I'll answer your question. So you guys dismiss every photo from space. You dismiss that anything from space is real. You dismiss man's been to space. So take those $100 trillion or $100 billion or whatever you're saying and throw them out because you dismiss them outright. A. B. Someone calculated the circumference of the Earth and knew that it was a globe or a circle 200 years before Christ. So you don't need a budget. That's what we're saying. It's all around you.
I think what Jack is saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, is that we would expect at least one replacement for our model. If the model itself cannot be replaced, then this is the model.
Very fair.
Yeah, but is it the truth? That's the thing. So if the globe isn't the truth, then that model, in terms of the journey of getting to truth, is more or less useless, no matter how good it seems or how.
Isn't that just semantics, though, that you're playing with? Isn't that semantics?
It's not really semantics, but it is just sort of like hypothetical obviousness, in a way, just to say that if you were satisfied with that the Earth was a globe, obviously there's already enough mainstream support for that position. So I mean, you can go about your life without having to think more about it. But I'm saying, but if you are questioning, is it actually a globe? Then you're on some journey. So if you're then on that journey, you consider, okay, well, what if it is not the globe? Then you have to then you're essentially admitting that you don't really have the globe proven and that you're still looking for answers. And if that's the case, I don't know that you can expect that anyone so far has put it all together independently from the globe that we've all been taught without more money, more time, research that would be needed.
So then 100% genuine question to you. What do you not accept that it can't be explained by the globe model and math? I'm just curious.
Well, just 1 second real quick, Jack. I just wanted to address what he said. When you're saying truth, Geo, I think what we understand truth to be is something that makes predictions that come true in reality. We can, for example, predict eclipses decades in advance to the minute of the path of totality. That's a prediction that can be predicted by our model and comes true. Flat Earth does not offer that prediction. Therefore, truth is closer to the Earth globe model. It's as simple as that. Would you agree?
No.
So
No.
so how can we make these predictions that come true in reality and our model does not work?
Or if that it's not true, you're saying? That's
well, and truth again. We're talking about an exactness, right? I'm just talking about this is the best model that we have, and the reason is because it makes predictions in reality.
Yeah. Well, that goes into. I mean, I've been talking a lot. I can pull back if other people want to jump in because but the thing is that actually opens up a big can of worms because that's another topic. Like you're not talking about eclipses, and so that gets into the sky and how the sky functions. And the sky does seem to have like spherical. That's why it's referred to as a celestial sphere. All these things I've been posting are essentially like a stereographic projection of a sphere. So, like if you look at this image right here.
Well, but the path of the eclipse is not dependent on that. It's on the Earth. So it's not just the eclipse; it's the path of the shadow.
No, I know, but I
to
guess
be
what I was gonna get into. Let me just post this real quick. I hear you. What I'm saying, I'm not trying to say I can answer all of what he said in 30 seconds, because what I'm saying is it's a big topic. We'd have to have like 3 hours to kind of unpack it all. Because like what I just posted, all I was trying to say is that you have a sphere there, you have an azimuthal equidistant projection of the southern half of it on the bottom there, and then that vertical wall, that's a stereographic projection of the spherical coordinates. So what I'm saying is that they claim the sky is a sphere in the globe model, like a huge ball surrounding a smaller ball of the Earth. Whereas over a planar surface, that stereographic projection right there on the vertical wall essentially would be what's on the ceiling. Like you have the North Pole, South Pole, and the equator. So all I'm saying is that you have like the celestial sphere of the sky over a planar surface. It would be that stereographic two-pole projection of the coordinates of a sphere, whereas the globe actually claims it is a sphere. So now what I'm saying is that there's an overlap there between an actual sphere that surrounds a globe Earth and that stereographic projection. So you're talking about the eclipses in terms of their position in the sky. Then in terms of where they map over the ground, now we have to get into mapping and how the map is claimed to be with the latitude and longitude, which is related to the right ascension declination of the sky. So you have the right ascension declination positions in the sky, the latitude on the ground, and then we'd also have to get into the geoid, the ellipsoid, the coordinate system, the graticule, all of these factors to get into how they can predict eclipses like that, the way that they can. So I mean, the quick answer is that there's like certain geometries that are like overlap and intersect to where there can be certain assumptions made about the sky and the ground, and then it can still fit certain predictions. But the thing is are those predictions exclusive to a globe and actually make it predictive for a globe, or are those predictions able to be predicted on multiple, and therefore it is not exclusive to an actual globe? So that's the quickest way I can try to describe that quickly, because there's a lot of layers to get into in terms of how can they predict eclipses and claim it's a globe and it's also not a globe. And I'm saying that is possible to do because of the way the sky works, the ground works, and you and I have not been able to go out and validate every distance and every part of elevation on this whole realm. Therefore, like, you would have to go off some assumptions when they say we're predicting the eclipse with this, this, and that, and then it does at least match up with the where people are. You would have to take certain things for granted, in that prediction. And it's like, if there's overlapping geometry, they can still make that prediction while asserting it's coming from a globe model, even though it may not actually be coming from a globe, because there's the overlap in the geometries.
I see one critical flaw, though. You're showing basically how you can map onto a flat Earth globe coordinates. But what you're not showing is where's the math to predict the solar eclipse 20 years away on the flat Earth model.
Yeah, I think for that, you'd have to have the correct map of the planar Earth. So like if the controllers or the powers that be, if they already have the correct planar Earth, they would then be able to adjust it as they need to sell it as a globe. And the reason they would be is because they have the actual real planar map. So for me to give something like eclipse predictions on the ground, or anyone, doesn't matter if it's me or you or anyone, we would have to have the correct map of the entire ground and all the distances in the sky, to be able to do that.
Are you of the opinion there's a flat Earth map that's hidden from us?
Yeah, I think the controllers have the correct one. Yeah, of course. I think that they have the correct one, and they're hiding that. But, and then they've
where's the Pac-Man edge of this flat map? Because everywhere seems to be connected to everywhere in any direction, doesn't it? In the real world, as far as we can tell.
Well, I'm not suggesting any Pac-Mans, but I realize that what you're bringing up, that is if you're talking about east-west circumnavigation. Well, now this is another topic.
Who would maintain it, though? Is there a world organization? Because each government's unique, and of course, private industry is unique. So who would maintain the map, the known hidden map or whatever? Is it a world organization?
This has already been the case for hundreds of years. The Royal Society was not
letting
this map be public.
Gio,
listen
answer
close,
question?
Jack. I'm making a point. Why not try to listen?
Because Gio's
Royal
asking and answering questions, and you're butting in, as usual.
Close, Jack. Stop freaking out. Thanks.
This isn't freaking out,
so,
my friend.
The Royal Society.
So you've interrupted Gio. You've jumped in and interrupted two people again having a conversation.
Yeah, Jack, I'm going to say what I want to say without you constantly interrupting eventually. Right. So
you're going to interrupt other people, is what you're saying, and not respect their conversation.
All right, well, at this point, let's just let him respond, and then I'll respond after.
Yeah, Jack, shut up. Anyway, so the Royal Society has been hiding maps of the Earth for hundreds of years. You weren't able to navigate the entire Earth until just around a couple hundred years ago. So you're delusional. That's it.
Oh,
thanks for the interruptions.
Yeah, I would say I could really only speculate.
Says a man with no proof whatsoever. So, Gio, if you wouldn't mind continuing.
All right, whatever, Glob target.
All right, dude, stop all the insults, dude. We're just
he can't help himself.
Yeah, no, but doing that is it's just trying to instigate more chaos instead of just.
Well, that's what he wants, though, isn't it? Wherever he goes.
Yeah, all the interruptions is definitely helping, guys.
That's really all he has to offer, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that for this to be pulled off, this is obviously speculatory to some extent. I mean, as to how this would occur, but you have like the United States military, which is obviously a huge. I mean, they're the ones that published the WGS-84 through the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, which is essentially an intelligence agency similar to the CIA and the FBI. It's in the same kind of family of intelligence agencies. They're the ones that actually published the WGS-84, essentially for the whole world, the Globe coordinate system. Obviously, other countries are going to have their militaries and stuff as well, but the question is are those militaries all interconnected, and that they're not actually separate countries with separate militaries, and that there is a higher sort of order of control. When you have the United Nations and the Antarctic Treaty and all of these things where they do come together, and then brings in the space agencies too. So for this to be the case, then all of those major, space agencies and military industrial complexes of all these major countries would all have to be, at the kind of like highest level of compartmentalization. They would have to all be in coordination and essentially be like one corporation, as it were, that kind of disseminates.
Are you just counting like the Greeks and Copernicus and Newton? And I mean, are you just counting everything that came before the U.S. government?
No, I think those. I mean, whether those are even real people or not, those are characters in the historical narrative of it. Even if we say they're real people, they could have been also part of the same cabal as time has unfolded. But
there's only a handful of ancient books you can rely on, isn't there, Gio?
You're pretty rational, Geo, though. But you would understand why people find it crazy. Not crazy. I won't use that word. People find it so strange that you can have this this model and this math that makes sense right in front of you, while you would then have to stretch it to be a conspiracy and fictitious characters through time. And I mean, you understand, I guess, I hope you do, that to us, we don't understand what would be behind it or why, what would be the importance of denying it. Or, I mean, it seems as though this would have had to been, and by the way, what country can pull off any, country-based conspiracy, let alone global? I mean, all one has to do is look at the DMV. We can't even get that straight. So I'm asking you to at least understand why it's so odd for us to be able to follow that and believe in that.
I don't know. I guess that's up to you. I mean, you don't think people work together to hide information from the populace?
Of course they do. But you're talking about a global conspiracy, and then you're talking about characters having to be fictitious and planted throughout history. And my question was, again, what drives this necessity for this global conspiracy?
Well, I'm not saying all the characters are just fabricated. There's a lot of options, though, with each of them. They could have been real people whose information was changed later and adapted for an agenda. They could have been real people that were actually part of a family line or a similar group that's involved in all this. So I'm not saying just they didn't exist.
But what drives the agenda? What drives this conspiracy? Why the necessity to hide the quote unquote real or shape of the earth?
Well, that's a big question. I mean, I can give you. I mean, we're getting into somewhat speculation, but I mean, if you have a group of entities who want to control the populace and want to be in control, whether it's about money, there could be hidden land. If there's more land, then that would be one reason for them. I mean, are you just asking like why would they lie? Why would they even do this? I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons. Like
no. Obviously, governments have reasons to lie. I guess I'm getting at where do you go back in time when this could be a global conspiracy versus people didn't really travel or get around, and the idea of traveling to another country, yet alone leaders of those countries agreeing on a global conspiracy and sticking to it for centuries. Where does it start, and why does it start?
Well, I mean, dude, that's a whole story. I mean, there are pieces that we can be put together, like with the Jesuits, with the Freemasons. But let's just take like a really simple kind of example. Let's say that that it was more decentralized back in the day. And let's say I'm just gonna kind of you're asking for like an example. I'll just give one example. I'm not saying this is exactly the case.
Yeah, fair enough.
But if you have like yeah, but like that just as an example with like the Freemasonic network, I'm just going to give like just a movie plot example, just a hypothetical. If there was a group of people, Freemasons, and they were, able to travel freely between the lands to build houses, and that's, they were able to freely travel between the provinces and so on, so that they could, because they were the builders, they had to get their equipment across quicker. So just as a general thing, if those guys started like a fraternity coming together, this is just one example. I think it goes way back further than this, but I'm just saying. All it would take is for them to, and then let's say they didn't even come up with the Globe model. Let's just say that was already something that had been hypothesized and they kind of took it from someone. All they would have to do is be like, okay, there's this model that we can sell as a false model to the populace, convince them they're actually on a sphere, and then everything else that has come from that. Well, now they control our minds because they have us living somewhere that we're not. They control the outer space narrative. They control the financial with the space and the military industrial part. I mean, if you're asking me to like get in the mind of a psychopath, like why a psychopath would want to like take over the world.
Nobody back when you surmised that this started would have known or been talking about space or anything related to the industrial complex. So my question again goes back to, this had to be a very basic need to do this. I mean, we're talking about, when would this have happened? 1400, 1200, right? I mean, what was again, I'm not naive. Governments lie, but this is different than that. This is a global conspiracy that, for example, when Elon Musk or SpaceX or NASA or anybody shoots a rocket, are they really launching the rocket? And if so, are they destroying it, or what are they? I mean, is all this for show to continue the quote unquote false narrative? Do those things really happen, or are they fake?
Well, on the basis that all the aeroplanes that ever take off are chartered and carefully monitored and don't seem to go anywhere off what our realm, maybe this is how the Jesuits get to their other realms.
I mean, I honestly find it hard to believe that, like China, right, especially like communist China, North Korea, right, all of these countries who would have the evidence, right, who would know that they're all just like part of this.
Iran even put an object in space. They would love to hang us out to dry. So my question goes back to though: are the space shots faked, or are they at least real, but they somehow either destroy or rerouted out of sight? I'm just curious. I'm not. I promise you, I'm not. I want to understand because I want to understand. I mean, it's a genuine need to or desire to understand. If you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, those would be like akin to a magic trick where they're sort of, sleight of hand. They're showing something that isn't actually happening to bolster the Globe model.
You can go watch a launch tomorrow. You can go watch the next SpaceX launch in yourself, and it can't be faked in person. I hope you would agree that you can't fake that type of, that's not a projection.
Well, there's objects going up in the sky. Yeah, the question is, are they actually going outside of a globe Earth and free falling around a ball?
Where do they go after they go high enough that you can't see them?
Just speculation. They could pick it up with another craft, or the object would come back down to the ground.
And they do track them all the way to space. By the way, you've seen the tracking cameras they have nowadays. I assume they track it all the way, almost like literally to orbit.
And their cameras on the fucking rockets now too.
That too.
Yeah, but it's their cameras. It's their cameras.
Well, they transition though. They transition from the low altitude footage, and then they usually transition to some other.
No,
those rockets are enormous in size as well. So I mean, capturing one up in the sky would be really difficult.
Yeah, I've seen continuous footage from launch to like orbit.
Hey, Gio, I'm going to head out. Jack, Gio, Electric, anyone else I spoke with, appreciate the conversation. Thanks for letting me share screen too, Gio.
Okay,
yeah, man. Yeah, cheers.
Stuff tonight, Spin. See ya.
All right. Bye.
But yeah, Gio, this uninterrupted footage, like of SpaceX rocket going from launch to orbit.
Yeah, Gio, I'm really honestly not. I promise you, there's no motive here. I'm just trying to understand you. You can watch any of the launches you want to. If you wanted to, you could. Have you ever watched a launch just to see what's like, not just 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there, but have you ever watched, for example, SpaceX is revolutionizing because of the camera and telemetry that they do. Have you ever watched one from start to finish?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it doesn't interest you, but have you? So you have, okay.
No, I didn't say it didn't interest me. I'm familiar with. I mean, are you referring to watching it from the ground, or or just the footage they give
I mean, you could do that too, but I'm talking about like the camera footage on board is uninterrupted all the way to space, and I'm curious if what you thought of that. I mean, is that just CGI?
Well, which one are you referring to? I guess you'd have to post it. We could look at it.
I mean, you could find a dozen of them readily available. Any of the super heavies, they were completely. I think the when they launch satellites almost every 2 weeks, those are all on board too.
Okay, well, I mean,
I'm not trying to nail you down with a specific thing. I'm simply saying if you wanted to look, you would easily find something.
Yeah, but I've never seen anything that's compelling that actually looks like authentic footage from leaving the ground, and actually footage all the way to what they call outer space. There's always a cut, and they shift a different setup.
They change vehicles from, say, the booster to the Starship, but even Starship, I mean, maybe they're not posting the one you'd want to see, but they go up pretty damn high even before they interrupt, right? And so the assertion that they're either catching it or rerouting it or something like that, and that's extremely difficult. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, no, they can show an object going up to high altitude and then switch it to another footage, like another.
So, do you believe there's a dome or a physical barrier?
I don't think there has to be, but there could be. I haven't been to that altitude, obviously, the extremely high altitude to check that. Myself, I don't think any human has.
Oh,
so, what do you make of all this impending space tourism? How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, they've been saying that for years. You're talking about like civilians being able to go up.
Yeah. I mean, I think the trouble is there is an inherent risk in traveling to space, and it's doubly so for a flat earther because when they come back down, they might be accused of being a woman or vaping in the wrong place, or worse still, change their mind. I mean, the risks are incalculable virtually.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like if you guys like thought that space was for sure real and that there was going to be independent space travel, you would probably just figure like that everyone else who thinks the Earth is not a globe would eventually fall into line once civilian space travel happens, right? So wouldn't you just
I believe
you're active in the convos, which I mean I understand you're interested in it, but wouldn't you just be like, you know what? They'll figure it out once the space travel is civilian, and so
Well, that's fine if
people that are
that's
wrong,
fine if your opinion was your own and you kept it in your head. But people go online and they raise their kids to believe in flat Earth, and they want to put flat Earth books in school, and they want to question. I mean, this is real. This isn't fake. So the minute you then start trying to make it equivalent to science, that's where science people get upset.
I mean, it's an interesting point. I mean, I'm always of the opinion, I always have been, that space is real. You can go there, and I've seen all the footage, and you know, there's and on my own personal working experience tells me there's things in orbit. But alongside that vehement, you know, corroboration is in my mind's eye. It's like Antarctica. I've always believed there's a 24-hour sun, and I've seen all the footage, and I've always heard people say there isn't a 24-hour sun, and all the footage is crap, looped and edited, therefore it probably doesn't exist. And this is exactly analogous in that sense. The people have moved on. There's a whole smorgasbord of things in the world where there is evidences, and people don't like them. There is photographic and video evidences, which they summarily pick apart, even though they're not necessarily not qualified to pick them apart properly, and they vehemently believe things that the rest of the world doesn't believe. And space is just like 24-hour sun and Antarctica, as far as I'm concerned. There's no difference. There's a millennia of back history of people saying, all right, okay, measuring this, measuring that, coming up with conclusions. And there's a contemporary group of people who are saying, no, this is all fake. It's one enormous organization to deceive us. They control everything, but somehow, for some reason, they have to also tell us the shape is different to what we think what it actually is to control us more. None of this makes any sense. The only thing that does make sense potentially is my book here says it's flat, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make every other book fit this book. Now that makes sense. That I can understand. But all this nonsense about, oh, the Chinese and the South Koreans and the ancient Greeks didn't exist, and Copernicus was an actor, and it just, you can go on and on doing this into everything, and you can be shown any number of things, and the gaps will get smaller and smaller, and people will still stick with this rhetoric. And it's bewildering why they do, unless of course you frame it in them trying to dismantle a reality that doesn't comport to their spiritual beliefs. Then it all makes sense.
Are you religious, Geo? Does any of this align with religion, or is this purely outside of religion?
I wouldn't call myself religious. No, spiritual. I wouldn't really use the word religion for my view on things.
I appreciate you answering questions, by the way. I'm tired, so I'm not going to ask anymore. But thank you for not getting in a fight and being able to take questions and answer them.
Yeah, man. It's all good.
Much appreciated.
Geo doesn't get in fights. Geo doesn't get in fights. Geo's intellectually honest.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what matters. We can have differing opinions. I mean, again, we might differ on where we can go with these. But for instance, Geo, I fully believe that, and I don't mean to insult you, but that you're denying what's right in front of you, and you can, if you wanted to, there's proof everywhere. But I'm not going to discount your, it's your own mind to make up.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I've looked at a lot of the, everything available essentially that is claiming the Earth's a globe. So, I mean, you're saying it's all around. I know what's out there. I mean, I can't say that I've looked at every single same thing you have, or vice versa. But I mean, you're claiming like it's just a shut and closed case, as if the evidence for the globe is just so overwhelming.
Well, no, I'm saying that the stuff you're saying is possible is like maybe could it be? Yes, but it's not really practical, and there's really no practical model that works, and there's really you have to really stretch everything to the nth degree for it to not be. So it seems as though why you would go through all that when, I mean, why don't the flat earthers believe in they believe in particle physics? They believe that there's electrons, and they believe that there's when you go to, for example, a doctor and he wants you to get some kind of procedure that involves some kind of scanning technology, why not question all of that? I mean, why are some things so easy to believe that you can't see, you can't model, like a ball with water on it? That's the big famous one. But other things are so are not, they don't fit that same critical think, I guess.
Well, I think a lot of people question other things as well, but I think there's true things and there's not true things. So, I mean, an MRI machine is real. It doesn't mean the Earth is a globe. See, the level at which
that's not what I said, though. I said basically technology, and I didn't just say MRI. There's plenty of other imaging technologies besides magnetic resonance. My point is only that why not deny all of that science too? Why is one field of science completely plausible that it's a global conspiracy, but everything else, even if you can't see it, is flat out accepted?
Well, I mean, those are just different categories. Like, for example, you could say a contradiction in medicine, like, oh, someone's saying if they get in a car accident and they're okay with, them putting plates in your legs to put your legs back together, but they're not okay with vaccines. Just because Big Pharma is giving both treatments, vaccines and emergency treatment, doesn't mean that they both have to be accepted. So, like, just because MRIs are correct or, chemistry is real, et cetera, doesn't mean that the Earth is a sphere. So I hear what you're saying. Like, it would be discernment. Like, okay, this area is false, this area is true. And I think it could be.
I'm not arguing though that it supports the
fields,
shape. I'm just arguing that science is science, right? Like you're basically saying that everybody that went for a physics master or doctorate or anybody that's a rocket scientist or satellite engineer or astronomer or astronaut or pilot that's flown high enough, commercial or military, that they're either lying about what they see or they're in on it.
No, not necessarily. Each one of those fields is different. I think very few are actually.
Every one of those fields believes the Earth is a globe with 100%. There's not a single. You will not find a single doctorate or physicist with a higher degree that will tell you that the Earth could be flat. Not one.
Yeah, but
Not
I know
one.
that if any of those people came in to debate us, they would probably not even be able to keep up with a lot of people in this who have been in this community for years in terms of being able to actually debate it. So I mean, there's
because
a whole thing
they're
with the
debating
globe
pure
that's been
science, pure
sold.
fact. That's not what you find here.
Well, then
You
what
don't find a
science is
debate
there
about
that it's a sphere?
So a person a physicist is what I'm trying to tell you. They speak at a level that I would never even dare. Every flat earther thinks they're going to debate a physicist.
Yeah,
They
you're
did
actually
not-
afraid of engaging with
They
my
did not
question.
go to school. They did not get a degree, yet alone a higher degree. I mean, the lack of hubris there, is that not astounding to you?
You avoid engaging with my topics like the plague, dude. You've been
Well,
avoiding
how does that person who's a PhD physicist, how have they verified it's a globe? Let's go to them, because I know they're just a person. Like if I were to call you and I like the civilian class, meaning we're not, we're in the civilian class. We were born, we were given a social security number,
Fair enough.
stamped, So if we're at the civilian level, we have access to certain limitations, and they do as well. So what have they done to confirm it's a globe? Because they would be in here with us.
The question is, what do you accept as confirmation? Every physicist would be able to calculate it, and they would believe that they would accept the shape of the Earth and the mechanics of the solar system based on that math and observations that have been done over time. They would also believe the pictures that they've seen themselves. They would also believe the Coriolis effect that can be seen with the naked eye and why it happens. They would believe in gravity. They could measure it. I mean, you're basically saying, why would they, all the things that they learn and they can't prove 100% all of them because they haven't been to space to physically see with their own eyes. They have no reason to question it because none of the math works in the other way. None of it does. So again, you're saying these people, so either they are lying or they're part of the conspiracy. It can't be anything other than that.
No, well, they could, and I don't say this to be rude to anyone who believes it, but they could be fooled. Meaning that
What about
there's certain
astronauts
assumptions
that
baked
have been to space?
Okay, they would
Are
have
they-
to be in on it. Yeah, they would.
Okay.
Yeah. The ones
what,
claiming to
and
be
what about
astronauts, yeah.
military pilots that have flown spy planes and things high enough to see the curvature?
I mean, most of them would not be in on things. But I mean, some maybe at the.
They'd
highest
have to
level.
be. They're seeing it with their own eyes.
There's only 29 astronauts that will actually say that could be lying. They only went high enough. That's the only amount that can say that the Earth is a ball.
Every single person that's been to the ISS can see with their own eyes
No,
what the
they
shape of the
can't.
Earth is.
I already told
Yes,
you
they
this.
can.
Yes, they
I
can.
told
What
you
you're
this.
saying is 100% bullshit.
Oh,
They're
really?
going literally around the Earth,
Well,
man. They
I
can
was
see
the
the
one that said
curvature.
it. Go tell that planetarian director is the one that said it. Go tell it to his face. Tell him that
So
he's
you're
wrong.
taking one person who you keep quoting that you've never.
It's
You're
it's
taking
your
one
math
person versus
construct.
every other person ever in history that's been there.
It's your math, bro.
How many people you think been to space?
That have visited the ISS or have been in a shuttle mission?
Yeah, you have
Hundreds.
no idea. Yeah, you don't
Hundreds.
know.
Hundreds, ass face. Hundreds. I'm giving you a number, so don't tell me I don't know.
It's just an arbitrary number. You don't even know who the people are you're claiming went there.
Fine. How many have then? Are we going to go back to this conspiracy bullshit? How many?
You
Five,
say
three,
100. You say more
one?
than 100 people went to the ISS. Do you even know who you're referencing?
I'm saying more than 100 people have been in space. Yes.
Yeah, you just say whatever you want, man.
It's coming from the guy who believes the Earth is flat and has offered zero evidence ever in any of these things I've been in. You are the jabbering fool.
I never
All right,
claimed the Earth to be flat at all. Yeah,
not do
and
that.
you've been avoiding all my questions all night. I'm waiting for a chance to.
I'm
for you to
avoiding
engage.
you in all night.
Yeah, I
Forget
know.
your questions. You have no purpose. I said you're irrelevant 2 hours ago. You have
You wish,
zero
dude.
relevance here.
Yeah, you're literally afraid. Typical.
Alex, you can improve your behavior. Maybe then we'll engage with you.
Well, dude, it's definitely a big thing to wrap your head around, like, because there's a lot of questions coming up and a lot of different topics, and it's like giving like one sentence responses to some of them that are like huge things that could be discussed in more detail. But I just wanted to say, like, overall, to me, like you think it's a big leap, but I don't think it is. Like for a group of entities who are very power hungry, when we were talking earlier about like World War I, setting up the Federal Reserve, the World Bank system, and then the Great Depression. They demanded everyone turn in their gold at the end of the Great Depression, so the currency, and then World War II. And then after World War II, there's this kind of control system to where they then end up United Nations and NASA and everything gets launched after that. So, because you were asking about this before, like how could there be this grand conspiracy? But if you have a group of entities that are dead set on convincing people of lies and of things that they won't be able to validate for themselves, or to put them into a false paradigm, then all they would need is a mathematical model and enough control over the propaganda and the news and these factors to pull this off. So I don't think it is a very big leap. I mean, hiding the map, hiding the maps and what the world is, hiding the maps and what the world is would be what anyone in control would do. Like that's like one of the main things.
I don't. That's not true. First of all, but also everything you brought up was Western. What about the Chinese? What about the Russians? What about Iran, Pakistan? What about India? What about other countries that have they don't give a rat's ass about our religion and our government and our philosophy and way of life? They don't care. They never.
How
have.
do you know who's at the very top? Who's at the very top of the Chinese government? Let's say their military at the very highest levels. How do you know that they are not one in the same group with those that are at the highest levels of the United States military? That they're actually on the same team?
If there's no how do you know or conspiracy you're not willing to entertain, then this entire exercise is really futile.
Well, I'm saying, how do you know that they're not connected?
How do I know the moon is not made of cheese? I've not been there. Even though the physics doesn't support it, I can't personally say I know 100% it's not made of cheese. I don't ever entertain that as a possibility, though.
Well, let me actually ask you this question. Okay, let me ask you this. So it is a hypothetical. So for you, if the Earth, it's hypothetical for you because I'm saying if the Earth isn't a globe, if it is planar and stationary, okay, just for a moment, just consider if that is the truth. Do you think that there would have to be some kind of a cabal or a group involved, just if the Earth isn't a globe?
So if the Earth is not a globe, and my dumb high school self would ask several questions. First question I would ask is, how is it that the sun rises and sets? Not goes far away and comes back and forth, because there's no limit to how far you can see. I can see the moon and it's 250,000 miles away. I would ask, why can I see the sun lighting up clouds in the early morning and late in the evening? I would ask why I can see a ship disappearing over the horizon. I would ask why I've seen. Again, you're going to interrupt, Electric. I would ask why I've seen photos from high enough up where I can clearly see the curvature, even in commercial airplanes. Right? And there's a dozen other things There's a dozen other things that, as a high school graduate, I would ask that wouldn't add up to a flat inner Earth.
Okay, I hear you.
This conversation.
Yeah, like I let you say the whole thing. I hear you. However, it doesn't really address what I was asking, because you were actually asking how could there be a cabal or an organizing group, as it were. Like how could the Chinese military be connected to the United States military?
No, I kind of preempted your question.
I understand those other things.
Your question makes no sense if it's not true.
No, my question is this, though. I know you were saying there's all these other things you have questions for, sunsets and all that. We could go into those. What I'm just trying to ask you is, if the Earth isn't like right now, you're saying there's no cabal. There's no way there could be, nowhere there could be.
No. Don't misrepresent. What I said is that if there was, and they said tomorrow, here's the shape of the Earth, me and my high school education would say that can't be. So just that knowledge alone precludes me from thinking about a cabal of and the lies about the shape of the Earth. If I get to that point when I can't, it doesn't rationalize. Like it's not physics and mechanics don't prove that to be true to my eyes.
All right. Well, you went a different. You just couldn't do the hypothetical because we could go.
Okay. I promise.
I'm not trying to debate it. I guess I'm more. What I'm trying to say is that if you're saying there's no cabal, or I'm just using the word cabal, there's no organized group.
Yeah, I get.
Let's say. So what I wasn't trying to go into all those other things. But I'm just asking, if the Earth isn't a globe, just that one thing that it's not a globe, does it imply that there would essentially have to be some level of organization on that level? The militaries, the space agencies, etc., would all be working together? That's my question. Would it flip it from?
Yes. If you're going to deny all the evidence, then there would have to be, because that means every picture, photo, movie, it's all video, it's all fake. Every moon launch, every rocket launched, all fake. So there are no satellites, yada yada. Yeah. If that were all, if I would accept that that's true, then it would have to be a conspiracy.
Okay. All right.
But that means zero in my world of practical, logical, mechanical, high school math and high school physics. Again, you can't have a question like that when you can walk out the door as a 7th grader and ask 3 questions that would prove the Earth isn't flat.
You should be less condescending, seeing as how you're like brand new here and you don't even know the basics.
I'm wondering why you can't launch.
Are you talking me being brand new here?
Why can't you launch?
What did I say that's outside of the basics? Educate me.
Well, I mean, you should have arguments if you know all the size of it for a flat Earth, for all those things you said, boats over the horizon, sun setting.
I've asked in this. Hey, I've been here several weeks. I've asked every one of the questions I said tonight. Not a single person has given me an answer for one of them. Not a one. Electric goes off on his ranting tangents, and it goes into something about you globers or you globe talkers.
You don't know what I said because every time
I have asked this
question,
question,
you try to interrupt. You have no idea what I was
You're literally interrupting him now, Electric.
We could go.
Jack is doing fine, I think.
I just don't know what rule I'm breaking when I've asked straightforward questions with no answer.
Yeah, but I mean, they've been told you that you can't even see from 50 miles, and you keep thinking that it's possible because you saw it one time in a video.
No, I'm saying it because when I watch a plane fly at 30,000 feet and fly away till it disappears, not goes out of sight, but it disappears because it gets angularly tiny and disappears. It's hundreds of miles away. Also because I can see the moon, which I accept at 250,000 miles away because we have bounced things off the moon. So when there's other facts that say I can see further than you're saying I can see, and I reject flat out that I can only see 50 miles.
The distance to the moon?
Because we have bounced lasers off the moon, we have bounced
you
radar
have?
off.
You
Hold
and
on,
who
we have
else?
bounced. So we get back to this. Okay, so if we're going to say only things we've touched with our own hands or experiments we've done, and anybody here that's not an astronaut or a working physicist needs to get out and shut the fuck up.
Well, you gotta
Nobody
stop
knows
saying.
what
You
they're
gotta
talking
you gotta say
You're
there
making
are
claim. Hold on,
people
dude.
who
Hold on. Hold
have.
on, dude. What you're
Yeah,
saying,
dude.
what I'm saying is, you're making claims to things that you can't test or prove or validate yourself.
And once again, we fall back to your defense is nuh-uh because you didn't do it yourself.
Yeah,
You're
the
denying
thing is, your
science.
your defense to your claim is that they did it, therefore it's
So
true.
let me ask you
Have
this
you been
then.
to China, Elbow? Have you been to China, Elbow?
Doesn't matter. But if I need to
No, it
actually,
does. No,
if I
wait.
have it, then put it like
Yeah, I'm
this. If
going
I need
somewhere
to,
with this.
hold on,
Can you
shut up,
please
dude.
answer?
Shut up. I said I
Elbow
have
was
it,
going
but if I
somewhere with
needed to
this other guy.
validate
Let
that
him
China
go.
was true, I could actually freaking book a trip to go to China. You can't book a trip to go measure the fucking moon.
Yes, you can. You can buy equipment to bounce radio signals.
Are you going somewhere with other guy? You don't have to let this
You can
guy
also
derail
bounce a
you.
laser off it if you go
Hold on
to
a second, man.
university. It has the
Hold on.
tools.
Hear me? Elbow, were you going somewhere with this guy or?
I mean, the guy's pretty much pointless. You can go ahead, Jeremy.
I'm saying I didn't want to let the other guy derail you, but go ahead.
Yeah, you can't actually validate locations, bro. Now, all you have is because they did something, but you can't validate that. You got to take it. You got to accept it like a religion.
You know, honestly, I can't listen to another person tell me science is religion. Elbow,
No,
with all
science is
due
not
respect, hold
religion.
on, Elbow. With all due respect, what evidence do you have to show that you can only see X amount of miles or kilometers or
Now
whatever your
you're
distance
trying to
is?
reverse the burden of
I'm
proof.
asking you the
You're
same thing you
trying to
asked
reverse the
me.
burden of proof
No,
about
I
what
gave
I
you
can
two
see. What
proofs that
I'm
you don't
asking you is
like.
to actually
Elbow, I
validate your
gave you two
claims.
proofs that you
Stop.
don't like.
Oh,
No,
guys, we gotta
you
go one
gave
at
me
a
no
time.
proof. All you gave me is
I gave you two proofs that you don't like, and I
you
simply
have no
say,
proof.
out of
All you have
respect,
is
Guys, we gotta
claims
go
Stop
one at a
without
time.
overtalking.
Zach,
validation.
Elbow,
I
Elbow,
can't
hold
let
do
on.
him
the same
finish.
in reverse.
Guys, we gotta go one at a time, please.
Out of respect, why can't you give me two proofs to prove what you're saying? I've given you two. You don't like them.
Again, you didn't give me any proofs. All you gave me was claims, and you can't validate those claims. That means that
I
you
can. If
have.
you give me 5 minutes,
Now
I'll
you're
bring you.
interrupt.
Elbow, if you give me 5 minutes, I'll give you the study and
Please
the
don't
evidence.
interrupt, Jack. Please. Let him finish.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear anything.
No, he wants to finish his sentence, and we can't hear anything because you're interrupting. Please let him finish.
You gave me two claims that you cannot validate. You also are saying that you're strawman and saying that we believe science is a religion, which it's not. We don't believe science is a religion. You have no science. You have no scientific evidence. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it's just hearsay. You think somebody did something, so you're here telling us that we did it. I was there with him.
You ever heard of Hitchens razor?
Occam's razor, you mean?
No, Hitchens razor. There's another one.
I have not.
And Hitchens razor says anything that could be presented without evidence could be dismissed without evidence. I don't have to. I don't have to prove something that is wrong if you haven't proved it that is right to start with.
As long as you come from fairyland and ride unicorns, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. You have fairyland and believe that it's true, but you
So,
haven't proven the
Elbow,
fairyland yet.
Please don't
let me
interrupt.
ask you a
Please,
question,
Jack, please
Elbow.
let him finish, though. Were you done, Elbow?
Jeremy, he finished. Elbow, if I bring
He
you
didn't
the, if
finish
I
when
bring you,
when you started talking. He didn't finish.
you know
Elbow,
what?
were you done?
I'm done with this, guys. This is pointless.
Run away, run
Elbow, were
away.
you done?
I'm not running anywhere, but this
Guys, please
talking
You
let
back and
ran
forth is
all night.
pointless.
You ran all night.
Can we just let Elbow finish his thing? Jack interrupted him very rudely. Elbow, were you done?
I mean, pretty much he interrupted at the end of my sentence where it was I was almost done, and you know, he
Okay.
missed the last part. I bet you can't repeat what I said.
Well, say, can other people participate?
Yeah, everybody can participate, but I mean, everybody got to take one at a time.
Cool. Elbow. So I think there's a problem with like your epistemology. You know what epistemology is, right?
We're not talking about epistemology, man. We're talking
I'm
about
asking.
what evidence is there that he could give us were his claims, and he is not giving us any evidence. All he's doing is claiming shit and not providing any evidence for it.
Well, you're the one who's claiming this is not the case, that we don't have any evidence.
No,
Even though
I'm not
people
claiming
have been, Jack have been telling you evidence, like video footage, and somebody posted in the chat
So you
actually some time ago. Wait, posted video footage, uninterrupted video footage of a rocket going from launch to orbit. Right, that's one evidence there in the chat.
again,
If you
you're
scroll up.
not going high enough.
No, yes, there is. You can
No,
see.
Yeah,
Like,
where did you see a rocket orbiting?
It's in the video footage there. You can
Yeah,
scroll
it's
up
not
in a
going
chat.
high enough to go in orbit, man.
Scroll up in a chat, my guy.
No, I got video footage of the Sasquatch, man. You want that?
I have
Oh,
video footage of giant robots coming to Earth and destroying cities. I
Oh,
have
okay. So,
video footage of giant aliens coming and hovering over cities and shooting giant lasers and blowing
oh,
the
okay,
shit up.
okay.
And it looks way more real than anything NASA has ever put out.
I see. So, video footage is now not evidence.
I mean, if you want to accept that if you want me to accept that as evidence, you're gonna have to accept my Sasquatch.
So again, video footage is not evidence to you?
So are you gonna accept my Sasquatch as evidence? My video
No,
footage of Sasquatch?
no.
Oh,
No,
so
it
then
could be
I could
fake
just
Because
news.
yours then.
It could be
there's
fake
reasons
news,
why.
the evidence.
Okay. So there's reasons why I would not accept like evidence of like cryptozoology animal, right, or some shit, right?
Yeah, so that's the
For
same
which we
thing
have no
with
evidence of it
video
existing,
footage
like
of a fake ass.
in the hello, I wasn't finished. Hello, like on the contrary though, like the giant squid. Yeah, I would accept footage of that. And in fact, Discovery Channel did something like this because and the reason why it would be believable is because we have evidence of markings on like whales being attacked by some tentacle thing that has like the biting the circular sort of biting marks. I don't know if you've seen this, right? Like
Look, there's
it's
more video footage of
but
Sasquatch.
bro, bro, I'm
You're
still
rambling, bro. You're
no,
rambling.
I'm
You're
explaining
rambling.
to you
You're
why I'm
rambling. No, you're rambling because
okay,
there's
bro.
more
Now you're gonna
evidence of Sasquatch than there is of
Jeremy
Glob.
says don't interrupt.
yeah, right. Don't
I mean,
interrupt.
but he's monologuing.
Yeah,
I'm not.
no,
I'm explaining to you
let's
why. I'm
all go at
explaining
one
to you.
time, and then let's not monologue. Also, though, make your points
Sure.
concise and pass the mic.
Yeah, right. So I was explaining why I wouldn't accept the footage of Sasquatch, right? But I would accept the footage of like the giant squid, right? And rockets going to space because right? It's we have footage of these rockets being launched, right? We have people going there on these rockets, right? There's like more
Okay.
evidence than just that.
Nice. Can you validate
So
that?
the
Because
curve is too far.
all I see is rockets going up to the sky, and then that's it. You can't see them going to space. Now,
No, they come back down to Earth.
again, where I mean, like I said, you were trying to say that you want to set video footage for Sasquatch, but there's more video footage of Sasquatch than there is of people taking video footage of a globe.
That's not true at all.
That's 100% true.
It is
What are you talking
100% bullshit. There's thousands of hours of the Earth from space. Thousands of hours.
Nah,
Tens of thousands of hours.
Where's the tens of thousands of hours? Can you please put them up?
It's a live
The
stream
IS
on fucking.
The ISS has a
Again,
24-hour
you can't
feed of
validate
orbiting
that.
the Earth. So
What do you
we're
mean you
back to
can't?
nuh-uh. We're back to nuh-uh.
Yeah,
You
like
say
you have
something,
no.
you don't like proof, and you're
You
nuh-uh.
can't validate it, man. You cannot.
What do you mean? Can
have
you? Okay.
not seen this gun. You can't go up there and actually validate this for yourself.
Yeah, validate that China exists. Validate that North Korea
Yes,
exists. Go ahead.
I could take a trip to China, my friend.
Well, do it. Go ahead. Until you do, you
If I
don't know.
wanted to, I could.
No, but according to your logic, until you do, right, you have no reason to think it
If
exists.
that what I'm saying is not analogous.
Although, do electrons exist?
It's not analogous because
Do
again,
atoms exist,
why
Elbow?
you keep asking me questions, dude?
Can
I'm
we
trying to
please
answer
let
for your
Elbow finish?
It's not analogous because a trip to China can be done by anybody here.
How do you know?
Because anybody could do this, bro.
How do you know? Have you tested it? Do you know
Because
that?
we
You know they will
can,
get.
bro.
Well, how do you know it's not
This is
CGI?
Because if you think it's CGI, you could book a freaking trip, my friend. You can.
Well, how do you know
this
you can
yourself.
go there actually?
Holy fuck, bro! Like,
This is what the flirts say. This is exactly the same
This is
argument.
your logic.
China right now.
No, it's
This
not.
this is your logic, Elbow.
It's not.
Verify the
There's a
ISS.
difference. If you can't understand this, you're definitely in the wrong place, man. If you can
No.
actually logically understand that you cannot book a fucking trip to the ISS, and I could book a fucking trip to fucking China, you're definitely gonna understand that it's non sequitur, bro. It's a fucking non sequitur
But
whatsoever.
by your logic, until you do that, you don't know that it exists. That's your epistemology, and it's stupid. That's why I have a problem with it.
Completely wrong.
Just because
Yeah,
you
it's
think,
definitely
just
stupid to
because,
talk about this.
just because you think you can go there and verify it, doesn't mean you actually can, right?
No, it's
Maybe,
100%.
maybe,
No,
maybe
yes,
they
you
will
can. What
drive
are you
you.
talking about, dude? Are you
Maybe
fucking
they will.
serious, bro?
Maybe they'll drive you to some other place and claim it's China, right? And so
Yeah,
and
let
show
me
you
say this,
and
please,
show you
Elbow.
some
I just
studio,
want to
right?
say
And
this to this guy.
show you some CGI footage or something.
We understand your point, Spartacus. The major difference is you're not about to verify the ISS. I could go verify China. That's not
Okay,
hard
do
to
it.
do.
Do it. Until
No,
you do, you
the
don't know.
burden of proof is on you. Can you verify that the ISS is where it's claimed to be?
Oh wait, can you verify that China is where it claims to be?
No, that's a deflection. I asked you a valid question. How do you plan on verifying the
He's answering your
ISS?
question with the exact same bullshit you guys use. Exactly.
Oh, Jack Fetter's back. Oh, the dude that's been running away all night.
I'm not running from you, dude. The last time anybody ran from you was never.
Yeah, just
I have to say these Globe arguments are real sad. Saying that China doesn't exist, that's pretty sad. You guys are sad.
The ISS
Globers
is
are
real, but
weak.
people aren't on it. Like, there's a satellite.
I don't know why you say we're sad and we're weak. It's been questions all night that have been unanswered.
And then they want to do a proof reversal. This is just ridiculous, man.
Piezo, do you think it's an actual physical object, or do you think it's like a projection or something? You know, like what they call the ISS.
No, I think it's a thing up there, but I don't think there's people on it. I think it's probably a. We did the math. You know, the ISS tracker app.
Yeah.
You can use the ISS tracker app to track it or whatever. Well, anyways, I did the math like rough hand, not super precise, one day for a pass that was coming from the Pacific Ocean over Cali, where Jaron was, and went like over his head or whatever, and comparing like its apex at his location to because the tracker will also tell you the angle it is in the sky. It doesn't just tell you like it shows you on a map where it is, and then it tells you the angle, the viewing angle to it. And the viewing angle to it was like 1 degree and something. So I just did the plane trig to it from his distance and location, and it came out to be like somewhere between 18 and like 23 miles, I want to say, give or take. And that's like super. It was like a super rough calculation, but like I'm thinking ballpark 20, 25 miles, somewhere in that range. It's like 100, 150,000 feet, somewhere between 1 and 200,000 feet. I don't know the number, right? Because like I said, it was a spitball, but I think it's probably a like a helium or hydrogen balloon craft with ionic thrusters on it, and they get it up there suspended. And there's like, because it's like a 99.9% zero, like no drag environment, all they got to do is accelerate it and maintains its velocity. Right? You can use super low energy thrusters like ionic thrusters to do that. And they sent it up a long time ago. So
Can't argue with Flurf science.
I mean, how's that Flurf science, bro? You don't believe in balloons and ionic thrusters?
I believe in balloons and ionic thrusters, but your denial of, so do you deny obviously the moon landing? I assume yes. You deny the Hubble. Yeah. You deny the space shuttle. You deny the Russians orbiting the Earth, the Chinese orbiting the Earth. You deny any man orbiting the Earth.
Orbit. I don't believe in
space.
Things
That's the
going
cardinal
around. Yeah, I don't think things are going around a ball. I do think that things can orbit. They're just going in a circle. But I don't think
They
people
would have to be applying power the entire time they're doing a circle.
Well, that's why
it
I
wouldn't be able to maintain that.
That's why I just said the ISS is most likely at helium/hydrogen balloon height between 1 and 200,000 feet. It doesn't need any other suspension mechanism. Its vertical suspension is fixed. It's horizontal, right? It's a XY plane. Motion is controlled by
I heard what you
thrusters.
said. It's just fantasy, though. It's fantastical. It's not based in science at all. And I asked you also about the other things that you said. Then you went right back to the ISS. Was there a space shuttle program? Is there a Hubble in orbit?
Was there a space shuttle program? I believe it. I mean, there was a budget. They didn't go to the moon. That's laughable.
Well, the space shuttle never went to the moon. So I'm asking you about the space shuttle. Is there a Hubble in orbit 400 miles from the Earth? And was it put there by the space shuttle?
I think that there's probably telescopes, but I don't believe it's 400 miles away.
Is there a telescope in orbit around the Earth?
Sure, it's just not 400 miles away.
What keeps it there then?
Probably the same thing for the ISS, right?
Well, this thing weighs 10 tons.
Does it? How do you know that?
Because that's what the specs are. So they're
What's
lying
the
about that,
ISS
Ben?
weigh?
I mean, there's footage of it being built, I'm pretty sure, too, right?
I don't know what the ISS weighs. I admit I don't know things when I don't know them.
Right. I mean, the ISS is the size of a plane, right? So if you had an entire like 767 and the entire fuselage and all this, like the main like hull of it was a giant hydrogen ballast, you could hoist a heavy amount of weight.
Yeah, that sounds good, but it's not accurate. It was also delivered in modules that required those modules are seen being loaded into the space shuttle and launched. There's video footage of them being placed into orbit and connected. There's footage of the Canadian arm.
You think spacewalk footage is real? Hold on, real quick.
Absolutely, 100% real. Yes.
Yeah, just so you know, I suppose that you probably think all the footage from and there's over a dozen examples now. All the examples from the ISS where they're clearly faking it on video. You probably just
I've seen this
those,
video
right?
evidence of fakery. You guys pick such cherry-picked little tiny moments where you claim that something's being hidden or the camera could glitch. But
you can physically see them pulling wires from their harnesses.
Listen,
you can see them in their hands.
Astronauts opening jars of honey in space, water in space. There's all kinds of things that you could not do on Earth. And
what do you mean? Do they green screen and blue screen stuff, bro? They've had blue screen. And green screen
so there you go. It's all CGI then.
So they're good enough to fool the entire planet, but they're not good enough to hide wires.
It's called augmented reality.
You act like they never make mistakes, dude. We can see.
Why would they even bother putting some fake?
You didn't address the fact that you can see wires in their hand when they make these mistakes. You can see them pulling the wire off the guy's harness.
Christ almighty.
See, you just get frustrated because you've seen it. You know it's real. And I just don't want to talk about it.
Bring your video up of the harnesses. Let's go over it right now if you don't mind.
Why don't you know about it already? Why are you so blind to the truth?
Because I don't know. So is that not?
He's brand new in all this.
I've seen a clip of this.
He's never seen any of this stuff before.
Jeremy,
so let's just
Jeremy,
you got to run through them. Run through them.
Yeah.
Run through it with him because he's brand new. So you know what I'm
Does anybody
saying?
have
Like
a-
you're not. This guy's
I'm
not like a
not
vet.
brand new, so
Does anybody have a link? Because I can't be asked to
Yeah,
go
I got
scour YouTube.
all the ISS stuff. I can get everything for this person, but I don't think he
Also,
actually cares.
I don't need everything. Just bring me your best evidence of wires, and it's obviously faked.
Also, I have the video that I posted about the planetarian and Neil deGrasse Tyson says you can't see that.
Again, just bring me the video of the
I posted
ISS
it.
wires
I
and the
posted
obviously
it.
faked.
Hey, Jack Fetter, have you seen the documentary A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon?
No, he hasn't.
No, I have not.
Oh, man. So, like, you probably shouldn't get too deep in this conversation until you actually
Yeah,
review the
I'm not
available
gonna watch
evidence.
conspiracy theory, bro.
But do you see what you're doing? Like, you're
He's not going to
actually
watch a
being bad
conspiracy
faith.
video, but he's going to
You're
talk
being
with
bad
us for
faith.
hours and hours.
Yeah, you're being bad faith right now.
I have
No, I'm
seen
not.
it.
I'm not.
Hold
I'll
on,
tell
hold
you
on,
why.
Jack.
If
Hold
you
on,
let me
Jack.
answer, I'll tell you why I'm not.
I have seen it, and the number of things that they got wrong or they misinterpreted is uncountable. I've watched it twice.
The things that they got wrong or misinterpreted are
Yes.
uncountable.
Yes, there's so much of it that you might as well say the entire thing is one big, long, misinterpreted lie. I've watched it twice.
How about some specificity there, buddy? Can you give some specifics to that bold claim you just made?
Yes,
Yeah,
everything
Piezo
in the
could have
whole
said the
video
same
that
thing.
they pulled
Piezo
up,
could have said the
everything.
same thing
Can you
about
name
all
one?
the footage.
Can you name one?
Piezo could have said the same thing about all the ISS footage.
Yeah, can you name something specific in the video that you think is so wrong? This is what you call a hand wave
Yeah, all
dismissal.
of it.
Yeah, so when a person is unable to deal with the evidence presented, they just simply wave it away so they don't have to deal with it. It's a
You mean
logical
like
fallacy.
pictures from the moon and pictures from space and 10,000 hours of
They
NASA footage?
have footage in that documentary, which is real footage that is pulled from the tapes of however many years ago it was, where they're supposed to be up in like low Earth orbit, however many thousands of miles away or hundreds of miles or whatever it is, right? Like they're supposed to be far enough away to see the Earth, and they're taking like a shot of the Earth out the window. It's like this little marble, right? Like not a marble, it's probably like a basketball or whatever. You know, it's a ball in the window, right? Like, oh, look at that, and then the panel comes off the window and they pull. There's like you can see that there was a curtain stuck on the window that you couldn't see, and then all of a sudden you see the entire Earth like filling up the entire window, and you realize that they're really close to the ground. That they were making the effect artificially via like an illusion and making it look like there was this tiny little
Right.
Earth in the window.
Now, can I respond to this? Now, not one time do they say that they're trying to make the Earth look like there's a small Earth in the window or anything. That's something that the narrator says himself without any evidence whatsoever to make people like you believe it, because you don't stop and think, well, did the astronaut say it or did just the narrator say it? What they were doing was they was blocking out the light because they were trying to get shots of other stuff. That's why they had the window covered.
Did they
I
say that, or you
mean,
just
there's a
made this shit
lot
up?
more things that make sense rather than thinking
so
they
you're
were trying
making-
to block the window out to make it look like that they're seeing a little tiny Earth outside the window.
Yeah, so you're making this shit up because did they say
No.
that? Did they say that?
They never once said they were blocking out the window to make the Earth look like it was far away. But the narrator
Did they say
does
the thing
that.
you said they did, though? Did they say the thing you said they did?
What,
No,
that they're that they had the window blocked out to blocking the light? Yes, they did say that they were blocking out the lights.
What you said a few seconds ago. Dan, you cannot remember what you just said?
Guys, it's 5:30 a.m. here. I'm out for the night, but I will be back some other evening. Good conversation from everybody that contributed. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jackman.
You gonna come back to run away again?
Hey,
Cole,
Yes,
that guy sounds
electric.
like
If
that guy
that,
sounds like
keeps
Glover.
you warm at night, electric,
Don't
then
let
yes,
Cole run
you
away.
scared me away.
Cole,
You sound Glover.
Cole, do you
Am
know
I the only
what
one
you
that
just
thinks
said?
that guy?
Guys, can actually have like a civil, like productive discussion. I don't want.
Hold on. We're
I
trying
don't want.
to address
I
what
don't
Cole
want.
just said.
Wait, what? I was going
You're taking
for.
naps, Spartacus.
Now he's quiet. Now
Okay,
he's gonna be
guys.
quiet, huh?
Can we
Cole,
have
are
like
you
a
not gonna?
nice civil conversation? Gio,
Hold
are you
on,
here
dude.
still?
Stop, dude. We're trying to address what Cole said.
Yeah, I know. I'm
Well,
not
then shut up,
stopping
dude.
you.
Then shut up.
Cole can talk.
Shut up, dude. Well, shut up. Cole,
I found it.
Cole, are you going to address what you just said? Did they say that? What you just said a few seconds ago? What minutes now? Nice. That silence. I guess not, right?
I don't even remember what he said. What did he say?
They were trying to take pictures of other things. They were
Oh,
blocking
yeah.
out the lights to take pictures of other things.
That's right.
All right, here I got it, bro. I got it pulled up. Hold on 1 second. Put the stream up. Yeah, they say that they're calling from 130,000 miles out. Where's dude at? You ready, Cole? Here, I'm gonna share it with you, bro. Got you. Let me know when you're watching. It's so funny that guy left before this could be played.
There you go. Play it.
Dude, is that your fucking evidence? Electric.
Listen.
Like
you can clearly see that he was squishing the ball.
Yeah, there's something happening.
It's an inflated ball. It's an inflated ball, right? You're squishing it. Yeah.
And listen what the narrator tells you to think.
Okay, and everybody be quiet. We'll listen to the narrator, and then we'll hear the actual Apollo astronauts. How about that?
Earth orbit of a few hundred miles.
Roger, Houston, Apollo 11. Calling in from about 130,000 miles out.
Here, during another segment. Here.
Calling in from...
Oh, he just said that too.
The camera and the window.
Camera then is in the window side of the Earth.
The sliver. So you say they're pointing away from the Earth? Actually, they're actually pointing out into space.
That they could have easily had time to either swung their
Oh
camera
my
back around as
gosh.
they was turning their cameras and stuff off.
Oh, they
There
don't.
are
They
all
have the
kinds of
background light in
things.
it.
There's
You're
all
talking so
kinds of
much over people.
unknowns right here that you're listening to the documentary and you're falling for what it's telling you to believe.
Dude, I'm sorry, bro. You're cooked. Like I don't know how you can be caught doing this
Yeah,
argument.
I'm cooked.
You see this light up here? You see this light up here? So I don't know how well you can see the detail on this, but if you see my mouse right here, I'm tracing the outline of this little like sideways V shape in the cloud. There's a sideways V shape right here. It's the same exact sideways V shape when they're zoomed in right here. This is supposed to be the Earth. See the sideways V shape? That's supposed to be cloud, right? Okay. They zoom out. The dude's arm's getting in the way right here, right? Or something's getting in the way. Something's between the camera, shadowing this between the camera and the Earth. They zoom out.
Button popped back
Did they
up on
zoom
the
out or did it
recorder
cut
without
to
notice.
it was far away from?
Here's the same V shape. I'm still tracing with my mouth. This is identical. It is the same thing. They just zoomed out. You can now see the light inside the cabin here. This orange light up here. Okay, we're going to maintain this shot. We're going to maintain this shot. Still maintain the shot. Still got the same orange light up here.
And you can see the
We're messing with the little curtain.
location
Okay.
of the camera and the very bright and near.
And now they pull the curtain away and it gets bright in here. We can see everything. That's the same orange light. Here's the same window. Bam. Wash out. Huge window. Way bigger than the little tiny dot we were looking at a second ago. They're faking it, bro.
Okay, you just keep believing that.
I will because it's an objective fact. I don't need to fall back on a comfort story that, makes me feel comfortable because I can't deal with the reality that I was lied to when I was younger.
I don't need to watch a stupid documentary that tells me what to believe.
Yeah, you never watched it.
Yeah, your eyes.
Yes,
and
I
your
have. I
brain,
watched it
right,
twice.
bro?
Yeah, you never specified what was wrong with it. You couldn't
Well,
give me
clearly, when
Yeah, you
demonstrated,
never give evidence for the flat Earth. What's your point?
I just gave you
not the claim. Why are you trying to do
demonstrable
a
evidence that they were
superverse
faking this.
The claim is the Earth is a globe, and you still have not provided any evidence of the globe.
Yeah, so why were they faking the shot, bro? What would be the reason to fake the
They
shot?
weren't faking it. You watched a bum documentary that lied to you, and you fell for it.
This
I'm sorry,
is
dude. I'm going back to play my game. You're obviously you've drunk the
It's like
Kool-Aid,
bro, it's
and there's
so
no
weird.
getting it back out of you. So I'm going
So
back to doing what I was
now
doing.
you're projecting.
Does everybody witness this happen in real time? It's
When
so
Jack
crazy
was
to me.
here, it was
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to go back to
Yeah,
what I'm
I,
doing.
Nice
I also
protection.
want to like guys, can we relax on the hostility here? Let's just explore this evidence. Like I'm open to the moon landing being faked, because hey, that doesn't mean the Earth is like flying around. I don't care. But like
Yeah, you don't
looking
even have
up
to
a
be
little
a
bit
flat
thing.
earther to believe that.
Say
They're a
what?
bunch of Globers. I said you don't even have to be a flat earther to believe that.
Right.
I mean, a bunch of
Exactly.
Globers believe that the moon landing was fake.
Right. And I'm just curious. So, what is the number of the video tape there recording? Because I'm just looking at the guy actually debunking this thing. I mean, he does mention it also, but wait, presumably you know this, or
Please tell me what the debunk is, bro. Because once again,
that they actually moved the camera backwards before this, and that this was not a secret camera footage. This was broadcast after they landed, right? Or no, after already the live stream.
so if we compare these two stills, same location, right? Look, same location. I'm going to compare the two stills. Wait, let me find it. Here it is. Wait. Okay. Right there. So
Finally, the
Mhm.
the space.
So 3920, right? Lights up here in the corner. Earth is supposed to be right here in the window. Right? Here's the light. Here's the Earth. Now if I go to right here when they open it up.
of July.
Oh.
Look, there's no
Finally, the iris is opened up, and you can see the real location of the camera and the very bright and near Earth out the window.
And bam. This window is like 15 times bigger than that little thing that they were showing a second. They were showing this tiny little circle right here. Look how big this window is. Right? Tiny little circle, huge window. So if Earth was really that tiny little circle, right, that they were looking at, what is all of a sudden washing out the window with just everything as light? Where's all this light coming from? Because we were supposed to be seeing the tiny little Earth and the black background of space behind it. That's what we were supposed to be looking at. Right?
Sure,
But
hey, if you're really interested in this, let me put a pin on this because I know somebody actually has looked into this in depth. Let me contact him and we can talk about this afterwards if you want. What is this thing called? this specific thing, this specific claim?
It's in the chat. I just put it in the chat.
Yeah, it's too bad that you can't affirm your globe delusion right now, right?
Okay, bro, relax. You're a flat earther, so yeah, everybody's laughing at you.
Yeah, I'm sorry that this isn't evidence of a globe at all. I'm sorry.
Well, this isn't evidence of a globe or not, so yeah, they might have
Well,
faked.
everybody's feeling sorry for the Globers. You might be laughing at us, but we feel sorry for you because you're brainwashed. You've been brainwashed since you were in diapers.
I only responded in kind to Electra because he's being an asshole as he always is. Right? I don't want this to be like the.
What you're seeing now is not compatible with what they were showing 5 seconds before this. I'm just letting you know, like this doesn't work with what they were just showing. It shows that what they were showing was fake.
Sure. Hey, look, I was actually gonna go to another server, exactly where this guy is, and I think he's unmuted. I'm gonna talk to him about this actually. So yeah, I'll try to contact you later. You're gonna be here?
Yeah, that was nothing you said was globe evidence. Like nothing.
Yeah, idiot. We weren't arguing. Oh my god.
No, dude, I probably won't be here.
just-
It's freaking super late right now. I'm gonna be in bed soon.
Well, later on, sure, yeah, like tomorrow.
I woke up at like 3:30 and I got up, but I'm gonna go back to bed.
Sure. Anyway, well, see you later, guys.
All right.
Ran away too?
To look at the video and say that they're pointing out the opposite window and it's the sun when it's literally showing the earth and then they pull a curtain away and then it just washes out is wild to me. Like it shows. Oh, he left when I said that. Well,
yeah, Rudolph got out of here real quick. He was like, "It's the sun," and then he was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, the amount of coping.
Yeah, dude, it shows that their brain is literally just trying to find any potential excuse for it to not be what they see. Right now, I just repeated like what he said and said it's wild to me, and he immediately left. Like, you know, there's nothing to say. There's nothing. I mean, the evidence is right in front of your face. So all you can do is get emotional and be like, "Oh, you think that you're just being lied to and you're being fooled by this video of this fake documentary." And it's like, okay, but what about the stuff that you see with your eyes right now? No response. Nothing to say. Right? Like, it's like textbook cognitive dissonance. And dude, it's so weird to me. It's so weird because when you watch super heavy, high level cog diss happen in real time, it almost feels like there's like a spiritual element to it. It's like they can't see it, even though it's literally in front of their eyeballs. It's like
I like the fact that he. I like the fact that he liked that the cartoons that NASA puts out are evidence, but the actual video evidence is released secretly, like that you'll find in the funny thing happened on the way to the moon. That's just complete garbage. But the video evidence of the space station and all that CGI shit that they put out, that is subpar compared to anything that Hollywood puts out. It's very, very subpar.
It's like someone showing someone video footage, like video evidence, like, hiring a private investigator to follow their wife around, and then they find out their wife's cheating and catch her on video, like, having sexual relations with another man. And they look at the video and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like this is just a fake video. This is stupid. This is a fake doc. You just like made it look like this is what's happening." How did that work? I don't know, but obviously I'm not going to get fooled by this fake footage.
Hey, Jeremy, what was that one guy that said it could have just been some that she fell on him that one time? You remember that, Jeremy? Ah, he's away. Darn it. A long time ago, we had some guy try to argue. It could have been just a mistake.
Well, anyways, it's just like that violent reaction of like anything but accept the truth because the truth's too painful, right? Like that's what's happening psychologically. It's like the brain is trying to defend. It sees this new information as a threat, so it's doing anything it can to preserve some semblance of safety and normalcy.
It's the Agent Smith syndrome, man.
Well, you got to realize, like, they see this revelation as a threat, right? Because as soon as you accept it, there's like a whole list of implications that come from it that, like, basically tear down like an entire worldview. Right? Like, now they lied to you. Now the government's lying. Now they're not trustworthy. Now what else do I question? Like normal quote unquote sheep people, like the average quote unquote person, at least from like the previous generation, they find it very alarming and uncomfortable and disturbing to think of the idea that their government is lying to them and doesn't have their best interest at heart. They have this whole worldview built up where like they live in a good country, the government's they have their best interest at heart, everything's good, everything's okay, etc. Right? They have this like glass house that they've built. And when you come in and tell them that some fundamental element of that worldview is actually broken, it makes them super uncomfortable and scared because it takes away their basis of like safety and security. That's like the scariest thing ever to them. And so their brain immediately violently reacts against like this information because it wants to go back to that safety and security. And the only way to get that safety and security back is to go back to the view they previously held. So it fights against the acceptance of the new information because it's not willing to like go into this like scary world. But it's still a trip to me. Like I know I see it happening. I understand how it works. I understand why it's happening, but it's still a trip. Like I still don't get it. Even though I get it, I just still don't. It's mind blowing. Because you're basically denying the evidence of your eyes and ears in order to, you know, maintain a comfortable lie. Anyways, you guys have a good night. I'm gonna hop out of here. Figured I'd pop in and see what was going on, but that stuff wasn't very cool.
Yeah, they're bad faith.
Well, that's the thing that I don't like is people being bad. Like, dude, I don't care if you disagree with me, even if your reasoning is stupid. In my opinion, like if I think it's stupid or I think it's dumb, but like at least if I can tell that you're genuine, like I'm not gonna be necessarily mad at you. I'm just gonna be like, man, this guy's a piece of work, right? I can't believe he believes that. But like when someone's actually a bad faith, that gets on my nerves, and I'm like, why are you here? Why are you wasting everybody's time? And I think that coming from the viewpoint of a community of people that largely try to operate in good faith, when you deal with someone that's just entirely bad faith, it's a complete waste of time because they're literally trying to waste your time. They're not there to even have the potential to come to your side or listen to what you have to say. They're just there to talk and gaslight themselves and just scream and be emotional. Like we're far too soft and accepting of that and allowing of that because it's not helpful to us or them. And I know it's a fine line to tread to like, well, when is someone being bad faith or when are they just, convinced of a different position? But people that are obviously bad faith, I feel like we shouldn't give them like the time of day to just waste everybody's time. There's people that are obvious with it. Anyways. All right, have a good night, y'all.